After 9 years of marriage, my husband suddenly asked for a divorce. He wasn't heartbroken, but rather, he was thinking about how much money he could make if he sold the chandelier. He also reminded me that if he were to marry that woman, he'd need to redecorate the house, because he sold everything in the house that could be sold, and we're having an uncontested divorce. Although I won't get any alimony, he should return my dowry. After all, it's all I have left. The Duke seemed puzzled. He wondered what I could possibly do with such a small amount of money. For 9 years, the Duke hadn't cared about me. Now that we're divorced, he's suddenly curious. The year I came of age, the palace guards arrived with an imperial decree. The emperor wanted me to become the Duke of Raymond's wife, and to provide financial support to my declining family. I saw my father's dilemma. To ensure a better future for my parents, I readily agreed to the marriage. Before that, I too had been full of fantasies about fairy tale love. The Duke of Raymond is the current emperor's eldest grandson. He's not only intelligent and capable, but also possesses exceptional swordsmanship and outstanding charisma. He's the perfect imperial heir. After that, I diligently studied palace etiquette. I was serious about everything, just so I could be a good wife and mother after marriage. Soon, the wedding day arrived as scheduled. Looking at the gentle and kind Duke before me, at that moment, I thought I would become the happiest woman in the world. However, that dream was shattered in less than a day. On my long-awaited wedding night, the Duke said he was just acting, and he hadn't really intended to marry me. Today's wedding was just a show for the emperor. After saying that, he slammed the door and left. He never came to my room again. Later, I learned that the Duke had fallen in love with a servant girl when he was a teenager, and had publicly declared his intention to make her his future empress. Upon hearing this news, the emperor forcibly arranged my marriage to him. But by the time I found out, it was too late. In the following 9 years, I didn't become cold-hearted because of that woman's existence, nor did I treat the servants arrogantly. I tried my best to be a good duchess. However, the Duke was still determined to divorce me. He spread rumors that I was a virtuous wife and mother on the surface, but secretly tormented the poor girl who loved him deeply, and that I would brazenly consort with others while the Duke was away. Unknowingly, I became the villain everyone despised, but because it was the emperor's decree, I had to endure it. Then I saw the exquisite desserts on the table, which awakened a deep memory within me. When I was little, I had a dream to become a pastry chef when I grew up, because my mother said that we Eldarians have a better sense of smell than the people of the empire, and my mother was particularly skilled at making desserts. Under her influence, I also fell in love with making desserts, so I decided to open a pastry shop. A few days later, I packed my things, ready to leave this place of sorrow. Jasmine, behind me, started crying, reluctant to see me go. She begged me to take her along. This caught me off guard. Although I was grateful to Jasmine for making me coffee all these years, I only had enough money to rent a small shop. A few years ago, coffee entered the empire through the southern coast. Its popularity soared among the nobles, and it became quite fashionable. In the palace, there were even maids and servants specifically for making tea and coffee. Jasmine wasn't just my coffee maker. She was also my only close friend. She's very skilled. Taking her with me would definitely be a great help in the short term. While I was pondering, the door was suddenly pushed open. The person who entered told us to hurry up and pack. I was surprised. Now, they don't even bother knocking. Blina's family was close to the Duke, so they had always targeted me during the past 9 years. Later, Selena, the Duke's lover, joined his family. Naturally, Blina became even more hostile towards me. To protect me from being bullied, my father volunteered to go to war. Although he made great contributions, he unfortunately died on the battlefield. After that, my mother, unable to cope with my father's death, fell ill. She passed away soon after. The death of my parents left me all alone. It was at that moment that I made up my mind. I swore I would never live like that again. I've endured all these years for my parents. Now, there's no need for that. Lady Blina, if you're here just to say this, don't worry. I'll leave immediately. Can't you hear me? I said I'll leave immediately. Seeing that she couldn't get a rise out of me, Blina turned her attention to Jasmine. She demanded to know what Jasmine was doing there. I wanted to say goodbye to Lady Aileen. Before Jasmine could finish, Blina slapped her across the face. How dare a lowly servant talk back to me? Get out now. She was clearly doing this to show off in front of me. But if she thought I was helpless, she was dead wrong. Lady Blina, you need to pack your things and leave the palace immediately. What are you talking about? Oh, do you still not understand? I said you're fired. Please leave at once. Blyna thought that since I was no longer the Duchess, I was powerless. But what she didn't know was that I held the Empress's seal. The Emperor's seal is for handling state affairs, while the Empress's seal is for handling matters within the palace. Therefore, I am currently the highest-ranking woman in the palace, and His Majesty the Emperor personally entrusted it to me, so I have the authority to dismiss personnel. Blyna thought that once the new Duchess arrived, she would be reinstated, but I quickly burst her bubble. This divorce was carried out without the Emperor's permission while he was at war, and even when His Majesty returns, he won't easily let this matter be overturned. If the Duke wants to hold a wedding approved by His Majesty, it will likely take a long time. You'll probably be unemployed for several years before that happens. Blyna then tried to apologize. Lady Aileen, before she could finish, I corrected her, please call me Lady Brisha. A mere knight's wife dares to insult me like this. Blyna raged at Jasmine. Just wait until I get back, you'll pay for this. But her wishful thinking was destined to be dashed. Aileen had already decided to take Jasmine with her, and before leaving, she bid Blyna farewell. Then, she and Jasmine prepared to leave this place of conflict. He decided that even if someone begged him, he wouldn't care. As he left, he signed the agreement. He thought his world would crumble after abandoning the title of Duchess. But after writing the last word, that what was released wasn't despair, but a surge of emotion filled with boundless hope for the future. A few days later, inside the Imperial Palace, Duke Raymond was handling documents. But he couldn't focus. His mind was preoccupied with Eileen's words about opening a pastry and coffee shop. Had the divorce driven her mad? If His Majesty the Emperor hadn't forced them together, he wouldn't have treated Aileen this way. Although their marriage was in name only, he hadn't complained for 9 years. Now, she seemed like a different person. Just then, a servant's announcement interrupted him. An urgent letter from His Majesty the Emperor. The Duke knew without thinking that it was a demand to cancel the divorce and bring Aileen back. With that thought, he tossed the letter aside. Then the servant presented a dessert, saying it was from Miss Selina. Raymond looked at the tempting dessert, filled with resistance, and ordered the servant to take it away. Meanwhile, Aileen and Jasmine searched for a rental agency in the city. They needed a house with a shop suitable for 2 women to live in. A shop downstairs and rooms upstairs, preferably inexpensive. After careful consideration, the old man found a house on Byclose Street that perfectly fit their requirements. The residents were mainly officials or affiliated individuals, creating a quiet and harmonious atmosphere. It was well suited for 2 ladies to run a business. The furniture could be used freely, and the price was reasonable. Jasmine then noticed what appeared to be a courtyard behind the house. When Aileen opened the door, she was greeted by a beautifully decorated house. There was also a peaceful garden. She had been worried about a lack of space hindering her baking, but seeing the space, she was relieved, after careful consideration, that she bought the place. Early the next morning, Aileen began preparing for the opening. After buying ingredients, Jasmine saw Aileen cleaning and offered to do it himself. Aileen reminded herself she was no longer a duchess, but seeing Jasmine's disappointed expression, she asked him to simply tidy up. Then she started thinking about what to eat. Going to the kitchen, she took out a bag of ingredients. It was a lemon. She liked using fresh fruit in her desserts. Simply squeeze the lemon juice and combine it with butter to create lemon curd. Spread on a pre-baked tart shell, then top with whipped meringue. Finally, bake in the oven until the meringue is lightly browned. This creates a sweet and sour lemon meringue tart. Seeing Jasmine enter after cleaning, she invited him to try it. Aileen asked if Jasmine liked lemons, suggesting it as lunch. I like any fruit, Jasmine replied, taking a large bite. Delicious lemon tart with silky, smooth curd flowed. The refreshing scent of lemon lingered in his mouth, along with the soft and chewy meringue. Jasmine thought Eileen's desserts could surpass even the Imperial Palace chefs. When he was young, his mother told him that lemons symbolized pain and trials in the Elden Mountains. So his mother didn't particularly like them. But because he liked them, she often made him lemon tarts. Why do lemons symbolize pain? Because they're so sour. But making a sour lemon sweet is a magical thing. Her mother said lemon tart was a dessert that conquered pain. These words remain deeply etched in Eileen's memory. It also perfectly reflected her current situation. Before this, she had secretly made it in the Imperial Palace. Although only once, she had wanted to share it with that person. But now that she had left, she no longer had the chance. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace, A dark-haired young man sighed. It's been a while since I've been back. Elsewhere, Lady Blyna complained about being slapped after working for over a decade. But you'll soon be the Duchess, so I won't have to worry anymore. This woman was Selena, Raymond's lover. She had heard that Miss Aileen was going to open a pastry shop. Yes, that woman is already looking for a suitable shop. Should we stop her? Madam, you needn't worry about that. I may not know about cooking, but a pastry shop can't be without coffee. After Aileen left, the gossip in the imperial palace never ceased. A low-born noble who bought her title with money, trying to become a duchess. Madam, those who say such things are only trying to gain the duke's attention. They pretend to be friendly to her face, but gossip behind her back. But I won't care about any of it. As long as I can hold this position by his side, no matter how difficult the path ahead, I'm willing to pay any price. Your Grace, I heard there will be a ball at the Flynn residence tonight. Would you be my escort? Just then, a voice called out, "Brother." The Duke asked, "Why aren't you by His Majesty's side?" "Grandfather hasn't been in a good mood lately. Everyone is walking on eggshells around him, so I had to sneak back." Callus Roy, the Grand Duke, was Raymond's only younger brother and the second in line to the throne. His family, after branching off, still enjoyed royal treatment, until Callus's birth father sacrificed himself to protect the crown prince. To repay his friend's life-saving grace, the emperor adopted young Callus. He remained unmoved by Selena's invitation, instead asking about his sister-in-law's whereabouts. "Why are you curious about my wife's whereabouts? She's family, after all. We lived together for 9 years. I think grandfather would also like to know." Unbeknownst to him, these words stirred something in Raymond. If he's curious, let him find her himself. Selena tried to say something more, but Raymond said he already had plans for the evening. He told her to figure out herself, then turned and left. So, where did sister-in-law go? In the cafe, Aileen was finishing up making desserts, placing them in the oven. Aileen arranged the baked fruit macarons on a plate for the final touch. Although she hadn't made them in a while, she was very pleased with the result. "Jasmine, I made some macarons." "Miss Aileen, I just made some coffee too." Sweet macarons with freshly brewed hot coffee. Jasmine's coffee really is the best. Miss Eileen's macarons are the best. Every bite, the soft filling, the sweet flavor fills my mouth. It's the perfect pairing with the slightly bitter coffee. But real desserts don't last long. Should we make models out of cotton or plaster to display in the window? Aileen agreed that this was a very good idea. "Great, then I'll give it a try." "But Miss Aileen, the coffee beans we ordered should arrive today." Just as she finished speaking, the sound of unloading came from the door. The coffee beans Aileen ordered had arrived. One box like this cost 300 gold coins. Because the Arunt Merchant Guild had exclusive distribution rights, there was nothing they could do about the high price. Plus, this was a rare variety sold only every few months. They should be content to even get it. With this stock, she wouldn't have to worry about sales for a while. However, they were quickly shocked by what they saw. The box didn't have the aroma of coffee. Instead, there was a smell of rot. Moreover, every bean had signs of insect bites. "We ordered the highest quality coffee beans. This quality is terrible. If you're not satisfied, we can arrange for a reshipment. However, the next shipment will arrive in 2 months." "What? Then we don't want them. Give us a refund." "I'm sorry. According to our Merchant Guild's rules, coffee is non-refundable. Although the guild takes great care in storage, some loss and spoilage during production is unavoidable. But the spoiled beans before them looked as if someone had carefully selected them. As the delivery person was leaving, Aileen called out to him, "Can you help me move the goods to a designated location? I'll pay you accordingly." Her husband of 9 years had suddenly asked for a divorce. She wasn't heartbroken. Instead, she was thinking about how selling the furniture in the house should fetch a good price. Now she was embarking on a new path. She had bought a shop in the city to fulfill her childhood dream of opening her own dessert cafe. Then, she spent 300 gold coins on raw coffee beans. But the sight before her shocked them both. All the coffee beans emitted a rotten smell and had signs of insect bites. This made her think that someone had deliberately selected these bad beans. She immediately stopped the delivery person. "Can you help me move these boxes to a designated location? I can pay you." At the noble's exclusive casino at night, Aileen donned her noble attire again. Only then would the guards not turn her away. "I heard gambling is quite popular. I didn't expect it to be more extravagant than the rumors." She came here to find Arunt, who had sold her the raw coffee beans. He had become incredibly wealthy overnight after obtaining the exclusive distribution rights for coffee. That's why he was now spending money like water. Aileen knocked on the door. "Long time no see." Arunt knew why Eileen had come, but he didn't care about the person before him, because she was no longer the Duchess. However, Eileen mentioned sending the coffee beans to His Majesty the Emperor. This made him lose his composure. Because Arunt thought they were for his own use, he had sent out the inferior goods. If these goods reached the imperial palace, the consequences would be dire. Eileen said, "What's wrong with the coffee beans? Aren't they the top quality beans worth 300 gold coins?" Arunt didn't expect Eileen to retaliate in this way. "Even if His Majesty blames me, I can claim it was a subordinate's mistake and ask for forgiveness. I can compensate you for the money, but don't expect to order coffee beans from me again. You're right. His Majesty is merciful. He will surely forgive a subordinate's mistake. But what will others think? Someone who can't even distinguish between high-quality goods and rotten garbage holds the exclusive distribution rights. Will the other merchant guilds just let this go?" Arunt hadn't expected Eileen to say such things. If it were him in the past, he would have brushed it off without a word. "If you want to keep the exclusive distribution rights, deliver the high-quality coffee beans. Then I'll contact the Imperial Palace and have that shipment returned." Arunt felt he couldn't continue like this. He then offered to compensate her for the 300 gold coins worth of coffee beans. Isn't 6 enough? Eileen wasn't going to let him off so easily. He had to compensate her for her emotional distress and trouble. Arunt thought double the compensation was too much. Seeing Arunt's reluctance, Eileen made to leave. Arunt hurriedly called out to her. He suppressed his humiliation and resentment, then lowered his posture and agreed to Eileen's terms. "Arunt, you should be thankful for the choice you've made." After leaving the reception room, Eileen felt a surge of satisfaction. She wanted to hurry back and tell Jasmine the good news, but then a hand suddenly grabbed her. "I've never seen you before. How much do you want?" Eileen, surprised to encounter someone like this here, snapped at him to let go. But the man didn't loosen his grip. Instead, he became more aggressive, saying he could give her a lot of money. Losing her patience, Eileen kicked the man in the shin. He fell to the ground and cursed, "You bitch. Don't be ungrateful." Eileen felt the situation was getting tricky. Would she have to reveal her identity? Just then, a nearby door opened. An unexpected person appeared, her ex-husband, Duke Raymond. Eileen hadn't expected to see him again so soon. In a place like this, "Your Grace." The man was terrified. He quickly got up and bowed, saying he was drunk and had acted out of line. He begged the Duke for forgiveness. Then he sincerely apologized to Eileen. He had been so arrogant just moments before. It seemed everyone was afraid of the future emperor. Raymond waved his hand, dismissing the man. The Duke hadn't expected to see her again so soon either, especially in this kind of place. "Yes, I didn't expect your Grace to have such hobbies. But does Miss Selena know?" Eileen's words startled him. Raymond suddenly realized, if you're short on money, you can ask me for compensation instead of frequenting places like this. Please don't misunderstand. I'm only here because of shop matter. Raymond had assumed Eileen's talk of opening a dessert shop was just talk. He hadn't expected her to be serious. "I know you hate me," he said, "but you don't have to go this far for revenge." Eileen couldn't understand how he could connect two completely unrelated things. During their 9 years of marriage, Eileen hadn't truly known him. Now she saw how self-absorbed the Duke truly was. It brought back memories of Selena's manipulative, two-faced behavior. Everyone believed Raymond was deeply and devotedly in love with Selena, tormenting Eileen, who couldn't defend herself. She had thought the Duke would believe her, but Selena's words had convinced him otherwise. Instead, he blamed Eileen, telling her not to cause unnecessary trouble. This made it clear to Eileen that she held no place in his heart. Her memory stopped there. "I want to open a shop not because of you or that woman. For a long time, I've dreamed of having my own shop, a small dessert shop in a beautiful place, and finally, to live a peaceful life with someone I love." A simple dream the Duke would never understand. As Eileen turned to say goodbye, the Duke stopped her. "Although our relationship wasn't the best over the past 9 years," he began, "I don't want to see you suffer. If you need money, I can give you money so you can live better. I can provide other things you want too." 9 years ago, Eileen would have been overjoyed by these words. But the Duke no longer held a place in her heart. If she could, Eileen wouldn't want to see him again. "So please stop concerning yourself with my affairs." Eileen walked away without looking back. Someone hurriedly approached Raymond. "The money has been transferred. We can get the weapons within this month." "Good. There can't be any mistakes with this." Meanwhile, Eileen returned to the dessert shop. She was mentally and physically exhausted from the day's events. But the sight of her shop close at hand lifted her spirits. Jasmine, I'm back, and we can get the coffee beans again. Miss Aileen, welcome back. We have a customer. The man turned and called out Eileen's name, surprising her. Could you be Ains? Childhood friends reunited in a moment of life and death. Why was Ains poisoned by a monster? Once childhood sweethearts, reunited in a moment of crisis. Since she was young, Aileen had a dream. To own her own dessert shop and spend her life with the one she loved. But her ex-husband couldn't understand her dream. He thought if she was short on money, she could just ask him for it. There was no need for her to work so hard. 9 years ago, Aileen would have been moved to tears. But now, she wanted nothing to do with the Duke. Her heart had died 9 years ago. Soon after, Aileen returned to the dessert shop. Jasmine told her they had a customer. When Aileen looked, she was shocked. It was someone she hadn't seen in a long time. Ains, weren't you dispatched to the south by His Majesty? What are you doing here? Ains had heard about Eileen's situation. As soon as the war ended, he came. He blamed himself. I should have told the truth. If I hadn't gone south, you wouldn't have suffered like this. Aileen was comforted by his words. Ains was the current captain of the Holy Sword Knights and her kind childhood friend. When they were young, Ains had looked after Aileen like a brother, and he would often surprise her. Happy birthday, Aileen. With Eileen's birthday approaching, Ains asked her mother to teach him how to bake a cake. When Aileen tasted the cake, she was overwhelmed with joy. She thanked Ains for the birthday gift. She loved it. Seeing Eileen's happy expression made him feel that all his efforts were worthwhile. Aileen, I'll make you a birthday cake every year from now on. However, he couldn't keep that promise. One day, he suddenly told Aileen he was going to the military academy. I hear they teach nightly courses there, but I'll write to you often. At 16, Ains entered the military academy at a young age and became a knight. Aileen moved into the Marquis's mansion. They never had a chance to see each other again. 13 years passed. At a ball, everyone was talking about the new captain of the Holy Sword Knights. I'm still not used to these events. Just then, a man noticed the woman sitting alone in the corner. He smiled and greeted her. My lady, it's been a while. Ains, it really is you. When they met again, Ains had become a war hero, and he had become captain of the Knights at such a young age. But he was humble. It's thanks to the higher-ups that I've reached this position. Although Ains said that, to get ahead in the Imperial Palace, one needed a powerful family or connections. Her childhood friend was just the son of an ordinary knight. To achieve what he had, he must have worked incredibly hard. Even after 13 years, Ains still cared for Aileen as he always had. And he had heard about the Duke and Selena. He must have had a difficult time. Aileen was used to being gossiped about as the Duchess. It had been a long time since anyone had shown her such care and concern. Thank you for your concern. I'm really fine. She thought no one in the world would care about her anymore. But his gentle eyes were just like when they were children. It made her feel nostalgic. From then on, she met with Ains occasionally, catching up on old times. They chose crowded places to avoid misunderstandings or suspicion. But she was still cautious. She didn't want Ains to be the subject of gossip. I've been out too long. I should hurry back. But stories never go as planned. He thought that as long as he was careful, nothing would go wrong. Until that incident, Ains lay in the grass, covered in blood. After Aileen unbuttoned his clothes, she saw dark blood and a strong, putrid smell. Numerous, festering wounds appeared on Ains' body. They were clearly tending to his wounds, yet it was being portrayed as an affair. The scheming, innocent-looking girl finally made her move. Faced with this situation, how should Aileen react? They were clearly tending to wounds, yet it was being framed as an affair. The scheming, innocent-looking girl finally made her move. As Aileen was leaving because it was getting late, something in the corner caught her attention. He thought that as long as he was careful, nothing would go wrong. Until Ains lay in the grass, covered in blood. Aileen then opened his clothes to check his injuries. But then came a putrid smell, and the blood on his body was a dark color. Monsters emit a foul aura that can cause poisoning. If left untreated, the poison will spread throughout the body and eventually lead to death. Aileen had noticed his poor complexion recently, but she didn't expect him to be hiding such a secret. Just then, the sound of other people talking came from outside the bushes. Ladies, I heard the lake view in the backyard is beautiful. Let's go and admire it. I have to hide Ains. Although monster poison isn't contagious, the infected can become new monsters. If Ains' poisoning is discovered, not only will he not receive treatment, but he might also be executed. At that moment, Ains slowly opened his eyes. As he sat up, a sharp pain shot through his shoulder. He turned his head and was stunned by the sight of the wound. Even though Aileen said she wouldn't reveal this, Ains was still afraid of being discovered and harming Aileen. But Aileen, in her worry, made a sound. There seems to be a cat in the bushes. Just as Aileen thought the people talking had left, the leaves concealing them were suddenly pulled aside. Selena and the other ladies were shocked to see them alone together at night. The rumor quickly spread throughout the entire empire. In the night garden, the Duchess, ignored by her husband, was with the young and handsome captain of the knights. Eventually, even the emperor heard about it and summoned Aileen for an explanation. We didn't do anything improper. However, the emperor didn't investigate further, but dispatched Ains to the south. Until Ain's departure, Aileen didn't reveal that he was poisoned by a monster. However, Duke Raymond used this incident as fuel to the fire. He then had Aileen sign the divorce papers. Now, thinking back, Aileen realized many things seemed off, as if someone had deliberately orchestrated it. Ains had fainted after drinking wine offered by someone. If that person's target was Ains, revealing his injury would have been a more effective method than this elaborate scheme. Instead, they set a trap to ruin her reputation. Ains urged Aileen to reveal the truth now, but Aileen didn't care. This was a good excuse for someone who wanted a divorce anyway. Even if you tell the truth, I won't return to the palace. The only one who will be sacrificed is you. Are you really willing to do that? Ains felt that as long as he could clear Eileen's name, he wasn't afraid of sacrifice. He's so stubborn about this. Aileen felt it didn't matter. She now had her own dessert shop. In fact, after the divorce, she felt much more relaxed. Seeing Eileen's genuine smile, Ains decided not to persuade her further. Besides, the poison in his body had been treated with medicine from the north. That's great. I've already lost my family. I don't want to lose you too. Ains blushed. If you really want to tell the truth, wait until you're fully recovered and safe. Under Eileen's gaze, Ains finally agreed. It's been a while. I'll make you something delicious. Wait for me here. Saying that, Aileen went to the backyard to gather ingredients for cooking. As she was about to continue picking, a hand reached out. Ains wanted to help. That way, Eileen's work would be easier. Ains, do you remember when we were 9 and made cakes for each other? A long time ago, Aileen wanted to give Ains a memorable birthday, made him a birthday cake for the first time, because he had never had a birthday cake before. Aileen urged him to make a wish, but Ains, too excited, started eating without even removing the candles. How is it? Is the cake delicious? That birthday, that cake, became a taste Ains would never forget. A culinary delight. Even the chairman became a foodie. The tempting visuals were soul-stirring, making one's mouth water. How does food capture hearts? She was the high and mighty Duchess. But because of the scheming girl's framing, this incident became the catalyst for Raymond, who logically proposed a divorce. Aileen went to the garden to pick vegetables for cooking. Ains, not wanting her to tire herself out, helped her. They chatted and laughed, reminiscing about their childhood. Seeing Eileen's genuine smile, Ains couldn't help but stare at her. He had thought that when they grew up, he would be the one by Eileen's side. That's why he joined the Knights, to gain status and propose to her. But things didn't go as planned. A newspaper article shattered all his fantasies. Although he couldn't see the bride's face clearly, he was sure it was Aileen. She had become a duchess. The duchess who married the duke above her station. Rumors spread throughout the empire that she bullied the duke's young lover out of jealousy. When he heard this, he desperately tried to enter the palace, but he was accidentally poisoned. In the end, he inadvertently harmed Aileen. Lost in thought, he was startled when Aileen said, "These tomatoes should be enough. Let's go inside." Standing up, Aileen sighed. She's as kind as ever. Ains thought that as long as she was happy, he could let her go. But now, seeing Aileen, he couldn't help but want to stay by her side. She decided that once he recovered, no, even if he didn't fully recover, she would reveal the truth about that day. So, until then, she hoped he could forgive her for clinging to him like this. Of course, freshly picked fruits and vegetables need to be washed. Afterward, they should be cut into appropriate sizes. Aileen prepared the ingredients to make tomato and milk stew. Although it looks difficult, it's simpler than you might think. First, stir-fry the beef brisket in a heated pot. Once the surface of the beef brisket is cooked, add the chopped vegetables and continue stir-frying. Finally, put the stir-fried ingredients, spices, and tomatoes into the broth to stew the beef. This way, you get a steaming, flavorful stew. Tomato and milk stew isn't exactly a delicacy, but she hoped it suited his taste. Just as the two of them started to eat, an indescribable aroma filled Ain's senses. He then proceeded to devour the stew, ignoring Eileen's attempts to stop him. In the end, Aileen had to restrain him, otherwise he would have licked the plate clean. Ains declared that although he had tasted all sorts of delicacies, none were as delicious as hers. Miss Eileen's cooking is truly the best, he said. The fresh tomatoes paired with the beef and the rich flavor permeating from the potatoes. It's simply perfect. Would you like another bowl, Captain? Miss Aileen, not only is your cooking excellent, but your desserts are even more exceptional. Your shop will definitely be incredibly popular once it opens. However, Ains was curious. What's the name of the shop? Actually, I decided on it a long time ago. The inspiration came from my dear mother and the lemon desserts she made for me when I was a child. Lemon tree. Lemons represent hardship and trials, but they can be made into something sweet. Meanwhile, at Count Frullin's mansion, several noble ladies gathered, flattering each other and declaring Selena the most beautiful woman in the empire. I heard the Duchess was divorced because of infidelity, just as Selena was about to put on a show. Grand Duke Callus arrived. The Grand Duke, whom they hadn't seen in a while, looked even more handsome. Callus noticed a gaze upon him and saw it was Selena. He subtly turned his head away. The other ladies thought he was looking at them, unaware that his gaze had been directed at Selena. Callus had intensely disliked her for a long time. However, he didn't mock or humiliate her. Instead, he consistently ignored her. To avoid being treated this way in public, Selena excused herself and left. After she was gone, the ladies resumed their discussion about the ousted Duchess, who had opened a shop on the east side. It seems to be a cake shop, a dessert shop, but why open it in such a remote location? Is she trying to avoid public attention and Captain Lufflin? After all, the rumors before this were that they were lovers. Hearing this, Callus stopped. Excuse me, what did you mean by lovers just now? Why do people love to gossip behind others' backs? How would Callus silence the gossipers? Her husband of 9 years suddenly asked for a divorce. Not only was she not heartbroken, but she took her dowry and opened a dessert shop. This, too, became a topic of conversation and ridicule among the noble ladies. Choosing such a remote location, she must be trying to secretly meet with Captain Lufflin. Hearing this, Callus stopped. Excuse me, what did you mean by secretly just now? Startled by the sudden voice, the ladies rose and respectfully addressed him, Your Grand Ducal Highness. I apologize for startling you. I overheard an interesting story and lingered without realizing it. I hope you can forgive my eavesdropping. The ladies, captivated by the Grand Duke's gentle and refined demeanor, instantly forgot their initial fright. Callus took this opportunity to inquire, Were you just talking about my sister-in-law? But His Majesty forbade discussion of this matter, so they only dared to gossip in private. Callus, understanding their predicament, assured them, I won't tell grandfather. Seeing Callus's sincerity, the noble ladies lowered their guard. In a secluded area of the palace, she and Captain Ains of the Night Order were embracing, and they were hidden in the bushes. A man and a woman alone in such a place. It's quite obvious what they were doing. And after the divorce, she opened a shop in the suburbs. It's clear she's doing it to secretly meet with her secret lover. Callus was nearly enraged by these words. Did you witness these things yourselves? Under his pressure, the other two stammered, We heard it from a maid. When Callus asked for the maid's name, the noble ladies admitted they didn't actually know who she was. At this point, they deeply regretted their loose tongues. After all, the person before them was the Empire's only Grand Duke and the one openly favored by the Emperor. Your Grand Ducal Highness, please forgive me. I shouldn't have gossiped. If you want to live, it's best not to spread such nonsense in the future. Callus, ignoring the terrified women, turned and left. That night, he pondered their words. Within the palace, besides servants and soldiers, various officials and nobles also frequented the grounds. If they truly wanted to meet secretly, why would they choose the palace gardens? Moreover, Aileen wasn't that kind of person. Just then, a call pulled Callus from his thoughts. News from the south. His Majesty is on his way back to the capital. A few days later, on a sunny morning, passers-by on the street complained about the scorching heat. They then looked for a nearby place to rest. A man wondered when this shop had opened. Why would a dessert shop open in such a remote location? Upon entering, he was greeted by a clean and tidy shop. There were also some exquisite desserts, but since it was his first time there, unsure of the quality, he only ordered an iced black tea. However, as Eileen's shop had just opened, she offered him a complimentary scone. Exclaiming his good fortune, the passerby took a large bite. A wonderful sensation rushed through him. As he marveled at the delicious taste, Aileen emerged. It's even better with the strawberry jam. The rich, buttery bread with fresh, sweet, and tart strawberry jam paired with a refreshing, subtly fragrant iced black tea. It's a perfect combination. Finding the desserts delicious, he ordered a millefeuille. When the dessert arrived, he was delighted. This type of dessert was rare in ordinary shops. In fact, it was his first time seeing it. The millefeuille is light as a feather, crispy and refreshing. Every bite is filled with the aroma of milk, so flaky it crumbles. The layers of flaky pastry crumble delightfully with each bite, leaving a lingering, crispy deliciousness. Passers-by enjoy the treat in contented silence. Busy all morning, Eileen, after finishing the scone's delivery, starts preparing other complimentary gifts. When he arrived at the front of the palace, it was unusually quiet, which puzzled him. He turned and asked Jasmine if anything had happened. It turned out 2 unexpected guests had arrived. Lady Eileen, long time no see. His Majesty the Emperor has returned and wishes to see you. Why does His Majesty want to see Eileen? Is it to persuade her not to divorce the Duke? Falsely accused of infidelity by her husband, the divorced woman opened a dessert shop with her returned dowry. On opening day, 2 unexpected guests arrived. Lady Eileen, long time no see. His Majesty has returned and wishes to see you. The Emperor, feeling remorseful, apologized to Eileen. He had heard that Raymond had been ignoring her since the wedding. Although he knew the Duke resented the marriage, he hadn't expected this outcome. The Emperor apologized again and bowed to Eileen. Your Majesty, I'm fine. You don't have to do this. I'm already grateful for what you've done for my parents. The Emperor made a promise. As long as he lived, he would protect Eileen. A few days later, voices of discussion could be heard from within Eileen's shop. The Emperor's envoy had come to the shop again, and the Emperor wanted to bring Eileen back to the palace. Is he ordering me to return? The Emperor knew he was at fault, so he only wanted to request Eileen's return. However, having finally escaped that oppressive place, she didn't intend to go back. Please tell His Majesty I've been very grateful to him all these years. Just as the attendant was about to leave with her reply, Eileen called him back. She then packed up the desserts on the table and tied them with a beautiful bow. Although it's a small gesture, this is a gift from me. Could you please pass it on to His Majesty? The attendant quickly returned to the palace with the gift. Although he had anticipated rejection, he still felt a pang of bitterness. He immediately summoned Duke Raymond. You know why I called you here, don't you? If you're referring to the divorce, it was a mutual agreement, and even ordinary couples separate due to incompatibility. The Emperor interrupted him. You are the future Emperor and Empress, not an ordinary couple. Raymond had already prepared his excuse. A woman who commits adultery would only disgrace the royal family. The Emperor was also troubled by Raymond's disobedience. 9 years ago, after the wedding, he had neglected Eileen. The Emperor had even summoned him for a reprimand because of this. No matter how the Emperor tried to reason with him, Raymond remained unmoved. But the Emperor had decided that Eileen was the future Empress. How could you divorce your wife of 9 years based on mere rumors? Moreover, Eileen is a well-behaved child who manages the palace impeccably. Raymond then said that Selena could now become Empress, as their divorce was finalized. The Emperor could allow him not to have any advisors. Enraged, the Emperor picked up his teacup and splashed the contents all over Raymond. Raymond was drenched. Although startled, he dare not react. The attendant handed him a handkerchief to wipe himself. I hope you will bring Eileen back. Raymond refused without hesitation. They had already signed the divorce agreement, and he didn't want to lose face by bringing her back. If you want a divorce, both of you must request it together. I do not recognize that secretly drafted divorce agreement. Raymond tried to argue, but the Emperor stated that this was not a notification, but a decree. Leaving the Emperor's chambers, Raymond stormed off, ordering everyone out of the room. Selena tried to ask what had happened, but was met with Raymond's icy glare. He then slammed the door in her face. It seemed things hadn't gone as Selena had planned. She had thought that once Eileen was gone, she would become the Duchess. So she had put Neo in the Knight Commander, Ain's drink, but the Neo hadn't fully dissolved, so it hadn't had the desired effect. She had thought the Emperor would give up on Eileen and accept her. But because of the Duke's unilateral divorce, the Emperor had even refused the Crown Prince's investiture ceremony. She couldn't understand what was so good about Eileen, why the Emperor favored her so much. If Eileen disappeared, would he finally give up? Eileen's dessert shop had a new competitor. A pastry chef who had worked in the palace had also opened a shop. This young woman, simply because she was beloved by the Emperor, was targeted by the scheming Selena. Selena had even drugged her childhood friend's drink, just to ruin his reputation. but her plan had failed. The emperor only wanted Aileen as his duchess and the future empress. Now, Selena believed that if Aileen disappeared, the emperor would agree to her marriage to the duke. A rumor was spreading throughout the city. The former palace pastry chef had opened a shop in the eastern part of the capital. The palace had even sent someone to persuade the pastry chef to return, and now she was even supplying desserts to the palace. Everyone was curious about this mysterious person. Some had even seen a carriage bearing the royal insignia parked in front of the shop, and the tableware used in the shop was extremely luxurious. How could an ordinary dessert shop owner afford such expensive things? Just as everyone was excitedly discussing this, someone interrupted with news. The dessert shop owner claimed these were all rumors. It must be because of some agreement. The palace probably required the owner to keep a secret. That's why the owner denied the rumors. It must be because the shop is really supplying the palace. Meanwhile, Aileen, due to the booming business, had no time to rest. Having just had a brief moment of respite, she began slicing apples. She then covered the apple slices with pie crust. After preparing everything, she placed the apple pie in the oven to bake. Having recently received a gift from Ains, she was considering finding a time to properly congratulate him. Just then, a carriage full of furniture appeared in front of the shop. Looking at the expensive tableware and furniture before her, Aileen was puzzled. She didn't have the money to buy such luxuries. Her confusion was quickly cleared up by a letter from the delivery man. It turned out these items were a gift from Ains. He didn't have Sanemi so much. Now that he's the knight commander, he's spending money like water, Aileen grumbled. Just then, beautiful, fragrant apple pies, fresh from the oven, were ready. As she headed to the front of the shop, a sudden shout startled her. "Do you think I'm a beggar?" She dropped everything and rushed over. She saw Jasmine lying on the ground. "Miss Aileen, this is the man I told you about last time." The man was still yelling, "Shopkeeper, get out here. How do you train your staff? I'm the owner of this shop. What happened? Why are you being so unreasonable?" Even when Aileen stood before him, the man didn't calm down. He became even more agitated. He claimed he had paid 10 gold coins, but Jasmine insisted he had only given 10 silver coins. Jasmine looked incredibly distressed, maintaining she had only received silver. The man was clearly trying to take advantage of the fact that there were only 2 women in the shop. A nearby customer spoke up, saying he had seen a man pay with silver coins. Other customers agreed. As Aileen finished speaking, a money pouch was thrown in the man's face. "I clearly had gold coins and a few copper coins. You can open it and check yourself." Aileen was the calm before the storm. She calmly picked up the fallen pouch and poured out the only contents, a few copper coins. While the man continued to rant, she flung the copper coins at him. Ignoring the now enraged man, she scolded him, suggesting he go back to school and relearn mathematics. The man, furious, was about to strike Aileen when a sword hilt slammed into him from behind. The man collapsed with a groan. "That was close. If I hadn't come to check on you, what would you have done?" This guy was clearly looking for trouble. "It's been a while, sister-in-law." Grand Duke Callus and Aileen were about to catch up when the man's groans interrupted them. This angered Callus, who applied extra pressure with his foot. "This guy is being a nuisance. Sister-in-law, should I make him disappear?" The man had targeted the dessert shop because it was run by only 2 women. He claimed he paid with gold when he had only given silver. Aileen told him to relearn mathematics. Enraged, he tried to attack her, but a sword hilt appeared behind him, knocking him to the ground. Callus was about to chat with Aileen when the man's groans interrupted again. Callus found the man annoying and asked Aileen if he could kill him. Aileen quickly stopped him, explaining that no one would want to eat cake in a shop where a murder had occurred. Callus told the man to get lost. After apologizing to the customers, Aileen asked Callus why he was there. He had heard about Aileen's shop at a banquet and decided to visit. Aileen thanked him for his help. Since the shop was crowded, Aileen suggested they have tea elsewhere. However, looking at the pastries, Callus said he would just look around the shop so as not to disturb her business, then left abruptly. Aileen wondered if he had really just come a look. Soon after, a luxurious carriage arrived. A young lady, Katrina, wanted to order a Zahar torta for a tea party in 2 days. Katrina specifically requested Aileen delivered herself. Aileen suspected Katrina had ulterior motives, but saw no reason to be afraid or refuse. The reason would be revealed in a few days. Aileen was preparing desserts for the tea party when a spoon suddenly appeared, stealing a taste. Callus had returned. Aileen thought he was visiting too often, always using the excuse of looking around. But she was no longer his sister-in-law. and he might not listen to her. Callus had lost his parents at a young age and was adopted by the Crown Prince, a friend of his father. 2 years later, the Crown Prince died suddenly from illness. The Emperor, taking pity on Callus, raised him like his own grandson. Growing up in such an environment shaped Callus's eccentric personality. When Aileen first arrived at the palace, she was intimidated by him. "Sister-in-law, what are you doing? Will you play with me?" "Sister-in-law, do you want some cake?" Aileen, already overwhelmed, didn't have the energy to deal with him. However, after a while, he quieted down and watched her work. Seeing him so calm, Aileen smiled and ate a cookie. Then she returned to work, occasionally glancing at him with fondness. She genuinely liked his quiet, well-behaved demeanor. After marrying into the royal family, Aileen struggled with the strict palace etiquette, the unfamiliar duties of a duchess, and people deliberately finding fault with her. This friendly young man's presence had been a comfort during that difficult time. Although Callus hadn't gone to his own territory after coming of age, they hadn't seen each other since. She didn't expect him to visit her now. Thinking he would be bored watching her work, she suggested he go somewhere else. Unexpectedly, Callus was tired of the capital, with its endless parties and balls. He claimed his own territory was more fun because no one bothered him there. Aileen was amused by his childish words. Callus then invited Aileen to his territory. However, she was too busy with the shop to leave, and he needed to prepare for the next day's business. "By the way, if you're hungry, you can have the cookies in the cupboard." Cookies. He was past the age of enjoying cookies. However, Aileen was doing better than he had imagined. Before, she couldn't even say no. He'd even witnessed her first argument here. He hadn't expected Aileen to change so much during the time they hadn't seen each other. The woman was truly exceptional at making cakes. That's why some people would sneak in to eat them, later claiming they were just taste testing. But she couldn't bring herself to chase them away. She had previously lived in the gloomy imperial palace. But thanks to this young man, she had a small comfort. Before long, Aileen finished preparing the cakes for the next day. Jasmine also prepared the display models. It had to be said, the models looked incredibly realistic. After finishing all the preparations, Aileen decided to go to Bayard Street to buy some ingredients. She had to start preparing the cake for Katrina's tea party tomorrow. Jasmine offered to go shopping in Aileen's place, but Aileen wanted to choose the ingredients herself, so she declined Jasmine's kind offer. After she left, a luxurious carriage arrived. Inside, Raymond was filled with frustration. After his quarrel with the Emperor, no matter when he tried to see the Emperor, he was turned away. The Emperor declared he wouldn't agree to a meeting until Aileen returned. Lost in thought, he soon arrived at Aileen's location. She had actually opened a dessert shop. This was unexpected. He initially thought Aileen was just talking casually. Entering the shop and seeing the exquisite cakes, he wondered again, could Aileen really have made these? Thinking carefully, he recalled a rumor that before her marriage, Aileen had apparently sold pies. He had heard this rumor from Selena. On Aileen's birthday, she had received a pie as a gift. So the rumor spread that Aileen had once sold pies on the street due to debt. Selena had mocked Aileen, wondering how poor she must have been to resort to that. Looking at the exquisite cakes before him, he increasingly believed the rumor was true. However, Raymond had never paid much attention to Aileen's affairs, so he knew nothing about her. Just then, the door opened. Jasmine was surprised to see who was there. She immediately became flustered and bowed. Raymond asked where Aileen was. If Miss Aileen knew the Duke was here, she would certainly be unhappy. So she told him that Miss Aileen had gone out on an errand and wouldn't be back for a long time. It would be best if you came back another time. Unexpectedly, Raymond chose to wait for Aileen's return. Meanwhile, Aileen finished buying ingredients and prepared to return. The darkening sky made her a little afraid. She felt a sense of unease on the road. Her sixth sense hadn't deceived her. From a moment she left the shop, someone had been following her. Could this person be dangerous? Thinking this, Aileen started to run. The figure in black reacted immediately and reached out to grab her. But Aileen wasn't helpless. She turned and swung her handbag. This bought her a little time. While the person in black was momentarily stunned, Aileen ran again. She hadn't gone far when, because her skirt was too cumbersome, she accidentally tripped on the hem. She fell to the ground. This allowed the recovered figure in black to catch up. When Aileen saw a blade drawn, she tried to offer all her possessions in exchange for her safety. But the figure in black wasn't interested. Saying, "I'm just following orders," he brandished the blade. Aileen felt like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. She could only wait for the inevitable. With a sharp clang, What she expected didn't happen. After a moment, she cautiously opened her eyes. Before her was the figure in black, eyes wide with shock. Then, as the blade was withdrawn, the figure collapsed in front of Eileen. "Are you all right?" The words were like a heavenly sound, echoing in Eileen's ears. The speaker was Grand Duke Callus. Eileen hadn't expected him to be there. "Can you stand?" Faced with his outstretched hand, Eileen stubbornly insisted she could stand. But her legs wouldn't cooperate, and she couldn't get up. Callus watched her struggle and couldn't help but smile. Then he said, "Eileen," and moved closer, putting his arms around her waist. With a gentle lift, he easily helped her up. "Are you hurt?" His gentle words made Eileen blush. She hurriedly thanked him and said she was fine. After a moment, Callus asked if Eileen knew the attacker. After thinking for a while, she couldn't recall ever seeing him before. Callus concluded that the man was just a common thug. But Eileen didn't think so. The attacker's goal hadn't been money, but her life. And there were the words he'd spoken before attacking. "I'm just following orders." But she didn't know who was behind it. Who would want to harm a divorced duchess who had been falsely accused of infidelity? Before she could dwell on it, Callus urged her to return to her shop and rest, saying the streets were dangerous. He offered his hand to escort her. "I can walk by myself, so there's no need to hold hands." Callus wasn't deterred by her refusal. He suggested she could take his arm instead. Seeing that Eileen didn't move, he sighed. Then he walked with her through the quiet streets. But Callus's sudden appearance prompted her to ask the question on her mind. Worried because Eileen hadn't returned, he had asked Jasmine about her whereabouts and then gone out looking for her. That's how he arrived just in time to save her. If it weren't for Callus, Eileen didn't know what would have happened. After receiving her thanks, he immediately asked if he could visit her shop often to eat cake. "Of course, you're welcome to come anytime you like." At that moment, he looked at Eileen's stunning face. To avoid being noticed, he turned his head and gestured to Eileen, suggesting she shouldn't come to such a dangerous place alone in the future. Errands could be handled by hired help. Eileen also realized that Callus was worried about her safety. When they first met, he was just a boy. Now, he had grown into a man, and it was like he had become a completely different person. They quickly returned to the dessert shop. Eileen planned to properly repay him for saving her life sometime soon. Just then, the door suddenly opened. This caused both of them to turn their heads involuntarily. "Callus, it's so late. Why are you with Eileen?" He had simply escorted his sister-in-law home late at night. Yet, it earned him a glare from his brother. Just as Raymond was about to scold him, Eileen stopped him. They were divorced and no longer husband and wife. She also wondered why Duke Raymond was in her shop. "Were you waiting for me?" To hide his embarrassment, Raymond questioned why they had returned together. Eileen found this absurd. She had no obligation to answer him. "And who I'm with and what I do is none of your business." The Duke hadn't expected such a response. Callus hadn't seen the Duke with such an expression in a long time and couldn't help but laugh. He then explained that Eileen had been attacked by a robber. It was dangerous for her to be alone at night, so he escorted her home. Hearing this, the Duke, surprisingly, expressed concern for Eileen's safety. However, she didn't feel any different due to Raymond's concern. Out of politeness, she invited Raymond into the shop. His pride couldn't bear being ignored, so as he left, he called Callus to come with him. Callus, who had been staring at Eileen, snapped out of his daze. He looked at her for a moment and said, "Sister-in-law, I'll come back tomorrow." Eileen welcomed him back. Callus stopped Raymond, who was about to leave. Raymond, the person who attacked sister-in-law, didn't seem like an ordinary robber. "The body is in an alley on Bayard Street. You should look into it. Also, you'd better keep an eye on that woman around you." Unbeknownst to him, Raymond was thinking about something else entirely. His younger brother, who had always stayed quietly in his own territory, was now meddling in his affairs. He worried that Callus had discovered his own royal bloodline. 15 years ago in the palace, Callus was only 9 years old, and Raymond was only 14. Back then, their relationship was quite good. Before that, Raymond, confident in his own royal bloodline, wasn't worried that Callus would threaten his claim to the throne, until a certain letter appeared, completely changing Raymond's thinking. The name on the letter was Callus's birth mother, Tara, but the handwriting was his father's. It turned out that before Tara married, the two had known each other and had been in contact for a long time. This led Raymond to believe they were lovers. But then he remembered that Tara was already pregnant before she married, and the child was born very early. Raymond suddenly felt deceived. Callus might actually be his younger brother. Raymond snapped out of his memory. Getting into his carriage, he ordered his servant to investigate the person who attacked Aileen. Callus, I don't know what truth you grasped, but I will never let you take anything from me, no matter what it is. Meanwhile, Aileen was troubled because she had lost the ingredients she had bought. Only ordinary ingredients remained in the shop. Delaying the wife's delight would surely affect the shop's luck. She considered substituting other cakes. Just as she opened the door to go to the front of the shop, her eyes widened in surprise. On the day of the tea party, everyone discussed whether Aileen could actually bake. They heard she opened the shop to give a discount to the Knight Commander. Someone nearby quickly interrupted, "You can't say that in front of Katrina," because Miss Katrina admired the Knight Commander. Then it was announced that Miss Aileen had arrived, but her face was expressionless. This made Katrina think that the cake Aileen brought must not be very good. Of course, this was her inner thought. She pretended to be full of anticipation. "Miss Aileen, may we see it?" This woman had been attacked by a villain. Although she was rescued by the Grand Duke, she lost the crucial ingredients for the camellia ash cake, potentially delaying the wife's delight and affecting the shop's luck. Just as she was worrying, something appeared at the door that made her eyes light up. The day of the tea party quickly arrived. Because of Aileen and the Knight Commander's flirtation, Katrina, who admired the commander, wanted to embarrass Aileen. When she saw Aileen delivering the cake with an expressionless face, Katrina became even more convinced that Aileen hadn't made a good cake. But she maintained a look of expectation. Unbeknownst to her, after Aileen set down the box, her face transformed into a smile. "I heard you like chocolate desserts. A Zahar torta might not be fancy enough for a tea party, so I made some modifications. I hope you'll be satisfied." The moment the box opened, everyone present began to murmur. The cake before them was exquisitely beautiful. Even the flowers on top were made of white chocolate. A delicious taste without a beautiful appearance would be lacking. Thankfully, I finished the cake on time. Before this, she had been worried about not being able to deliver on time, until the moment she opened the door. At the doorway were chocolate and the ingredients she had lost. Only 3 people knew about this. After ruling out Raymond, it could only be him. Thinking of this, she smiled slightly. "It seems I need to prepare 2 thank-you gifts for the Grand Duke." Meanwhile, Katrina watched everyone's reaction, gritting her teeth. What good is it if it's only pretty? But things didn't go her way. Everyone who tasted the cake praised it. This made her skeptical, so she took a bite. The moment it entered her mouth, a burst of flavor overwhelmed her taste buds. The cake retained the bittersweet flavor of chocolate, but paired with the sweet and sour apricot jam. The 2 flavors were perfectly balanced. He meant to say the cake she brought wasn't good, but while he was lost in thought, he finished the entire piece. But the cake was so delicious that he couldn't lie, so he said it was quite good. Just as Aileen was feeling pleased with her success, a noblewoman beside her inquired whether the cakes could be delivered at any time. After receiving Eileen's affirmative answer, all the noblewomen around her started placing orders. At that moment, the sound of approaching footsteps was heard. Unexpectedly, this person also wanted to order a cake. Selena falsely greeted Aileen. She said that when she held her evening party, she didn't know where Aileen lived, so she hadn't been able to invite her. Aileen didn't give her a chance to continue, interrupting with, "You want to order a cake too, right?" Selena wanted to use Eileen's cakes as the dessert for her ball in 5 days. In return, she would promote Eileen's shop to others. After listening, Aileen, under Selena's surprised gaze, said it was a good idea. She would definitely make delicious cakes for the ball. Seeing that Aileen hadn't backed down, Selena switched to verbal attacks. "I was worried you wouldn't even dare to leave your house after that affair. Seeing you like this puts my mind at ease." Selena, as always, spoke words of concern that were actually meant to dig at Aileen. Aileen wouldn't let her succeed again. Someone who lived like a married couple with a married duke for 9 years is fine. Why wouldn't I dare to go out? Whenever I'm tired, I just think of your courage, and I'm instantly filled with strength. I want to live as boldly as you do. Selena was speechless with anger. The scornful laughter of the noble women around them added to her fury. Selena was furious. In the end, she could only suppress her anger and say she was looking forward to Eileen's cakes. A while later, Aileen returned to the shop. Because of Selena's order, Jasmine began to worry about her mistress. However, Aileen knew Selena's scheming mind. She already had a general idea of what would happen next. That's why she resolutely accepted the order. This ball would be a good opportunity to promote her shop. Moreover, Aileen had decided she wouldn't be bullied anymore. This woman's good nature had only invited others to take advantage of her. Even after her divorce, Selena still wanted to step on her. But what Selena didn't know was that Aileen was now completely different. Now, she would live for herself and wouldn't be bullied anymore. Just then, the sound of the door opening was heard. Two girls, one older and one younger, appeared at the door. They timidly asked if they could still buy cake. When they heard the shop was closing, the younger sister cried out, saying even leftover cake would do. She then started to cry. Aileen didn't understand why the girl had to buy a cake today. It wasn't until the girl revealed it was her birthday that Aileen understood. They must have some difficult circumstances. Children usually have cakes prepared by their parents for their birthdays. Thinking of this, Aileen said she still had some leftover cake batter from practice and offered it to them if they didn't mind. After getting the girls' agreement, she asked what kind of cake they would like. "I want a kitty cake. Please make it in the shape of a cat." Aileen was taken aback by this request. Before, the little girl's mother would bake cat-shaped cookies. Just then, the older sister interrupted. "She's willing to take our orders so late. You can't be unreasonable." But looking at the sensible older girl, Aileen agreed. However, she could only make it resemble a cat as much as possible. Aileen asked Jasmine to take care of them and went to the kitchen. Because the customer was a little girl, Aileen wanted to make her a memorable cake. She saw the tools Jasmine had left on the table after making molds. A wonderful idea came to her. Soon, Aileen finished the cake, making the two girls' eyes widen in amazement. The cake before them was beautiful and elegant, with soft cream, a light and airy sponge, and adorable kitten decorations. The lifelike kitten made it almost too cute to eat. Aileen then offered them the leftover petal-making ingredients to taste, while they exclaimed over the delicious flavors. She took the opportunity to pack the cake. When a little girl tried to pay, Aileen refused, saying it was made from leftover ingredients. However, the girl's mother told her that she must always pay for things. Seeing the girl's insistence, Aileen accepted one silver coin. As they left, Aileen worried about their safety as it was getting late. "We work at the fruit shop on Bayard Street, not far from here." "Thank you." The child, acting like a little adult, touched Eileen's heart. Meanwhile, back at the palace, Selena was leisurely enjoying her coffee. A servant presented her with a letter from Aileen. Curious, she opened it. It said that Aileen planned to create a magnificent cake at the table and wanted the guests to see it before eating. Someone kicked out of the palace has quite the nerve. She doesn't know her place, staying in the capital and selling cakes. How arrogant. I should have killed her last time. All of Selena's plans were dashed by Callus's appearance. Because of the Emperor's plans for Callus, it was difficult for her to act against him. Knowing she couldn't directly target Aileen, she sought out Raymond, inviting him to a ball hosted by her family the following evening. Selena knew he would likely refuse. He had become incredibly cold since returning from the Emperor, but she had a plan. If rumors about his teacher spread, people would connect it to the 2019 incident when he was ostracized. "I'm worried that if these false rumors spread, they'll negatively impact you." Hearing this, Raymond shook his head repeatedly, saying he wouldn't attend and had other matters to attend to. This response was exactly what she expected. "Even if he's tired of me now, I'll never let him go." She was the Empire's infamous villainess and the divorced former Duchess. But Selena wasn't ready to let him go. She actually sent someone again to try and kill him. Fortunately, Grand Duke Callus appeared and rescued Aileen from danger. Seeing that his scheme couldn't continue, he had no choice but to invite Duke Raymond to the family ball. Meanwhile, at the dress shop, Grand Duke Callus stared intently at the luxurious dresses before him. But after looking for a long time, he still couldn't make up his mind. He then let Aileen choose whichever one she liked best. However, Aileen was a bit speechless. Just a moment ago, she was still making cakes at the shop. She didn't know how things had turned out this way. A little while earlier, the flowers Grand Duke Callus made were a complete mess. This made Aileen feel like he was just getting in the way. Although she had said Grand Duke Callus could come to the shop anytime, he was coming by far too frequently. Aileen felt she should remind him. If they were seen together too often, it would cause unpleasant rumors about Grand Duke Callus. Just then, Jasmine called out. She had finished all the cake deliveries as requested. "Thank you, Jasmine. I can go to the ball tomorrow by myself. You should stay home and rest." Hearing this, Grand Duke Callus, out of curiosity, asked Aileen if she was going to the ball. After receiving Eileen's affirmative reply, he asked again if she had found an escort. However, Aileen planned to go alone because she didn't have anyone to ask. Seeing her slightly embarrassed expression, Grand Duke Callus volunteered, saying he could accompany her. and Duke Raymond would definitely attend such a ball. Moreover, there was another advantage to choosing him as her escort. That was, it would keep Selena away from Aileen the entire evening, because that woman, his brother's wife, intensely disliked Grand Duke Callis. After hearing this, Aileen smiled. This benefit appealed to her. Thus, she chose Grand Duke Callis as her escort for the ball. Unexpectedly, Grand Duke Callis then made a request. He wanted Aileen to accompany him to the city. That's why the previous events transpired. She hadn't expected Grand Duke Callis to make such a request. However, Eileen's next words left him a little confused, because she assumed Grand Duke Callis had brought her here to choose a dress to give to a female friend. Seeing Grand Duke Callis's stunned expression, Aileen thought she had been too blunt. To her question, Grand Duke Callis responded. She wasn't like ordinary noble ladies. Only the finest dresses were worthy of her. But even if he brought her the most expensive dress in the entire continent, he would still refuse it if she wasn't satisfied. Immediately after, Grand Duke Callis called for the shop owner. He wanted to buy every dress in the store. With that said, the shop burst into a flurry of activity. So many dresses were equivalent to the palace's monthly clothing budget. Aileen worried that if she suddenly received so many gifts, she would be quite startled. Grand Duke Callis hadn't realized the misunderstanding was so deep. If he didn't tell the truth now, Aileen would definitely be angry. So, what is it you actually want to ask me? Grand Duke Callis explained that it wasn't anything difficult. He simply intended to give all the dresses here to Aileen. He hoped she would wear one to the ball. He was merely trying to make her happy. He had all the dresses in the shop packed up, simply because she was going to a ball. And as a man, he naturally wanted Aileen to be the most dazzling presence at the ball. However, Grand Duke Callis's actions puzzled Aileen. She didn't understand why he would give such a gift. But Grand Duke Callis didn't offer any further explanation. Aileen looked at the man before her, who seemed slightly unfamiliar. At first, she thought Grand Duke Callis was approaching her just for amusement. Later, she thought it was simply concern. Even his help felt like it stemmed from past affection. But now, with all the recent events, Aileen couldn't help but feel something different. Seeing that Aileen couldn't understand his feelings, he sighed softly. Then he stepped closer. He asked Aileen, "Do you remember the promise we made? That if I gave you a dress, you would happily accept it?" Aileen de Brescia. She is the Empire's infamous villainess and the divorced former duchess. Their first meeting was when Grand Duke Callis was 13 years old. At that time, the emperor was instructing him that he couldn't run away like he had before, as this was his first time meeting his future sister-in-law. So, Grand Duke Callis obediently replied that he understood, while inwardly wondering if he should take this opportunity to sneak away. Just then, a servant announced that Lady Marquis Brescia had arrived. Following the sound of footsteps, Aileen appeared before everyone. Then she gracefully introduced herself. It was at this moment that Grand Duke Callis's heart stirred slightly. So this was his brother's fiancée. 6 months later, Aileen and his brother were engaged. The following year, they held their wedding. She officially moved into the palace. However, as soon as the wedding was over, Raymond openly brought his mistress into the palace. Everyone mocked and criticized the lonely duchess. But Aileen ignored the gossip and quietly managed the palace affairs. Grand Duke Callis observed all of this. The woman his brother brought back held parties every day, while his sister-in-law was always busy. While wandering aimlessly, he was attracted by a lit room. At this hour, the servants should all be asleep. He was curious who was still inside so late. He found his sister-in-law wiping away tears. It turned out all her strength was a facade. She only cried when no one was around. As Grand Duke Callis tried to leave unnoticed, the sound he made caught Eileen's attention. She quickly wiped her tears and turned around. Grand Duke Callis then learned why Aileen was there so late. Aileen had suddenly craved lemon pie in the middle of the night, so she got up to make one, because whenever she felt tired, eating sweets made her feel better. As Grand Duke Callis expressed surprise that he never knew his sister-in-law could cook, Aileen spoke of her childhood dream of opening a dessert shop. She wanted to be surrounded by sweets every day. Then, after cutting a piece of pie for Grand Duke Callis, she asked him to keep this a secret. However, this didn't silence him. Seeing his expression, Aileen smiled and said that from now on, whenever she made desserts, there would be a portion for him. Like a gentle voice whispering in his ear, a sweet and dangerous allure unfolded before him, and his gaze, like a touch, ignited a burning sensation wherever it fell. Little by little, this feeling spread to the depths of Callus's heart. It was a sensation he had never experienced before. Callus sincerely hoped that Aileen would always be this happy. He had only made a dessert, and yet the young boy blushed. His whispered, gentle voice and sweet smile made Callus's heart race uncontrollably. And so, he hoped that Aileen would always smile as happily as she did today. But not long after, something happened. It made Callus want to give Aileen a dress. However, his sudden words left her puzzled. At that moment, Callus's eyes turned cold. Today in the palace, he had overheard some wealthy nobles discussing Aileen. They mocked Aileen's drab dress, comparing it to mourning clothes. They also mentioned how Miss Selena had received a jeweled gown from the Duke, and how, in comparison, she looked more like a duchess. Hearing this displeased Callus. He didn't want Aileen to hear such words. So, to her questioning, he replied that the dress was a new wedding gift. Unexpectedly, Aileen vaguely remembered him giving her mother a gift. Caught in his lie, Callus had to pass it off as a gift for Aileen's upcoming birthday. You don't have to go to so much trouble for me. However, upon hearing Aileen's reply, Callus's expression became pleading. Aileen couldn't help but laugh. She agreed to accept his gift, but it couldn't be too extravagant. Hearing this, Callus became filled with anticipation for her birthday. After their conversation ended, he began searching through the palace records of gifts registered in recent years. However, he knew nothing about women's fashion. He initially wanted to buy the entire clothing store, but worried that might trouble Aileen. He then instructed someone to summon the chief designer to create a custom-made gift just for her. The thought of Aileen wearing a dress more magnificent than that woman's filled Callus with indescribable joy. If his brother couldn't make his wife smile, then he would. At the time, he thought it would be an easy task. Only later did he slowly realize that it was all an illusion. Aileen's birthday soon arrived, and the gift he had prepared was completed on time, and it was completed without regard to cost. The butler clapped his hands, and servants carrying gifts filed in. Even Callus was stunned when he finally saw it. Before him was a dress made of a light, luxurious fabric called Angel's Touch, dyed using a special technique. The neckline was adorned with the finest gems. Just as the butler was about to continue his description, Callus rushed towards Aileen's room, unable to contain himself. The mere thought of Aileen's happiness upon receiving the gift made his steps light and quick. Sister-in-law, Aileen turned towards the door. Your Highness, what brings you here? However, Callus's attention was completely captivated by the dress in his hands. Sister-in-law, someone sent you a dress. It turned out to be a birthday gift from Raymond. When Aileen asked him what he was doing there, Callus was speechless. He felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over him. The dress was clearly chosen by a servant, but Aileen, believing it was from her husband, was beaming with joy. Callus realized then that the person in Aileen's heart wasn't him, but someone else. He forced a smile and explained that his gift hadn't arrived on time, so he wanted to offer his congratulations first. Aileen thanked him. After a brief conversation, Callus excused himself. He didn't want to stay any longer. His first love had ended, even though he hadn't intended to confess. From the beginning, Aileen was someone he shouldn't have fallen for, and he wasn't the only one who thought so. The Emperor summoned Callus. Upon his arrival, the Emperor got straight to the point. What do you think of your sister-in-law? She's just attending a ball, and her brother-in-law gives her an entire shop's worth of dresses. Simply because on Aileen's birthday, he hadn't been able to give her the carefully prepared gift. Instead, he felt like a bucket of cold water had been dumped on him. His grandfather, seemingly aware of his unexplained feelings for Aileen, called him in to dissuade him. Falling for a married woman is a very bad thing, so stop focusing on her. I'll arrange a marriage for you with someone you like. Hearing this, Callus's secret affection was nipped in the bud. He desperately hoped this feeling would vanish quickly, and so he went to his estate with this thought in mind. Until later, when he heard the news of Aileen's divorce from his brother, he pondered for a moment, then grabbed his clothes and ordered his servants to prepare. He had to return to the capital immediately. Even at Aileen's doorstep, he still had some reservations, but the thought that Aileen might need help, and that he would leave when she no longer needed him, spurred him on. Just then, Aileen's words pulled Callus out of his reverie. Why are you giving me such a gift? But he didn't know how to answer, although he had always used helping her and worrying about her as an excuse. It was all just a way to stay by her side. If his feelings were a burden to Aileen, he could continue to hide them. Sister-in-law, don't you remember? We had an agreement. If I gave you a dress, you would happily accept it. He had always felt guilty about not being able to give her a gift on her previous birthday. So, he took this opportunity of the ball to fulfill their old promise. Aileen also remembered their agreement. But I only need one, not so many. Callus disagreed. He wanted to make up for all 8 years of missed birthday gifts. If there wasn't enough space, he could have a special dressing room built. And now, you don't have to live such a difficult life anymore. Sister-in-law, because this isn't the palace anymore. Aileen fell into deep thought. Yes, I don't have to suppress my preferences anymore. I don't have to pretend to be a wise and virtuous duchess. And I no longer have to cater to others. So what does it matter if I'm a little extravagant now? Before this, Aileen, I did think about wearing a beautiful dress to the ball. Since you're willing to give me one, I'll wear it with gratitude. Having received Aileen's affirmation, Callus beamed with joy. He immediately began asking Aileen which dress she wanted to wear and what style she preferred. Looking at Callus like that, she couldn't help but laugh. Even in the past, Aileen couldn't resist him, because as long as his wishes were granted, Callus would be incredibly happy. So Aileen simply couldn't refuse. Hearing Aileen's answer, he covered his blushing face. Seeing him like this, Aileen knew he must have misunderstood something and quickly explained, "At that time, I saw you being so adorable, so I thought about what it would be like if I had a younger brother. Anyway, I'm complimenting you. Sister-in-law, adorable isn't really a compliment for a man." After Aileen said she would keep that in mind, Callus turned around again to ask about the dress she wanted to choose. However, he didn't notice Aileen's reaction. At this moment, Aileen's face was flushed and her heart was pounding. He was just going to attend a ball, and His Grand Ducal Highness bought out an entire store's worth of dresses, just to make up for 8 years' worth of birthday presents. This gave Aileen a strange feeling. The day of the Blyna family ball, a carriage slowly arrived at the door. Jasmine, following Aileen's instructions, delivered the cake for the ball. Because this cake was so important, after the Blyna family's servant arrived, Jasmine repeatedly stressed that they must be careful during transport and not damage the contents. Even though the servant thought it was a bit of an overreaction, they still agreed. Meanwhile, Aileen was in her room organizing the day's accounts. After she finished writing, she turned to look at the dress Callus had given her on the bed. But Aileen felt the dress was too extravagant. It would be a bit ostentatious. So she didn't plan to wear it. She didn't know what came over her, but she just absent-mindedly accepted Callus's gift. And only he would say something like, "This is for 8 years of birthdays." Although he was always generous when he was young, whether it was giving me so many dresses or accompanying me to the ball as my partner, it shouldn't have meant anything else, right? Just then, Jasmine knocked on the door and said she had finished Aileen's errands and could start helping her with her hair and makeup. However, Aileen felt it wasn't necessary to go to so much trouble. Besides, Jasmine was now her employee, not her maid. Unexpectedly, Jasmine was even more enthusiastic about it than Aileen herself. Aileen's current thought was to simply dress up as she had for previous palace events. Hearing Aileen's response, Jasmine instantly bristled as if someone had touched her backside. Then she began a barrage of persuasion on Aileen. In the end, Aileen helplessly agreed to her request. Afterward, with Jasmine's help, she put on the dress, styled her hair beautifully, and applied exquisite makeup. In no time, Aileen's preparations were complete. After Jasmine handed her the mirror, Aileen looked at herself and, for a moment, was stunned by how beautiful she looked. "Thank you, Jasmine." As time slowly passed, a carriage slowly pulled up in front of the dessert shop. Callus, dressed in formal attire, stood beside the carriage. Hearing the sound, Aileen walked down, just as Callus was about to greet her. His eyes widened. He hadn't expected Aileen to look so stunning in the dress. Just as Aileen was feeling flustered under his intense gaze, Callus extended his hand. "You look absolutely radiant today." Aileen, upon hearing this, responded with a question, then placed her hand in Callus's. "That's what I should be saying to you. Perhaps because your Grand Ducal Highness is dressed differently than usual, I'm feeling strangely nervous." At the Blyna family residence, Raymond, at Selena's invitation, attended the ball as promised. However, he was now regretting that decision. Just as he was feeling bored, a servant announced the arrival of Grand Duke Callus and Miss Abricia. With the sound of approaching footsteps, Aileen, dressed in elegant and magnificent attire, arrived at the ball. Seeing Eileen at this moment, Raymond could hardly believe his eyes. Their appearance became the highlight of the entire ball. They had only dressed up casually, yet his ex-husband's eyes were practically bulging out of his head. She was radiant, instantly becoming the center of attention upon arrival. However, her ex-husband's gaze quickly turned icy, because accompanying Eileen was his dear younger brother. Seeing this, Eileen gracefully greeted Raymond. "I didn't expect you to attend this kind of social gathering, and with a partner, no less." Eileen found his words absurd. "You can attend with Miss Selena. Why can't I?" Raymond seemed to have forgotten that Eileen was no longer his wife and was actually trying to get angry at her. At this moment, Callus stepped forward, placing himself protectively in front of Eileen. He declared, "You're divorced. You have no right to interfere with her freedom." Raymond was about to retort when a hand wrapped around his arm. Little did he know, it was this innocent-looking woman who had invited Eileen, and she claimed to have only invited Eileen alone, not expecting Callus to accompany her. Eileen knew exactly what this woman was up to, trying to set her up again. She used to turn a blind eye, but not anymore. "Miss Selena is right. She asked me to make a cake for her, saying it would be good publicity for my shop. Actually, we're incredibly busy, but Miss Selena was so sincere, I couldn't refuse." "Miss Selena, why haven't you seen the cake I sent at the ball?" "Because I thought it would be more convenient for the guests to eat during the break, so I had it placed in the next room." After receiving Selena's reply, Eileen excused herself. Then, the two slowly walked to the edge of the dance floor. Raymond was now a loss, but in contrast to their silence, Eileen felt strangely exhilarated. Seeing the look on Eileen's face, Grand Duke Callus couldn't help but laugh. It had been a long time since he'd seen her smile so brightly. She seemed much happier now than she had been in the palace. This was largely thanks to Callus's encouragement. Because of him, she was able to return to society as Eileen once more. Then, Callus extended an invitation to her. He hoped to share a dance with the new Eileen. His former self would have been intimidated by the dazzling lights, the elegant gowns, and the silent scrutiny of the onlookers. But now, he no longer cared about such things. He wanted to follow his heart, accompanied by the gentle music and the murmur of the crowd on the dance floor. They lost themselves in the dance, oblivious to everyone else. Callus's dancing skills surprised Eileen, not because he was a bad dancer, but because he was so good. She had never seen him dance before. Meanwhile, at the dining table, Selena invited the Duke to dance, but Raymond ignored her. After waiting for a moment, Selena silently fumed. At the same time, Callus and Eileen's dance was coming to an end. Callus took Eileen's hand, and, as she looked at him in surprise, kissed it gently. "Miss Eileen," he whispered, "it was an honor to dance with you." This gesture caused a stir among the guests. Before the gossip could spread too far, someone clapped their hands to interrupt. Selena invited everyone to take a break and enjoy some refreshments and tea, along with the cake Eileen had prepared. Callus, however, showed no intention of joining them. Raymond seemed to have something to say to him. He had already instructed a servant regarding Eileen's request. Reassured, Eileen headed towards the drawing room. Will a large box appear before her? Selena turned and scolded the servant for not taking the cake out to be decorated. She then turned to Eileen and apologized. After receiving Eileen's understanding, she instructed the servant to open the cake box. But the sight that greeted them made the guests gasp. Even Eileen was stunned. The cake before them wasn't beautiful at all. It was grotesque. This woman, with just a bit of dressing up, became the center of attention. Even her ex-husband, who had previously ignored her, had a change of heart. He didn't even notice the woman he loved sitting beside him. His gaze fixed on Eileen. After their dance ended, Selena, the host of the ball, invited everyone to relax and enjoy the cake Eileen had brought. But the moment the box was opened, they were met with a mangled mess. The bright red color on the cake resembled blood. This started a flurry of whispers among the guests. Watching the scene unfold, Selena's lips curled into a slight smile. She then turned to Eileen with an innocent expression and asked what happened to the cake. Knowing this woman, Eileen knew she was about to make a scene. The Duchess, driven from her home, must be filled with resentment. She sent this blood-soaked cake to ruin everything. But Eileen wasn't falling for it. "It was perfectly fine when I sent it," she said. "Perhaps the servant accidentally damaged it." But the unsuspecting guests only believed what they saw. Just as Selena was about to feign distress, Eileen explained, "What I sent earlier was just a cake model." "A model?" Selena asked, startled. "Where's the real cake?" "I brought it with me, of course. I mentioned in the letter that I would send a model ahead of time." Selena finally understood what the the letterhead meant. The icing melts if the cake sits out too long. That's why we always use models for decoration at palace events. She had assumed Selena would know this. It was her oversight, but then again, it was understandable that someone who had never hosted a palace event wouldn't know. Just as Selena's anger flared, a serving cart was wheeled in. Aileen turned and said, "Perfect timing. This is the cake I prepared. Miss Selena, shall we replace that frightening thing with a real cake now?" The appearance of the real cake elicited gasps of admiration. It looked tempting enough to make everyone want to taste. The cake's contours were sharp and well-defined, and the taste was exquisite, melting on the tongue. The white chocolate, cream, and cake blended perfectly. Compared to the usual palace cakes, this one was far superior. Listening to the excited chatter, Selena felt a mix of emotions. "How's the cake? Are you satisfied?" "It's delicious. Thank you, Aileen." She corrected him. "It's Miss Aileen." Selena's casual address had irked Aileen. While such informality was acceptable in private, it was disrespectful in a formal setting. If Selena wanted to continue living in the palace, she needed to learn proper etiquette. This was Eileen's advice. Selena's expression shifted, and her hand trembled slightly. Aileen left, feeling pleased. "Your Highness," a voice said. Callis turned. "Is everything all right?" "Yes, everything is resolved." Seeing Eileen's contented expression, Callis felt a surge of happiness. Just then, Aileen expressed her desire to leave. Callis set down his glass. "I can escort you home," he offered. A while later, in the carriage, Aileen thanked Callis for accompanying her. But Callis felt that he should be the one thanking her. She had granted his wish to dance with her. "If there's another opportunity," he said, "I'd be honored to be your dance partner again." But as time went on, Aileen noticed something was off. Shouldn't they be heading home? This didn't seem like the way. "We're going home. My home, that is. We just attended a ball." When it was time to leave, she realized this wasn't the way back to her home. She only learned from her escort that they were going to his home. Aileen was taken aback. But when Callis explained that it was customary to have a light meal after a ball, she realized she had misunderstood him. Although she knew Callis was a kind person, his thoughtfulness made her feel a little strange. "I've had some simple food prepared. I hope you'll enjoy it. It's in the garden in about half an hour." As soon as Aileen arrived, she was captivated by the carefully arranged setting. "Do you like it? It's beautifully arranged. I love the atmosphere." Watching Eileen's pleased expression, Callis couldn't help but smile. He hadn't just arranged the garden. He'd also had the palace chefs prepare a delicious meal. Aileen was a little overwhelmed by what Callis had called simple food. It must have taken a lot of effort to prepare all this. Callis was truly a thoughtful and gentle man. After the main course, he brought out a dessert, a shaved ice dessert drizzled with strawberry syrup. Aileen took a small spoonful, and after putting it in her mouth, she was lost in the cool, sweet sensation. She didn't even notice Callis's question. As the weather was getting warmer, she thought selling this dessert in her shop would be a good idea. "Sister-in-law, you've completely become a dessert shop owner now. Even in situations like this, all you think about is business." That one sentence snapped Aileen back to reality, because Callis had called her sister-in-law again. He had just called her Miss Aileen a moment ago. He hadn't wanted to call her sister-in-law at the ball because Raymond was there. However, Aileen was truly grateful for Callis's company today. It had been a long time since she had enjoyed such a peaceful time. After becoming a duchess, she had lived in the palace for a while, then suddenly gotten divorced. After leaving, she bought a shop and opened a dessert store. So much had happened in just a few years. "Sister-in-law, what are you thinking about?" The sudden voice pulled Aileen out of her reverie. She had never imagined she would leave the palace and open a dessert shop. Aileen wished she had done this while her parents were still alive. After a brief silence, Callis spoke first, mentioning he had a gift for her. He had found it by chance in an antique shop. Callis had decided then and there to give it to Aileen the next time they met. Aileen hadn't expected such a gift. She opened the box before her. Soft music drifted out. The familiar melody still echoed in her ears. Although it was old, it was well preserved. Looking at the familiar box, Aileen was certain this was the one-of-a-kind music box her father had made for her mother. Because of their debts, they had been forced to sell it. Aileen wondered how Callis knew about the music box. Unbeknownst to her, she had mentioned it herself. She only remembered when Callis recounted the incident. While secretly making lemon tarts late one night, Aileen had unconsciously hummed a tune. It was an Ildanian song. Her mother used to hum it often, so she had grown to love it. It was a song passed down orally, and the melody would change slightly depending on the singer. Her father had gone to great lengths to write down the music and make it into a music box. Sister-in-law, what did that music box look like? I lost it. You probably can't see it now. Aileen couldn't believe Callus remembered something from so long ago. Your Highness, you're like a magician. Whenever I'm tired or in trouble, you always come to my aid. Callus felt it was nothing, as long as Aileen was happy. Just then, Aileen said something that stunned him. Please call me Aileen from now on. I'm not your sister-in-law anymore. Callus looked at Aileen's firm gaze. He could only agree. Although he wasn't sure how to address her at first, he managed to call her Aileen. He had arranged the beautiful garden and delicious food just to please his sister-in-law. He even went out of his way to find her childhood music box, the one her father had made for her mother. They had been forced to sell it when their family fortune declined. She had only mentioned it in passing a few years ago, and Callus had remembered it all this time and even found it for her. That same day, at the Briner estate, Raymond thought back on the day's events. Furious, he sought out Callus, demanding to know what his game was, attending the ball with Aileen. Callus simply replied that he was merely her escort. But Raymond thought Aileen, someone so clueless about social graces, would never have invited someone on her own. Besides, Aileen was his wife. How could he not understand her? But Callus immediately corrected him. Please call her Miss Aileen. Isn't it strange to call someone your wife after you've divorced? The thought made Raymond realize how hateful Callus was. He flung open the door, startling Selena inside. Was it really you who invited Aileen? He said, advancing on Selena. He knew she was behind all the things that had happened to Aileen, and this was the last time he would forgive Selena. She had done all of this just to get His Majesty's approval for her marriage to Raymond. But she had forgotten that His Majesty hadn't approved their marriage even before Raymond was married. Raymond didn't want to hear any more of her excuses. He warned Selena clearly that she was not to go near Aileen again without his permission. He slammed the door, leaving Selena alone. Raymond's protectiveness made her grind her teeth in hatred. What was that woman to him? He said before that Aileen was a sinister and annoying woman. But now he's saying these things to me. As he vented his anger, the door behind him slowly opened. Miss Selena, please don't be too angry. I'll find a way to help you. These words only fueled Selena's already burning rage. Because of Raymond's warning, she had few options left. However, the malicious servant suggested another method. While they couldn't directly harm Aileen, they could make her leave on her own. Meanwhile, at the Grand Duke's entrance, Callus was still thinking about how to safely escort Aileen home. But Aileen felt it was too much trouble and politely declined. However, she was very grateful for Callus's help today. If Callus came to her shop, she would treat him well. Callus seemed exceptionally pleased by Aileen's invitation. Half an hour later, while Aileen was still daydreaming, she unknowingly arrived in front of her shop. But the carriage parked there seemed strangely out of place. Though puzzled, she still got out of the carriage. You're finally back. The sudden voice startled Aileen. It was her ex-husband, Duke Raymond, who had gotten out of the carriage. At that moment, his eyes narrowed. He saw the Roy family crest on the carriage and suspected Aileen had been at Callus's residence. Aileen wondered why Raymond was here. Let's talk. Out of politeness, Aileen agreed to his request. But as it was getting late, she urged Raymond to get to the point and leave. He had come because he heard about the unpleasant encounter between Aileen and Selena at the ball. He warned Selena not to target Aileen again. He also told Aileen to tell him directly if anything like that happened again and not to endure it silently. The atmosphere immediately became tense. Aileen was speechless. Raymond didn't seem to consider who was responsible for the situation in the first place. As he was about to say more, Aileen used the excuse of having to open her shop the next day to dismiss him. Wait, Raymond's selfishness remained unchanged. He still lingered even though it was late. Aileen stood up, offering to escort him out. Suddenly, Raymond grabbed her hand. While she was stunned, he said he had more to say to her. Her husband of 9 years suddenly asked for a divorce. Not only was she not heartbroken, but she opened a dessert shop. Afterward, she changed her style completely, dressing up. Her ex-husband's eyes nearly popped out. He even showed up at her door at night. Even though Aileen told him it was late and he should leave, he didn't. Instead, he grabbed her hand, saying he had something to tell her. Aileen didn't want to hear any more of his nonsense and was about to call the city guard. Raymond was taken aback. He hadn't expected to be treated this way when he came to apologize. apologize. Aileen didn't think this was a sincere apology. He hadn't even announced himself before coming to her door. Hearing Eileen's cold tone, Raymond frowned. Aileen felt that since they were divorced, they had no relationship anymore. Upon hearing this, Raymond brought up the Emperor. Their divorce hadn't been officially approved by the Emperor. If he didn't bring Aileen with him, the Emperor wouldn't approve it. He had tried to see the Emperor several times, but had been refused. Therefore, Aileen had to go with him to see the Emperor. It seemed this was Raymond's real reason for coming. He hadn't cared when Selena bullied her. So why would he apologize now? But what did it have to do with her? She didn't have to listen to him anymore. They had already signed the divorce papers, so she had no obligation to accompany him to the palace to appease the angry emperor. Hearing this, his anger was barely contained. He felt Aileen shouldn't speak to him in that tone. Aileen had agreed to the divorce. Why did she resent him now? I heard from Callus that you asked him to be your dance partner. Did you enjoy humiliating me like that? Aileen didn't think there was anything wrong with attending the ball with Callus, but Raymond was furious. What would people think of a recently divorced woman acting like that? A man who took a mistress right after his marriage had no right to say such things. The two situations were completely different. However, Aileen felt she had nothing to be ashamed of. Raymond could accept her being with other men, but that man absolutely could not be Callus. It seemed he had other reasons for hating Grand Duke Callus. Raymond's words disgusted Aileen. Who she was with was her business. Aileen opened the door and told Raymond to leave her shop. Watching this, he said he would come back again. Then he left dejectedly. After Raymond left, Aileen felt exhausted. As she was about to go upstairs to rest, a rustling sound caught her attention. She thought Jasmine was hungry and making a late-night snack in the kitchen. But when she got there, she didn't hear Jasmine. She thought she must be tired and imagined the sound. But she didn't notice that a kitchen window was open. The next morning, Aileen woke up early to prepare the desserts for sale. But as she sat down to work, she noticed the chocolate flowers by the window were gone. She assumed Jasmine had put them away, but Jasmine knew nothing about it. She also noticed the window had been left open. Could a cat have stolen them? Aileen knew cats didn't eat chocolate. Could it have been some other wild animal? She put the question aside and finished making the day's featured desserts. Shortly after opening, a customer came in and ordered 2 desserts. He was a regular customer who came every day because he loved Eileen's desserts. He sat down and waited quietly. After Jasmine took over the packing duties from Aileen, she chatted with Fiona about the upcoming summer festival in a week. The capital's summer festival lasted from early summer until the rainy season. The most famous part was the Riverside Night Market. Merchants from all over the country will be there, selling all sorts of rare and precious treasures. It's quite a spectacle, but it's a commoner's festival. He's been afraid of running into people, so he hasn't gone since entering the Imperial Palace. But now that he no longer needs to worry about such things, he's considering going. Seeing this, Fiona asks Aileen who she plans to go with. I plan to go alone. However, Fiona doesn't believe her. Such a beautiful person. How could she not have a male escort? At Eileen's words, the image of Grand Duke Callus surfaces in Fiona's mind, but she quickly dismisses the thought. Callus's identity and appearance are too dazzling. As she's pondering this, the doorbell rings. Aileen is about to say welcome when the visitor asks, "Are you the owner of this establishment?" She divorced her husband of 9 years, and her ex-husband's lover isn't planning on letting her go. After arranging an assassination attempt, she was discovered by Raymond and sternly warned. But she's not giving up. If covert methods don't work, she'll try overt ones. Today, Aileen opens for business as usual. But this time, she has an unexpected visitor. Looking at the badge on his chest, Aileen realizes this person is a health inspector, and he states that today is a surprise inspection. Understanding his purpose, Aileen leads him to the kitchen. The kitchen being outside the shop surprises the inspector. Unbeknownst to him, Aileen simply doesn't have the extra money to renovate and include the kitchen inside the shop. Then, the spotless kitchen comes into view. This leaves the inspector unable to find any fault, but he suddenly changes tack, asking Aileen if she has anything else. Aileen misunderstands, thinking he wants to inspect the ingredients. She then points to the side. What a frustrating woman. He isn't here for a real inspection. He wants a bribe. He can easily write her up for health code violations and shut her down for a while. If the bribe is good enough, he'll reevaluate. By now, Aileen fully understands his intentions, but she doesn't intend to bribe him. She turns and tells the inspector to write whatever he wants. She's not afraid. Watching Aileen leave, the inspector threatens to shut her down for a month. However, Aileen notices his nervousness. She senses he'll be in trouble if he doesn't get a bribe from her. While a negative report could lead to temporary closure, getting caught offering a bribe to an official isn't just a matter of closing shop. It's jail time, and the current situation feels like a trap. With his scheme exposed, the man panics and flees. This only strengthens Eileen's belief that he was sent by someone, and there's only one person who would do such a thing. Later, she tells Jasmine about the incident. Jasmine suggests Aileen find an acquaintance to help smooth things over. That woman might have already planned the next step. If it were the Grand Duke, he could probably resolve this quickly. Aileen owes him too many favors and feels embarrassed to ask. Then how about we ask Sir Answer? He's the Knight Commander now. He should know a lot of people. As Jasmine continues to persuade Aileen, a voice calls out, "It's Answer." Since no one was at the counter, he let himself in. After a while, they catch up. Having heard that Aileen went to Brenna's ball, he was worried and came to find her immediately. He doesn't understand why that woman still won't let go, even though Aileen is already divorced. Looking at the man before her, as considerate as ever, she's deeply touched. But besides his concern, he has something else to say to Aileen. After hesitating, he blushes and invites Aileen to the summer festival with him. The festival, Answer explains, he doesn't have any ulterior motives. He just wants to help her take her mind off things. But if you go out with me, there might be unpleasant rumors. You can refuse if you don't want to go. Then let's go together. Although Answer is right, there will definitely be gossip, but she's decided not to care anymore. Just as Answer is about to say something else, Nori suddenly opens the door, interrupting him. "We just received a letter. A noble wants to invite Aileen to a tea party. It's a letter from the Florence family." The letter explains that it's a last-minute invitation and seeks Eileen's consent. They want to ask Aileen for a favor. However, Aileen doesn't know the sender. She's never met the Countess, as she never attends events at the Imperial Palace. Lately, people have been contacting her about making desserts, but recent orders have been suspicious, making her wary. After a moment of silence, Answer offers to accompany her. He happens to be free tomorrow, and as her escort, he can also serve as her protector. Hearing this, Aileen readily agrees. The next day, in front of the Florence estate, two childhood friends walk down together. The Countess of Florence has been waiting for them, but when Aileen sees that it's only the two of them, she voices her confusion. The Countess admits it was a pretext to get her to come. She's leaving tonight and won't be back for 2 weeks, hence the sudden invitation. Eileen's desserts are famous in the capital. Many people rave about them after trying them. Beautiful and delicious. Everyone in the capital wants to order them, and she's no exception. In 3 weeks, she's hosting a birthday party at her estate and wants to offer her guests some special desserts. Aileen, however, doesn't know what these special desserts are. The Countess then continues, explaining that in her younger, more naive days, secretly went to the southern coast of a hostile nation and was fortunate enough to taste a special dessert there. So he hopes Aileen can recreate that dessert. He just went to the library with his brother-in-law, but was discovered by his ex-husband, who suddenly showed up. In his panic, he bumped into a bookshelf. To protect Aileen from harm, Callus shielded her with his body. Before this, Aileen, in order to fulfill the Countess of Florence's request, left the mansion and went to look for a shop selling jasmine flowers. As time passed, Answer discovered someone following him, and it was a train knight. Although he felt Selena was the most suspicious, he had no authority to command knights, so Aileen ruled her out. And His Highness Raymond is concerned about his reputation, so it wouldn't be him. As he eliminated possibilities, the figure of that person emerged in his mind. However, with this thought, he felt relieved. He pulled Answer and quickly rushed to the grocery store. But upon arrival, the clerk told them that the jasmine flowers they needed were sold out. The next arrival time would be a month later. But the Countess of Florence's birthday party is in 3 weeks. Thinking of this, Aileen started to go to other places to search. But at the moment she opened the door, Callus stood before her with a smile on his face. He felt incredibly lucky to be able to run into Aileen everywhere. Aileen knew, however, that as the Grand Duke, he wouldn't come to a place like this. Then Answer saw him and greeted him. However, rivals meeting are bound to be hostile. Callus said he didn't remember who he was, because he often forgets unimportant people. As his voice fell, the scene fell silent. Just as Aileen felt the two were at odds, Callus asked, "Aileen, what are you doing here?" "Buying ingredients." When Callus learned she was going to other places to buy things, he volunteered to accompany Aileen, and he had something to tell her. It was a bit inconvenient to talk here. However, Eileen's companion today was Answer, so she didn't agree to Callus's offer. Seeing their closeness, Callus felt an indescribable emotion in his heart. However, Answer didn't want to make things difficult for Aileen, so he made plans with Aileen to come back the next day. A while later, in the carriage, "Did you send knights to watch me today? Is that how you knew I was at the grocery store?" Callus, however, said he absolutely did not send anyone to watch her. It was his subordinate who told him. Aileen felt that this was surveillance. Callus couldn't let that accusation stand. He was just worried about Eileen's safety, so he sent people to protect her. After saying this, he turned away, somewhat indignant, because he hadn't expected Answer to discover his men. Not only that, but Callus also knew that his brother had gone to see Aileen. Hearing this, Aileen asked him if he had also arranged nights near the shop. Unexpectedly, Callus changed the subject. He heard there would be a night market next week. He wanted to ask Aileen if she would like to go with him. Hearing this, Aileen was speechless. She felt that Callus didn't have anything important to say, and she had already promised someone else. That person was Answer, the Knight Commander. It would definitely be safe to go with the Knight Commander. That's nice. The Knight Commander is actually free enough to go to the night market. Hearing this, Aileen felt a bit of a barb in Callus's words. However, she still hoped she was overthinking it. She was cornered by her brother-in-law. She did this only to avoid her ex-husband, because after their divorce, she came to the palace library again. Unexpectedly, her ex-husband also came here during this time. Before this, Callus, in order to invite Aileen to the night market. The text appears to be missing/corrupted here, to be alone with Aileen. However, what he didn't expect was that Answer had already made plans with Aileen one step ahead. Hearing this, he couldn't help but sneer. A Knight Commander actually has time to go to the night market. These words felt a bit barbed to Aileen. She hoped she was just overthinking it. A while later, Aileen arrived at another grocery store, searching for jasmine flowers. She looked and looked but couldn't find what she wanted. Helpless, she had to ask the owner for help. Unsurprisingly, this shop's jasmine flowers were also out of stock. However, he still had other rare spices. Because the petals are used to make perfume, he didn't stock many. Although it was a pity, Aileen also felt there was nothing she could do. It seemed she could only try to find them at the night market. If they weren't there either, it would be troublesome. Just as her thoughts drifted, a bottle of peculiar dark leaves on the top shelf caught her attention. It was the first time she had seen such dark leaves. Curiosity led her to pull out the cork. As a fragrance drifted out, Eileen's body trembled involuntarily. In that instant, she felt as if she were in a black forest. Although this image only appeared for a moment, but it was too realistic. This made her think that it might be related to the leaves in her hand. Immediately, she asked the owner what it was. "Those are leaves brought back from the Black Forest, a mysterious forest located at the northernmost tip of the continent, connected to the Eiston Mountains. I just thought they smelled nice at the time, so I stocked them, but no one has ever bought them." Hearing this, Aileen had a thought. If she didn't buy them, she felt she wouldn't be able to put her mind at ease. Soon, Aileen finished her purchase and left the shop. Callus, however, thought Aileen had already bought what she wanted. "Little did I know they didn't have what you were looking for here. Why are you looking for such rare flowers?" Hearing this, Aileen explained everything about making desserts for the Countess in 3 weeks. But developing new products requires a lot of petals. "Unfortunately, I have nowhere to buy them." An idea came to her. She tightly grasped Callus's hands. She hoped the person in front of her could help her with something. In the palace that evening, Aileen and Callus arrived. To avoid being discovered, Callus chose a different route, because only royalty can freely enter and exit the palace library. But Aileen is no longer a member of the royal family. As the dazzling array of books came into view, she was filled with emotion. However, due to the long-standing hostility between the two countries, Southern culture has always been restricted. If Aileen started with books on Southern dietary habits or cooking methods, she might be able to find clues related to that dessert. But the results were disappointing. Not only did she not find the recipe for the dessert, she didn't even see any useful information. However, as the books fell, a picture in one of them caught her attention. It told the story of the Eldon people. Desserts from the Eldon mountainous region are mainly sweet. Their cuisine has a unique characteristic, because Could this be Eldon's unique cooking method? Aileen, what are you looking for? Upon learning that Aileen was looking for Southern cooking methods, Callus asked, what does that dessert look like? I've eaten quite a few dishes, so I might know it. Because back then, he, like the Countess, had also snuck into the enemy country, just as he thought he would be scolded for bringing this up. But the expression on Eileen's face was only worried, without a trace of blame. Callus hadn't expected this outcome. He immediately admitted he had been a little inconsiderate and promised to think carefully before acting in the future. Then, he gently twirled a strand of Eileen's hair between his fingers. He was happy about Eileen's concern. He even made a promise that even if he were in a dangerous place in the future, he would return safely for her. Upon hearing this, Aileen couldn't help but blush. However, she didn't want Callus to see it, so she scolded him, saying he shouldn't have gone to such a dangerous place in the first place. So what does that dessert look like? After Aileen described the dessert, he only thought for a moment. He seemed to have eaten that dessert. Aileen was incredibly excited at this revelation. If Callus knew it, then the possibility of her successfully recreating the dessert would greatly increase. Just as Callus was about to describe the dessert's appearance, that a shout suddenly came from outside the door. Haven't you found it yet? It sounds like someone's coming in. Do you want to go check it out? However, Callus didn't say anything. He just grabbed Eileen's hand. Then, he turned and pulled her into his arms. Aileen didn't know what was happening. If we go out now, will we run into someone you dislike? At this moment, another voice sounded from outside. Don't worry, no one will come in here. Eileen's heart skipped a beat. Could that voice be Raymond? This isn't what we agreed on. Didn't you swear you could get that thing for me? Raymond asked the man in black in front of him. That's what I said, but only if you kept your end of the bargain. The man in black replied, so you're going back on your word now. Isn't that because you didn't keep the agreement? I couldn't help it. It's your fault for being incompetent that I had to do that. Listening to their argument, Aileen was confused. What are they talking about? Stop arguing. We're in this together now, Raymond said angrily. Do you really think so? Oof. If you really wanted to break the agreement, you wouldn't have come here yourself. You're right, the man in black said. After all, we wouldn't want to give up a valued customer like you. Is he making a secret deal with someone? The important parts of the conversation are all omitted. I have no idea what they're talking about. You suddenly hiding has made the situation even more awkward. We can't go out now. Aileen looked up at Callus and whispered. Callus, however, wasn't worried like Aileen. He smiled and said to her, they seem to be discussing important matters. It would be rude to interrupt them. But eavesdropping is also rude, Aileen thought to herself. It seems like they're leaving, Callus whispered into Eileen's ear. Callus's words made Aileen relax. At that moment, she suddenly became aware of the proximity between them. Because everything happened so suddenly, I hadn't had time to think about other details. As a result, I'm now too close to His Highness Callus. His warm breath is tickling me. They're gone. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Aileen abruptly pushed Callus away. It's okay now. Wait, Aileen, we haven't. Callus reached out to grab Aileen, but she shook him off. In the struggle, Aileen bumped into a bookshelf. Under the force of gravity, books began to fall. Aileen instinctively closed her eyes tightly, but her feet were rooted to the spot. However, the expected pain amongst the commotion didn't come. She only heard the sound of books hitting the floor. That was close. Callus pulled Aileen into his arms, shielding her from the falling books. Aileen, are you all right? Callus asked. Aileen was about to answer. That when she heard footsteps approaching. Then came Raymond's gritted voice. What are you doing here? I can't stand this anymore. Do you know where this is? Raymond walked towards them, fuming. Wait, you seem to have misunderstood something. Aileen tried to explain, but Raymond wouldn't listen. Misunderstood? Then what was I just seeing? You dare to do this in the Imperial Palace. Raymond roared. He's still the same as before, not listening to my explanations at all. Looking at the man before her, Aileen knew that further explanation was useless. She retorted, then may I ask who brought his mistress into the Imperial Palace to live with him? You're bringing this up. Raymond was about to explode. It was common for royalty or high-ranking nobles to have mistresses. How long are you going to make a fuss over this small matter? Raymond asked. Stop being so childish. Know your place. Raymond's words stunned Aileen. In the past 9 years, did he ever treat me as an equal, as a person? You seem to have always been mistaken. Aileen lowered her eyes, her voice exceptionally calm. I am not your personal property. Not now, and not when we are married. So please don't try to control my actions this way. and don't excessively concern yourself with other people's private lives. Eileen's words enraged Raymond to the extreme. His face flushed crimson with fury. You, Raymond roared. Watch your words. Callus stepped in front of Aileen. Even if you are my brother, I won't tolerate you insulting Aileen. Huh, you dare to be so impudent in front of me. Raymond was about to explode. He hadn't expected both of them to be so disrespectful to him. What? Are you going to go complain to grandfather? Callus continued, you wouldn't dare, because then you'd have to explain your secret conversation with someone in the restricted area. Callus's words immediately deflated Raymond. He's practically put the whole area off limits. What does that even mean? Aileen wondered, puzzled. Arguing with you is pointless. Raymond dropped those words, turned, and left. After that jerk left, Aileen quickly grabbed Callus and asked, Your Highness, what did you mean just now? What did I say? Callus asked, confused. When did this place become a restricted area? Aileen pressed. Just recently. Even the royal family needs permission to enter now, Callus explained. You should have told me. It's rare for you to ask for my help. I thought we could just quickly find what we needed and leave quietly. I'm sorry about what happened earlier. It's my fault you were spoken like that by your brother. It's all right. It's not your fault. I wonder who Raymond was meeting with just now. Their conversation seemed serious. I hope nothing dangerous is going on, Aileen said, feeling uneasy. Aileen, would you be sad if your brother died? Callus suddenly asked. Huh? Aileen was surprised. What do you mean by that? It's just a hypothetical, Callus explained. After all, it's possible for him to have an accident. The war between the Empire and the South is over, and the border is peaceful. Why would he suddenly say something like that? Does he want to seize the throne? But he doesn't seem to care about power. If Raymond died, would I be sad? Aileen opened her mouth. I think I'd be happy, Aileen said. I have no interest in his life. Even talking to him feels like a waste of time. But I hope you don't get into any danger, and I hope it doesn't affect me. After all, I've just started running the shop I've always dreamed of. Eileen's answer made Callus breathe a sigh of relief. Then he took Eileen's hand and said, all right, then I will protect you in your dream. I just meant for him not to do anything dangerous. And then he responds like that. Eileen's face flushed again. Speaking of which, Aileen pulled her hand back and changed the subject. The dessert you had in the South. What was it made of? We were interrupted before you could finish. Actually, what's on top isn't cream. It's made from a fruit that grows across the coast from the South, Callus said. What? This presented another problem for Aileen. Then it can't be bought in the Empire, can it? If it's transported by ship, it would rot in over a month. Don't worry, Callus reassured her. That fruit can be transported long distances. Callus's words gave Aileen renewed hope. Really? Do you know the name of the fruit? I'm not sure of the name, Callus admitted. I'd have to see it to recognize it. So, would you like to go to the night market at the summer festival with me? Callus asked. You really don't know the name. Aileen was deeply suspicious of Callus. That's mean. Callus put on a wronged expression. Are you doubting me? I only had it once by chance, so I've only seen it. Fine, let's go to the night market together. Aileen agreed, making Callus very happy. Then Commander Laughlin. I'll just go with him another day. I can't stand him up. Aileen bent down to pick up the books on the floor. All right, well, we should hurry up and tidy up so we can leave. We also need to find a way to get more jasmine petals. Where was this book originally, Aileen? Callus asked. You could just give it to me, Aileen said. But as Callus held the book, Aileen froze when she saw the title. Stewing. Your Highness. I think I know where to find a large quantity of jasmine flowers, Aileen said. What do you mean? Callus was puzzled. His Majesty. His Majesty loves tea, so he's always looking for tea leaves with special aromas, Aileen explained excitedly. I heard that jasmine flowers are used to make tea in the South. His Majesty went on an expedition to Altuan, so he must have brought back a lot of flower tea. I'll write a letter to His Majesty's Chamberlain and ask if I can buy a small amount of petals. I'll deliver the letter to the Chamberlain for you. That'll be faster and more reliable, Callus offered. Oh, but that seems like too much trouble for you. I'd feel bad. Aileen felt embarrassed. It's all right, Callus said kindly. It's not a big deal, and you're always welcome to ask me for help. If you encounter any difficulties in the future, remember to tell me right away. Seeing Aileen staring at him, Callus asked, a little confused, What's wrong? And nothing. Aileen turned away. It's just that in my memory, I only have the image of you as a young man. Now I suddenly feel like you become more mature. That's because I've always wanted to be this kind of person. Callus hesitated. What did you say? Aileen turned back and asked. Nothing. Just thinking about the past, Callus replied. The next day, Aileen stretched. It's been a while since I slept in like this. As for the jasmine flowers, I just have to wait for news from the Chamberlain. Should I start thinking about how to make the dessert the Countess requested? But I heard it uses fruit instead of cream, which makes it even more confusing. I'll try developing some desserts that highlight the jasmine aroma. If I want to highlight the floral aroma, I can't make a cake or other desserts with strong flavors. Instead, I should make something simpler with a milder flavor. Adding jasmine to panna cotta or creme brulee should be nice. I'll try making creme brulee first. Aileen rolled up her sleeves as she thought. She added jasmine petals to hot milk to infuse the aroma, then removed the petals. She added sugar and cream, stirring until well combined. Then she added egg yolks and continued stirring. Finally, she placed the mixture in a preheated oven to bake. After baking, she let the creme brulee cool for an hour or two. Let me see how it tastes. Aileen picked up the creme brulee and a spoon. Just as she was about to take a bite, there was a knock at the door. Is anyone there? A voice called. Aileen was puzzled. No one should be coming today. Hello, your fruit delivery has arrived. Aileen opened the door and saw a little girl holding a basket of fruit. Aileen thought for a moment. The little girl who came to buy cake with your sister last time. It's been a while. You make deliveries too. Aileen was pleasantly surprised. Yes, the little girl replied. Should I put this in the kitchen? It must be heavy. Here, let me take it. No, it's okay. I'll do it. It's fine. You can come in and get paid. After the little girl followed Aileen inside, she looked around and was suddenly drawn to the creme brulee on the table. Wow, you sell creme brulee too? The little girl asked. No, I was just experimenting, Aileen replied. It's the first time I've seen someone make creme brulee, the little girl said, amazed. Really? Aileen wondered. Ordinary families often made homemade milk pudding. How had she never seen it before? Did she lose her parents at a young age? Maybe she started working when she was very little. Because of that, do you like creme brulee? Would you like to try some? Aileen offered. Oh, no thank you, the little girl said, a little embarrassed. I didn't bring any money today. Don't worry about paying, Aileen said with a smile. Actually, I'm developing a new dessert. If you could tell me what you think of the taste after you finish it, it would be a huge help. Could you do that for me? Aileen asked. Can I really eat it? The little girl asked. Of course. I'll get you a clean spoon. Here you go, Aileen said. I also drizzled some caramel syrup on top. Aileen served a piece of pudding as she spoke. Then I won't hold back. The little girl said happily. I'll try some too, Aileen said, scooping up a piece for herself. But after a couple of chews, Aileen frowned. It does have a jasmine fragrance, but since I only used milk and cream, the overall flavor is quite bland. It seems like a failure. I wonder how it tastes with the caramel syrup. Aileen looked at the little girl and asked, How does it taste? It's really delicious, the little girl said cheerfully. The sweetness of the caramel and the soft texture of the pudding are great. Everyone will love it. Really? Thank you. Aileen smiled back. She didn't mention the floral scent at all. It seems the caramel flavor is too strong, masking the jasmine. Should I use a milder fruit instead of cream? Aileen wondered. I'm finished, the little girl said. Do you have any fruits imported from the south? Or dried fruits? And nuts would work too. Aileen asked. We did get one I've never seen before, but since no one's buying it, it'll probably be thrown out soon, the little girl replied. Is it white? Not brown. It doesn't sound very appetizing, Aileen said, a little disappointed. I knew it wouldn't be easy to find. Well, I'll be going then. Be careful. Want to try making another dessert? After seeing the little girl off, Aileen decided to try again. Aileen, a voice called out. Aileen turned around and saw Sir Answer walking towards her. Right, he said he was coming to the shop today. Come in, Aileen said. What's that in your hand? Just some simple food, Sir Answer explained. I figured you probably haven't had lunch yet. Now that you mention it, I've been so busy making desserts. I haven't eaten anything since this morning. Thank you. Come in and eat. Aileen reached out to take the food. However, the moment Aileen touched Sir Answer, images flashed through her mind. I've seen this before. Like that time at the grocery store. I saw the Phantom of the Black Forest again. Did you just? Aileen started to ask Sir Answer if he experienced the same thing. But then she saw Sir Answer clutching his chest in pain. Sir Answer, what's wrong? Are you all right? What happened? Your face. Aileen, Sir Answer gasped, his voice weak. Stay away from me. The next moment, Sir Answer closed his eyes. and collapsed to the floor. "Sir Answer, please open your eyes," Aileen cried. There's blood on his shoulder. Could it be the monster poison acting up again? Aileen quickly unbuttoned Sir Answer's shirt. However, she froze when she saw the wound. How did his injury get worse than before? He was fine just a moment ago. Why did this suddenly happen? Hearing Sir Answer's weak gasps, Aileen snapped out of it. "I shouldn't just stand here. I need to hide Sir Answer. If someone finds out he's been poisoned by a monster, they might take him to the temple to be executed." "Sir Answer!" Aileen reached out to help him up. The moment her hand touched him, Sir Answer's blood suddenly wrapped around her hand. Aileen stumbled back. However, the next second, something amazing happened. Aileen suddenly noticed her hand glowing. The poison, it's all gone. Aileen stared at her hand in disbelief. What's going on? Could Sir Answer's poison also be? Aileen quickly turned to check on Sir Answer. But Sir Answer's wound hadn't healed. It was spreading. What's happening? There's something like black mist around the wound. Is it because of that light just now? "Sir Answer!" Aileen reached out and touched his hand. Another sharp pain. More images flooded her mind. Aileen was shocked. That was the Black Forest just now. I saw the same phantom when I bought those black leaves at the spice shop. Why do I keep seeing this? Could the monster poison be related to the northern forest? Wait, I remember the medicine that treats monster poison also comes from the north. That leaf, maybe it can help Sir Answer. I'm a little worried, but there's nothing else I can do. Found it. But how do I use this? That's the leftover milk from making the pudding. I'll use this to make something. Thinking this, Aileen quickly got to work. After crushing the leaves, she poured them into the milk. Mixing it with milk might make it easier to swallow. Once it was ready, Aileen hurried back out with the milk. Seeing Sir Answer's pale face, Aileen panicked. His complexion is worse than before. At this rate, he really might. "Sir Answer, wake up. Drink this. Please, let this work." He drank it all, but there was no reaction. Is it really not working? Aileen held Sir Answer's hand and prayed. "Please, let Sir Answer wake up." The next second, a bright light flashed from Sir Answer's wound. This is... Aileen's eyes widened in disbelief once more. Aileen rubbed her eyes, shocked by what she was seeing. His wound, it's gone. I heard monster poison is incurable. Did that black leaf really work? What was that pattern on his wound? Unlike before, no matter how I touch him, it doesn't hurt. And I can't see the phantom anymore. I'm glad it didn't have any negative effects on Sir Answer. But why did this happen? Pallas the Emperor stood before a tombstone. Who put these flowers here? Grand Duke Callus brought them early this morning. That boy. Has Raymond been here? Well, judging by your reaction, he hasn't come yet. As a son, but he doesn't even remember his own father's death anniversary. The Emperor sighed. "High Priest, let's talk. What would you like to discuss?" The High Priest asked. "It's about my grandsons." The Emperor said, "In your opinion, how are they?" Raymond still shows no aptitude. "Yes, he's the same as before." The High Priest replied honestly. "I see." The Emperor sighed. "And how is Lady Aileen doing now?" The High Priest asked. "How could she be? My grandson drove her away." The Emperor was exasperated. I wanted him to apologize to Aileen, but he wouldn't listen to me at all. Raymond probably thinks I'm deliberately tormenting him. The High Priest sighed after hearing the Emperor's words. "Oh, why would you do that? If only I could tell him the truth. However, until he shows the aptitude of an heir, I can't say anything." The Emperor pushed open the door and saw a table laden with exquisite food. "Greetings, Your Majesty, Emperor of the Empire." Selena stepped forward and bowed. The Emperor glared at the High Priest disapprovingly. The High Priest quickly whispered an explanation. I didn't know about this, Your Majesty. I heard you came to the temple without eating, so I prepared some food. Although my cooking skills are not yet perfect, I prepared this with great care. I hope you'll try it." Selena spoke solicitously. "High Priest," the Emperor turned to the High Priest and said, "The temple is a sacred place. How can such a disrespectful person be allowed to enter? What is the meaning of this? Disrespectful person. Is he talking about me?" Selena clenched her hands tightly. "Does he think I'm dirty for serving Prince Raymond?" Thinking this, Selena struggled to control her emotions. "Your Majesty, you've disliked me since a long time ago, haven't you?" Selena asked. "May I ask why? I really want to know the reason. Is it because of my low birth? For the past 7 years, I have served Prince Raymond wholeheartedly. If you agree, I can also, like Lady Aileen." "No, I'm confident I can manage the palace even better through my own efforts." The Emperor interrupted her directly. "How foolish of you to say such a thing." Selena was stunned. "Your status and talent are not important. You've had everything easy since you were young, yet you're complacent and content to be Raymond's mistress. This is common knowledge. How could I possibly make someone like you the Empress of the Empire?" These words undoubtedly sealed Selena's fate. Then, Selena asked in a trembling voice, because I've always been by Prince Raymond's side, I can't be his wife. The emperor was speechless at this question. He turned and strode away. Drag her out of here, and never let her set foot in here again. Your Majesty, you're going too far. You've never even given me a chance. Selena shouted as she struggled. I've been in love with Prince Raymond since I was a child. But why did you choose her and not me? That's not a position you can aspire to, so you should give up now, the emperor said. The emperor sighed in exasperation. This child is truly persistent. Raymond has been living with this kind of girl all along. I've always regarded him as the heir to the empire, so I've doted on him since he was a child. Yet he continues to disappoint me, both in his aptitude as an heir and in matters of marriage. What are your plans now? If it weren't for Lady Aileen, then Prince Raymond. The high priest trailed off. I plan to bring Aileen back, the emperor said, although she said she never wants to return to the palace, and I feel terrible for doing this to her. Raymond needs Aileen. I have to run away quickly. If that person catches me, I might die. No, I have to ask for help. But who should I ask? Even if I tell someone, it will only bring them trouble. In that case, I might as well. Sir Answer. Eileen's voice rang out. Sir Answer jolted awake from his nightmare, staring blankly at the ceiling. Aileen, Sir Answer called out. Thank goodness. Seeing Sir Answer awake, Aileen breathed a sigh of relief. Are you all right now? Where am I? Aileen explained, I saw you collapse, so Jasmine and I brought you to my room. Don't worry, she doesn't know about your injury. Your shirt was stained with blood, so I washed it for you. What? I'm so sorry. Sir Answer felt deeply apologetic. You must be exhausted. I owe you another favor. Don't mention it, Aileen said. But you seem to be having a nightmare just now, so I woke you up. How are you feeling? Has the wound gotten worse? I don't feel anything now. Huh? Sir Answer looked at his shoulder in astonishment. My wound is gone. And what is this pattern? It's a bit complicated to explain. Aileen said, I had you eat a black leaf, and after your wound disappeared, this pattern remained. I see. Why did your wound suddenly worsen? Aileen asked. I don't know. Sir Answer was also puzzled. It was slowly healing before. It certainly doesn't hurt now, but I've never heard of anything about this pattern before. Sir Answer, why don't you stay here for a while? Aileen suggested. What? Sir Answer was taken aback. I'm still worried, and your wound might reopen. So I think it's best for you to stay here until we're sure there are no further problems, Aileen explained. Even so, how can I? Sir Answer hesitated. It's all right, Aileen said. There's a spare room here. It's a bit small, but it should be fine for a temporary stay. But Sir Answer was still hesitant. I'm just worried about you. After all, I was the one who gave you that leaf. What if something happens to you? Aileen said. Aileen, why would you think that? Sir Answer took Eileen's hand. If it weren't for you, I might have already been consumed by the poison and died. So I'm actually very grateful to you. If me staying here will put your mind at ease, then let's do that. You don't need to blame yourself so much. Hearing Eileen's voice, Sir Answer realized what he was doing and quickly let go of her hand, apologizing. I'm sorry, and I don't think this pattern has any negative effects on me. I actually feel pretty good. Sir Answer blushed as he spoke. That's good. Aileen sighed in relief. The apothecary who sold me the healing potion also said it was imported from the north. Your guess might be right. This might be related to the Black Forest, Sir Answer said. Maybe that leaf is one of the ingredients. I'll ask the apothecary again and see if he knows anything else. Once we figure out what the black leaves are, you can rest easy. Sir Answer is clearly worried himself, but he's still trying to comfort me. Aileen nodded. Yes, I understand. I'll go home and come back later. Why are you going back? I'm going to arrange for the servants to start work on the basement and greenhouse. That way, it won't seem strange that I'm staying here, Sir Answer explained. Aileen nodded. Ah, I see. Thank you for thinking of even these details. Compared to what you've done for me, this is nothing. I'll be back soon. Be careful. Watching Sir Answer's retreating figure, Aileen thought, I hope nothing happens to him on the way. After he left, Aileen collapsed into a chair. Sigh. I didn't tell Sir Answer, but there's something else that I find strange. Back then, the poison got on my hands too, but it disappeared without a trace. I never ate the black leaves, and I didn't use any of the medicine. How did I recover? And I didn't get those patterns on my hands like Sir Answer did. I know this sounds crazy, but could it be that I somehow cured him? The next day, I was still worried about Sir Answer's condition, but he hasn't had any problems so far. It seems he's really recovered. That means I can reopen the shop. But where is everyone? Aileen walked to the table and found a letter. Aileen, I'm going to Bayard Street and we'll be back later. Sir Answer. Is he going to see the apothecary? Jasmine must be preparing the drinks. I guess I should hurry and make the desserts. What should I make today? I'll start with simple strawberry shortcakes and scones. Is that chestnut paste I bought at the grocery store still around? Maybe I'll use that to make a Mont Blanc. Make the base with flour mixed with almond flour and put in the oven. While waiting, mix the chestnut paste and cream to make chestnut cream. Buying pre-made paste is really convenient. Making it myself would take forever. Next, pipe the chestnut cream onto the baked base. The Mont Blanc is done. Did I make too much? I'll put the rest in the storage box for later. Aileen glanced at the cupboard. There's no room. Aileen looked towards the window. I'll just leave it by the window for now, right? To prevent it from being eaten by wild animals like last time, I need to close the window properly this time. Having done all this, Aileen turned to other tasks. Soon the shop became busy. Can I get Mont Blanc and a scone? A customer asked. Certainly, Aileen replied. We have a lot of customers today. Excuse me, is our order ready yet? We've been waiting quite a while, a disgruntled voice said. Jasmine must be busy making drinks inside. Aileen quickly apologized. Please wait a moment. Here's your milk tea and strawberry shortcake. Sir Answer placed the order on the table. Here you go. The customers' thanks were cut short as they became captivated by Sir Answer. Their face flushed red. I saw the shop was busy, so I came out to help. Sir Answer explained quietly to Aileen. We'd like to add another order. A customer called out. Certainly, Sir Answer replied. Thank you for helping, Sir Answer. It should slow down in the afternoon. You should rest. After all, you've only just recovered, Aileen said. It's all right, Sir Answer said. I don't feel any pain at all. Could I be completely healed? I hope so. Did you find anything out at Bayard Street? Yes, I saw the apothecary. He said the antidote was indeed brought from the north, but he doesn't know what ingredients were used. He also doesn't know who made it. So it's possible that it does contain leaves from the Black Forest. Yes, it would be great if we could go to the north ourselves, but it's too far. Or I could go to the academy and see if there are any books about that forest, Sir Answer suggested. I've taken leave from the Knight Commander, so I have nothing to do. That would be wonderful. Well, since we're talking about it, I'll go now. I'm sorry I can't go with you. Don't worry, you need to take care of the shop. Thank you for your patronage. Please come again. Finally, the last customer is gone, Jasmine said. Today was so busy, she complained. You worked hard, Aileen said with a smile. Jasmine, if there are no other customers, let's close up for today. Just as she finished speaking, the door burst open. Hello, I'm not too late, am I? Welcome, Miss Fiona. We're still open, Aileen quickly said. Behind her, Jasmine wanted to cry. No early closing today. Mother, it's great. The shop is still open, Fiona exclaimed. Did she bring her mother? Aileen wondered. An elderly woman approached. Fiona introduced her. This is my mother. She rarely comes to Six Downs, and she loves desserts. It's so great that we could stop by before leaving. Hello, the elderly woman smiled. Welcome, Aileen quickly responded. What is that misty thing around her? It looks similar to the aura I saw on Sir Answer's shoulder. I must be hallucinating. It shouldn't be monster poison, Aileen thought. Mother, sit here, Fiona said, leading the elderly woman to a seat. I need to take a closer look. Aileen approached and placed a cup of coffee down. This is a complimentary drink for you both, Aileen said. Oh my, thank you. You're welcome. Please take your time choosing, Aileen said, discreetly glancing at the elderly woman. The mist around her seemed fainter than Sir Answer's, and it wasn't black. It was a deep purple. If it's not monster poison, what could it be? Looking closer, the elderly woman's complexion seemed pale. Could it be a sign of illness? Thinking this, Aileen spoke. Excuse me, I don't mean to intrude, but that your complexion seems a bit pale. Are you feeling unwell? Eileen's words instantly worried Fiona. Mother, she exclaimed. Are you all right? Are you still feeling sick? No, the elderly woman replied. I'm fine today. I've always been in poor health, so perhaps that's why I look pale, the elderly woman explained to Aileen with a smile. I see, Aileen said. When I was younger, I worked at a cosmetics shop making scented powders. I accumulated some toxins in my body during that time, so my health hasn't been good since. The elderly woman continued, so it's poison from the scented powder. The face powder they used to wear had a high concentration of lead. So, for over 100 years, countless noble women suffered from lead poisoning. Because of its harmful effects, it's recently been replaced with other cosmetics. But due to the price, the poor still use lead-based makeup and suffer the side effects. I thought I had recovered quite a bit after all this time, the elderly woman continued. Perhaps it's my age, but I've been feeling very weak lately. Don't say that. You've really recovered a lot, Fiona said. My mother is recuperating in the countryside, where the air is fresh. She rarely comes to the capital, so I wanted her to try all sorts of desserts. Fiona said to Aileen, All right, Aileen replied. I understand. For the remaining desserts, that I'll bring you both one of each kind. Soon, the table was filled with exquisite desserts. Miss Aileen, we're out of Mont Blanc, Jasmine said. There are a few more in the kitchen. I'll go get them. You can bring these to the customers first. Okay. On her way to get the desserts, Aileen pondered their conversation. Based on Fiona and her mother's descriptions, that fog must be caused by lead poisoning. Although I don't know why I'm the only one who can see it, I wish I could purify the toxins from her body like I did for Sir Answer. Oh my, the elderly woman exclaimed. The cakes in the capital are so beautiful. Try it, Fiona urged. The cakes here are not only beautiful, but they taste amazing too. They're so pretty, I almost don't want to eat them. Oh my, this is really delicious. Hearing the elderly woman's praise, Aileen felt a sense of relief. Although it wouldn't help eliminate the toxins in her body, at least she was enjoying the desserts. Aileen looked at the elderly woman in surprise. Although the change was subtle, the fog around her chest was gradually disappearing. Why? I didn't use the black leaves on her, and I didn't see the light like when the poison disappeared before. She hasn't eaten anything but dessert. Could it be because of that? Aileen speculated. Hearing Eileen's words, Sir Answer was surprised. You said you can see the poison in others. Yes. At first, I didn't know what it was. Later, I realized it seemed to be caused by lead poisoning, Aileen replied. What's even more amazing is that while she was eating the dessert, the poison gradually disappeared. Did you use any black leaves when you made those desserts? No, I followed the usual recipe. But I did use chestnut paste from a grocery store when I made the Mont Blanc. Could it be because of that? Aileen wondered. Perhaps it's not the black leaves or the chestnut paste, but something else entirely, Sir Answer speculated. What do you mean? Aileen asked. I checked the library for books about the Black Forest, Sir Answer explained, but I couldn't find anything related to the monster's poison. The apothecary on Bayard Street also said it's impossible to make an antidote using only dried leaves. Perhaps it's your ability that's detoxifying them, Miss Aileen. Jasmine suddenly burst through the door, shouting, Jasmine, what's wrong? Aileen asked. Oh, Sir Answer is here too. I'm sorry to interrupt. Well, Jasmine hesitated. Soon, another figure appeared. How have you been, Aileen? Grand Duke Callus asked. Callus, Your Highness. Aileen quickly stood up and asked, Why are you here? I was just a little worried about you, so I came to check on you. Grand Duke Callus said, glancing at Sir Answer. Sir Answer also stood up, bowing respectfully. Worried, Aileen wondered, could he know about Sir Answer's injury? But I closed the curtains immediately that day. No one should have seen it. Well, Grand Duke Callus began. A distinguished guest said he was coming here today. Hearing this, Aileen hurried to the shop door and pushed it open. She froze. Long time no see, the Emperor said. Please, have some tea, Your Majesty, Jasmine stammered. Jasmine seems really nervous. Aileen watched Jasmine tremble, thinking, with His Majesty's sudden visit, her reaction is understandable. I'm quite nervous myself, and His Majesty said he wanted to speak with me privately. I wonder what it could be. This is truly delicious. The Emperor put down his fork. It's my honor. Aileen quickly replied, You mentioned before that you were quite skilled at baking, correct? I was curious what you would do after leaving the palace. I never imagined you'd open a dessert shop. The Emperor looked around the shop, but seemed to be doing well. That puts my mind at ease. My attendant told me you wanted this. The Emperor gestured behind him. An attendant quickly brought forward a box. It's jasmine flowers. Thank you so much, Your Majesty. Looking at the box overflowing with jasmine flowers, Aileen was a little overwhelmed. But isn't this a bit too much? Accept it, the Emperor said. Consider it a gift from me. Grandfather, Grand Duke Callus approached. This child never shows his face at the palace. He only finally came when he heard I was coming here, the Emperor said. Grand Duke Callus explained, I've been very busy lately, so I haven't had time to visit the palace. I like some tea as well, Aileen. Grand Duke Callus turned to Aileen. You can go over there and have Jasmine prepare some for you, Aileen suggested. But Grand Duke Callus pulled up a chair. I'll have it here. You don't mind, do you? Grandfather, why are you addressing your sister-in-law by her first name? The Emperor seemed displeased with Grand Duke Callus's familiarity. I asked the Grand Duke to call me that. Your Majesty, Aileen quickly explained. After all, I'm no longer married to the Duke of Raymond. A heavy silence fell over the table. Alas, the Emperor sighed. I arranged your marriage because I believed you could be a good empress. I never imagined things would turn out this way. I truly apologize. I'd like to ask you one more time. Would you consider returning to the palace? The Emperor asked. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Aileen gripped the table leg tightly. I've always been grateful for everything Your Majesty has done for our family. I will repay this debt no matter what. But I hope you'll reconsider what you just said. Eileen's tone was incredibly sincere. He is the emperor. If he forces me to go with him, there's nothing I can do. Aileen bit her lip, her heart pounding with anxiety. But I don't want to live that life anymore. The thought of her past life made Eileen's chest tighten. The emperor looked at Aileen, silent for a long moment. This child was always obedient and dutiful. It seems she's truly changed. I really want to bring her back to the palace. But then, Grand Duke Callus suddenly spoke. It's all right, Aileen. Grandfather is a considerate man. If you don't want to, he definitely won't force you, Grand Duke Callus said. The emperor glanced at Grand Duke Callus, thinking, I can't believe my grandson came here to keep an eye on me. Seeing the emperor's silence, Grand Duke Callus pressed, isn't that right? Yes, the emperor conceded. If you don't want to, then there's nothing I can do. I won't bring this up again. And you don't need to consider my support for the Marquis family as a debt. For the past 9 years, you've perfectly fulfilled your duties as the Duchess. Hasn't that been enough? Thank you for saying so, Your Majesty, Aileen said, relieved. Well then, I should be going, the Emperor said, rising to his feet. It was an honor to have you at my shop. Please, take care, Your Majesty. Yes, I hope you'll be happy. The Emperor turned to Grand Duke Callus. Callus, grandfather, could you come outside with me for a moment? What is it, grandfather? Grand Duke Callus asked. You seem to be meeting with Aileen quite often lately, the Emperor said. Since she's made it clear she doesn't want to return to the palace, shouldn't you let her live in peace? Your frequent visits will only fuel unnecessary rumors. Aileen almost lost her life not long ago, Grand Duke Callus said, ignoring the Emperor's question. What? The Emperor exclaimed, shocked. Someone sent assassins after her. If I hadn't been there, she might have been in grave danger, Grand Duke Callus explained. Something like this could happen again. Shouldn't we be cautious? Even though she's divorced, Aileen is still a noble. Who would be so audacious? The Emperor began, then stopped abruptly. Don't tell me you've been keeping an eye on your own brother. That's why, grandfather. I'm just worried about Eileen's safety, Grand Duke Callus said. No matter who it is, if they threaten her safety, I won't tolerate it, even if it's my own brother. The Emperor looked at Grand Duke Callus, understanding dawning. He hadn't expected such resolve from his grandson. Though always intelligent, he'd never shown much interest in power. So, I assumed he wouldn't turn against his own brother. I see you haven't forgotten Aileen. I understand your intentions, but she doesn't seem to have any romantic feelings for you. I don't care, Grand Duke Callus said. I'm not doing this for anything in return. As long as I can help her, I'll continue to protect her. You're the Lord of Royland. You can't stay in the capital forever, the Emperor pointed out. Yes, Grand Duke Callus replied. I'm well aware of that. 9 years ago, in the palace. Sorry, are you still working, Your Highness? Is something the matter? I heard the head chef created a new dessert. I had him bring some here. Let's eat together. Oh my, since you've already ordered it, I'll gladly accept. Aileen replied. I wanted to see Aileen smile. In the palace, she always seemed so lonely and melancholic. So even if it was just me, I wanted to be her support. Back then, just that thought made me happy. But why now does the smile I always longed for cause me so much pain? Grand Duke Callus hesitated, then turned and left without disturbing them. Aileen, who was chatting, glanced out the window. Aileen, what's wrong? I thought I just saw His Highness outside. His Highness. Didn't he just leave with His Majesty? Yes, he did, but I'll go check. You go upstairs and rest, Aileen said, heading outside. Your Highness, Aileen called out. Hearing her voice, Grand Duke Callus froze. Aileen, Grand Duke Callus turned around, forcing a smile. Didn't you just leave? Did you forget something? Aileen asked. No, Grand Duke Callus replied. I just wanted to see you. Then why didn't you come in? Aileen asked, puzzled. I saw you had other guests, so I didn't want to interrupt. Grand Duke Callus explained. Did he see me with Sir Answer? Aileen thought, then explained, oh, Sir Answer is staying with me for a while. He took a vacation to renovate his house and doesn't have a place to stay right now. So I offered him a room. Since this is on the outskirts of the capital, no one should recognize him. I see. You two are close. Yes. We've been friends since childhood. He even delivers my birthday cake every year. As she spoke, Aileen trailed off, noticing Grand Duke Callus's downcast expression. Your Highness, what's wrong? Did something happen with His Majesty? Aileen, Grand Duke Callus said. Sometimes I wonder, what if Aileen and I had grown up together? Childhood sweethearts. What if it was me, not my brother, who was engaged to her? Could I have confessed my feelings then? What if? Grand Duke Callus said. What if? I to you. Grand Duke Callus hesitated. Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted him. It sounds like something happened in the kitchen, Aileen said, starting to run. It could be dangerous. I'll go check. You stay here, Grand Duke Callus said, striding towards the kitchen. No, wait. Aileen started to follow, then changed her mind. I'll come with you. Aileen hid behind Grand Duke Callus. What happened? Sir Answer called out from the doorway. We heard a loud crash. Sir Answer. Aileen peeked out from behind Grand Duke Callus. Your Highness is here too. Sir Answer bowed slightly as he approached. I thought something terrible had happened. No, we heard something break, so we came running, Aileen explained. It seems like this is what broke. Grand Duke Callus bent down and picked up the shards. This was the plate for the Mont Blanc. I left it by the window, Aileen said. Since the window is open, the intruder must have come in this way. I'll go check outside, Sir Answer offered. Thank you, Sir Answer. The kitchen doesn't look disturbed. Aileen, could you check if anything is missing? Grand Duke Callus asked. Aileen looked around. Nothing seems to be missing. Wait a minute. Aileen looked at the broken pieces on the floor. There are only shards of the plate. The Mont Blanc is gone. Just then, Sir Answer returned. There's nothing unusual outside. It's hard to believe someone could disappear so quickly without a trace. Could the window have been opened by an animal, or maybe the wind? No. Aileen shook her head. I'm sure I locked it. Something similar happened before, too. So I double-checked. Wait, you said something similar happened before. Yes, at the time, only the window was open, so I thought I'd forgotten to close it. That intruder probably wasn't just a petty thief. Callus pondered. Besides stealing things, they must have had another motive. Another motive, Aileen murmured. The image of Selena flashed through her mind. Could it be Selena trying to kill me again? Seeing Eileen's anxiety, Callus took her hand reassuringly. Don't worry, Aileen. I'll assign a knight to protect you. You won't be in any danger. And no need. Aileen pulled her hand back. It's all right. I appreciate the offer. And Sir Answer is here for the time being, right? Callus said, with a strong person like the knight commander here. I feel relieved, but just in case, will you accept my offer? Callus asked. I'll have them stay hidden normally. They won't disturb you. Please, Callus leaned down, his tone pleading. Seeing Callus's expectant face, Aileen relented. All right, but you can only send one person. No more than that. Callus quickly agreed. I'll send a knight over tomorrow morning. Then, His Highness Callus returned to the Grand Duke's residence. The next day, he really did send a knight. Hello, my name is Peter. The knight introduced himself. At first, I was very aware of his presence, but he usually didn't show himself, so I gradually got used to it. Just like that, a week passed by unnoticed. It was the day Sir Answer was supposed to go home. Aileen stared at the spot where Sir Answer had been injured for a long time. I've been observing it this whole time. The wound doesn't seem to be showing any signs of reopening. It seems to be truly healed. Aileen said, Sir Answer nodded. I think so too. In the end, we still haven't figured out why the wound healed. I wonder if it really was because of me. Eileen's tone was tinged with sadness. Hearing this, Sir Answer quickly said, What are you talking about, Aileen? I'm fine now, all thanks to you. Whether it was collapsing in the palace last time, or this time, you knew it would be dangerous, but you saved me twice. I've been causing you so much trouble. I'm really sorry. Don't worry about it. We're friends. Aileen comforted him. By the way, have you packed your luggage? I didn't bring much with me in the first place. Sir Answer replied, so I don't really need to pack. That's good. Let's go downstairs. I've troubled you these past few days. Please thank Jasmine for me too. All right, I will. Oh, right. Sir Answer, are you free tomorrow night? Aileen asked. Sir Answer was taken aback for a moment. He quickly replied, yeah. I don't have anything else planned. What's up? I heard the night market opens tomorrow. Didn't we agree to go together before? Shall we go? Aileen said, you still remember. Sir Answer was a little surprised. His face flushed instantly. Of course, Aileen said. How could I forget our promise? If you have time, why don't we go tomorrow? Okay, I'll come pick you up just before the dessert shop closes. And after we get back from the night market, I have something to tell you. The next evening, wow, it's so lively here, Aileen exclaimed. There seem to be a lot more stalls than before, and there are so many exotic items. Yes, it has been 10 years since we were last here. Aileen, do you remember that? Sir Answer pointed at a stall and asked, it's cotton candy. It's so nostalgic. Aileen said, when we were little, we didn't have any money, so we pooled our money together to buy one cotton candy. Sir Answer reminisced. Yes, it was really delicious. That's why we decided back then that when we grew up, we would each eat a whole one by ourselves. Let's buy one each today, Sir Answer suggested. Okay, Aileen nodded. Here you go. Thank you. Aileen took a small bite and savored it. It's been a while. How does it taste? Sir Answer asked. It just tastes like sugar. Aileen said. Haha. Sir Answer chuckled. Well, it is made of sugar. Maybe it tasted better back then because we shared it. Aileen mused. Eileen's words. made Sir Answer's face flush crimson again. They walked up to a shooting game stall. Aileen excitedly pointed at it. Soon, Sir Answer won a prize for Aileen. Aileen hugged the plushie excitedly. I can't believe you hit the bullseye 5 times in a row. You're so amazing. Thanks to you, I got such a big plushie. Thank you, Sir Answer. No, I just got lucky. You're so modest. Let's go take a look over there. Isn't that a charm for a sword? Do you want to buy that? Sir Answer asked. I'll buy it for you. Aileen said, pick one you like. Oh, Sir Answer was a little surprised. You're buying it for me. Of course, Aileen said. You got me a plushie. This is my return gift. Don't feel obligated. Then I'll choose this one. Sir Answer pointed at an item. I'll take this one. All right, that'll be 5 silver coins. I'll take this one too. Could you wrap it separately for me? Certainly. Please wait a moment. Are you getting this as a gift? Sir Answer asked. Aileen replied, I'm planning to give it to Grand Duke Callus. He's helped me a lot recently. I wanted to show my gratitude. It seems you and the Grand Duke are close. He seems to visit your shop often. Well, he's always been approachable. Plus, he's been bored lately, so he's just coming over to hang out. I don't think that's the case. Sir Answer thought to himself. Sir Answer said, but he comes by way too often. Every time I encounter a difficult problem, he's there for me. So I do rely on him quite a bit. Aileen said, I feel at ease when I'm with him. I see. If you have someone like that by your side, I'm relieved. After walking around for a while, Aileen asked, shouldn't we be heading back? I have something to tell you before we go. Sir Answer stopped walking. Aileen looked puzzled. What is it? Aileen asked. Do you remember when I just got back from the Northern Expedition? We made a promise. What promise? When I wanted to clear up the reason for your divorce. Didn't you tell me that if I really wanted to tell the truth, I could wait until you had recovered and were safe? Aileen remembered and quietly said, I only said that to stop him. Thanks to you, I was able to live a normal life. Not only could I stay in the nights, but I could also see you from time to time. Sir Answer continued, but whenever I see you constantly misunderstood, that it really hurts and upsets me. This matter is already. Sir Answer trailed off as Aileen interrupted him. The care and concern you've shown me, that I can't express how grateful I am. Thanks to you, my wounds have healed. So now I want to go to His Majesty and clear up the misunderstanding. Soon, the two returned to the dessert shop. Sir Answer ordered Aileen a cup of coffee. Thank you, Sir Answer said, for treating me to a drink so late. Aileen waved her hand dismissively. It's nothing. Don't mention it. But about what you said earlier. Do you really plan to tell His Majesty the whole truth? Aileen asked. Yes, that's what I should do. In fact, I should have done it sooner. Sir Answer said, clutching his cup. Aileen replied, but it's already in the past. Even if your wounds are healed, you'll definitely be punished for hiding the truth. Moreover, the temple might, because of the pattern on your wound, investigate you. It's all right, Sir Answer said, before I decided to tell the truth, that I was already prepared for the consequences. Sir Answer continued, even if I'm investigated by the temple, it won't affect you. Aileen said agitatedly, you know that's not what I mean. Answer, when I told you to wait until your wounds healed to clear up the truth, I was just saying that casually. I thought that was the only way you would give up. Aileen confessed, I'm happy with my life running this cake shop after the divorce. No one here knows me, so there won't be any gossip about me. I could live like this forever without any problems. Why did you suddenly have this idea? Sir Answer replied, it wasn't a sudden thought. Ever since you were falsely accused, I felt terrible about it. I just feel that since there's a chance to clear your name now, I shouldn't delay any longer. And even if you're happy with your current life, maybe someday you'll meet someone you want to spend your life with. I don't want our past, not to become a burden for you. Aileen responded, you're really overthinking it. I'm busy enough just managing the cake shop. But Aileen, think about it carefully. Sir Answer said, until last year, you never imagined you'd leave the palace and open a cake shop. I hope you won't shut out countless opportunities just because of your current situation. After a moment of silence, Aileen said, I understand what you mean, but I still want to maintain my current life. But as Sir Answer was about to say something more, Aileen interrupted him. And the life I want to maintain includes you, Answer. So, let's just leave it at that. Sir Answer scratched the back of his head. Honestly, Aileen, you're too kind. I'm glad I finally convinced Sir Answer, Aileen thought to herself. I can't believe he's been thinking about that all this time. Because I'm doing well now, I thought Sir Answer was too. I feel a little bad for him. He even said that maybe someday I'll meet someone I want to spend my life with. I used to long for love, but now I'm not so sure. Is it because my last marriage was so awful, and now I can earn a living, so I'm not so fixated on marriage or relationships anymore? What I'm more worried about now is what to put on the menu tomorrow. I haven't even started developing the dessert the Marquis commissioned. I have to find a fruit Grand Duke Callus mentioned at the night market. Speaking of which, I wonder how Grand Duke Callus is doing lately. It's been a week since I last saw him. He must be doing well. The next day, Roy. What a surprise. I never thought you'd come to see me privately. Grand Duke Callus said. Commander Rufflin. Now what brings you here so early in the morning? There's something I must tell you. Sir Answer said. Tell me, what is it? Grand Duke Callus asked. Sir Answer replied. It's about the rumors circulating in the capital. That concerning Aileen. So you're saying that Aileen simply helped you when you were poisoned by a monster, and there's nothing more to it? Grand Duke Callus asked. That's right. Sir Answer nodded. You say your wounds are healed. I heard that poison is very difficult to cure. Grand Duke Callus inquired. I don't know the exact reason. I suspect it might be because of the leaves brought back from the Black Forest. Sir Answer answered. Actually, I think it's because of Eileen's ability, but I shouldn't tell him that. Strange. I've never heard any particular rumors about that forest. Grand Duke Callus murmured. Sir Answer continued. I know it's hard to believe, but everything I've said is true. I understand everything you've told me. Grand Duke Callus said. However, you should know that you'll inevitably be punished once you confess. Aileen hid the truth out of concern for your safety. But as a member of the royal family, I have my own position, especially since you, as commander of the Holy Sword Knights, are supposed to protect the Empire, yet you deceived His Majesty and the Temple. This is definitely not something that can be easily overlooked. I heard you've worked hard to get where you are today. Do you really not care about losing the status and honor you've accumulated over so many years? Grand Duke Callus asked. Yes, Sir Answer replied. I was prepared for this before I came. Please punish me. Does Aileen know about this? Grand Duke Callus asked. She'll be devastated if something happens to you. She knows, Sir Answer answered. But as you suspected, she's been trying to dissuade me. However, even if it goes against Eileen's wishes, I still believe this is the right thing to do for her. Weren't you stationed on the southern battlefield before? Grand Duke Callus continued. Ah, yes. Sir Answer nodded. If what you say is true, then you being sent to the southern battlefield because of the rumors with Aileen. That was also a wrongful punishment. Grand Duke Callus stated. While hiding the truth from the royal family does deserve punishment, your meritorious service on a dangerous battlefield is enough to offset your transgression. Someone who has already received appropriate punishment shouldn't be punished further. So let this matter end here. I've been against the Temple's approach from the beginning. Most of the infected were injured while fighting demonic beasts for the Empire. Treating such people as criminals, that is simply inhumane, and losing a talented individual like you. That would be a great loss. Thank you for your leniency. Sir Answer still felt uneasy. But regarding the rumors about Aileen, Callus said, I've already thought of a solution. You don't need to worry too much. I can guarantee that it won't cause any harm to you or Aileen. Thank you, Your Highness, Sir Answer bowed. Then I'll take my leave, Sir Answer said, turning around. Commander Florian. Callus called out, Why did you choose me? Callus asked if you wanted to confess the truth and receive a suitable punishment, you could have gone directly to His Majesty. Besides, you and I aren't close. I can't guarantee a lenient solution. Then why did you come to me? He pressed. Because. Sir Answer began. Jasmine, are you finished cleaning up the shop? Is there anything I can help with? No, Jasmine replied. I've already cleaned everything. I just need to lock the doors and windows. Good work. Leave the rest to me. You can go back to your room now. Okay, thank you. Just then, the door suddenly opened. Aileen turned and said, I'm sorry, we're closed. It's been a while. Aileen, Callus said. How have you been? Your Highness, Callus. Aileen exclaimed, surprised. It's so late. What brings you here? Aileen hurried forward. I'd like to offer you some tea, Aileen said, but I've already put everything away. It's all right, Callus replied. I waited until after closing time on purpose. What do you mean? Well, if you think about it, we haven't decided on a day to go to the night market yet. I figured you want to get those ingredients soon, so if you don't mind. Thus shall we go to the night market now? Callus asked. Honestly, Aileen said once they arrived at the night market, what would you have done if I had said I was busy? Callus chuckled. I would have made plans with you for another time and come back then. I apologize for not telling you beforehand. Looking at Callus's expression, Aileen thought, he's trying to smooth things over with that look again. The fruit stand seemed to be over there, Callus said. Let's go take a look. Brown fruit. Isn't that spoiled? A vendor asked. Not very sweet fruit. Are you talking about this? Oh, we don't sell that kind of thing. That was the last shop, Aileen said, a little disappointed. They didn't have what I was looking for after all. I'm sorry, Aileen, Callus said, equally disheartened. I thought we'd definitely find it here. It's okay. Aileen quickly waved her hand. I'm grateful you came with me. But you need that fruit, Callus insisted. Aileen looked at Callus, speechless. I thought the fruit was just an excuse, and he actually wanted to visit the night market. I didn't realize he was genuinely worried about me. I'll just substitute with other ingredients, she said. I've already accepted that I might not find that particular fruit, so it's all right. But Callus seemed to want to say something more. Just then, the sound of fireworks echoed through the sky. The fireworks display seems to have started. Let's find a place with a better view, people around them murmured. Your Highness, Eileen said, since we're already here, shall we watch the fireworks? I've only ever seen fireworks from the palace before, Eileen remarked. They're even more beautiful out here. She gazed at the fireworks, a look of pure joy on her face. Yes, Callus agreed, watching Eileen. They're truly beautiful. By the way, Your Highness, I have something for you. For me, yes. You've helped me so much, so I wanted to show my gratitude. It's nothing expensive, but this is a gift for you. Eileen handed Callus a small box. Callus accepted the box. Cufflinks, Callus observed. I chose a pair I thought were quite nice, Eileen explained, but I wasn't sure if you'd like them. I love them. Callus said, this is the first gift you've given me. Thank you. I'll treasure them. Good, Eileen replied, thinking, I can't believe he's so happy. He often smiles, but he's actually a difficult person to read. This is the first time I've seen him show such a genuine expression. Speaking of which, he also had a rare look of nervousness last time. He seemed to have something important to say then. Your Highness, Eileen began, the day His Majesty came to my shop. That you seemed to have something you wanted to tell me, but you were interrupted. What was it you wanted to say? 1 week earlier, in Roy's Grand Duke's office, Peter, starting tomorrow, I want you to guard Eileen 24 hours a day. Protect her, but don't make her feel uncomfortable. Try to stay hidden. Yes, Your Highness. Callus sat there looking dejected. I almost confessed to him. Even if I had said something, it would have only troubled him. What I said before, about being content just seeing Eileen smile, was a lie. I've wished countless times that her smile could belong only to me. Because the person Eileen trusts most right now is you. Callus recalled Sir Answer's words. Hearing that, I was happy, but her feelings for me are probably different from my feelings for her. It wasn't anything important, Callus said. Just forget about it. He thought, I still can't tell her how I feel. But Eileen started, only to be interrupted by the fireworks again. This one looks like it's going to be big. Callus commented. The atmosphere was so serious back then. He doesn't want to bring it up again. Can I? Eileen wondered, even though I really want to know what he wanted to say. But I have a feeling that if I keep pressing, it'll ruin everything between us. So I can't ask. It seems to be over. Shall we head back? Okay. The little girl from before spotted Eileen and exclaimed excitedly, it's the cake shop lady. You're from a fruit stand. Eileen recognized her. Hello, miss. The little girl greeted politely. Hello there. Callus bent down to greet her. Ashido. Watching the little girl blush, Eileen thought, his good looks really are universally appealing. Are you here at the night market? Where's your older sister? Eileen asked. Oh, she went to buy juice over there. The little girl pointed to a nearby stall. Sister, over here. She waved enthusiastically. Eileen, didn't I tell you to wait for me? Sorry. I found it, Eileen, Callus said. Found what? Eileen asked, puzzled. The southern fruit the Countess mentioned. Callus asked, where is it? Eileen was a little excited. Look at what those two children are holding, Callus said. That's it. On Countess Florence's birthday. Can we just take these boxes away? Yes, it's best to refrigerate them. Understood, Miss Eileen. Let me show you inside. A maid stepped forward and said, please come in, Miss Eileen. I've been waiting for you, the Countess said. Hello, Countess. Did you have a good trip? Thanks to you, I had a wonderful time. Thank you. Please come this way. I'll introduce you to the others. Eileen looked around. Rather than a party at a noble's mansion, this felt more like a birthday party hosted by a close-knit family. I was worried that the exotic desserts might not be well received, but the atmosphere here is so harmonious, there shouldn't be any problems. I heard that woman brought her own homemade desserts. A discordant voice rang out. Even though she was the Duchess, she's now selling cakes everywhere. I thought I heard a familiar voice. Eileen looked towards the source of the sound. It seems Lady Blaine received an invitation as well. Oh, Miss Eileen, let me show you around, the Countess quickly said. I'm so sorry. The Countess apologized. According to the family tree, she's my husband's great-aunt. She's never attended my birthday parties before, but she suddenly came this year. She must be here to cause trouble for me, Eileen thought, but she shook her head repeatedly. I'm fine, madam. You don't have to worry about it. By the way, is it time for dessert yet? Eileen asked warmly. Thank you all for coming to my birthday party, the Countess announced. For today, I specifically asked Miss Eileen to make a special dessert. I'm also very curious about what kind of dessert Miss Eileen has brought. Then let's have it brought in quickly. Oh my, someone exclaimed. Pudding. Eileen handed a serving to the Countess. Madam, please try it. Thank you. The Countess was instantly captivated. It has the fragrance of jasmine. The soft and light cream enrobes a sweet and bouncy jelly. Yes, this is the taste. It's exactly the same as the taste I remember. Countess, you're amazing. I couldn't find that ingredient no matter how hard I looked. The Countess asked excitedly. What is this cream made of? I guess you'd be curious. So I brought the ingredient with me, Eileen said. The raw material for this cream is this fruit called coconut. You made cream from such a hard-looking fruit. That's right, Eileen explained. Although the coconut has a hard shell, inside, it has uniquely flavored juice and soft flesh. You can use it to make drinks or extract the juice from the flesh to make cookies. Besides cooking the flesh into a cream and using it on pudding like this, you can also use it to make cakes. Oh my, it's so beautiful. Another gasp arose from the crowd. Yes, it really is beautiful, and it looks like the ocean. The Countess's thoughts drifted back to her carefree childhood. What do you think, madam? Eileen asked. I thought it would be a shame for a birthday party to not have a cake, so I prepared one. Are you satisfied? Yes, this cake is truly beautiful, Miss Eileen. The Countess said, wiping tears from the corners of her eyes. Thank you for bringing back my childhood memories. I'm so glad I can make you happy, Eileen said. Cream made from fruit. The flavor is so unique. You said this is a southern fruit. Can't you buy it within the empire? About that. What's southern fruit? I really don't understand. The discordant voice rang out again. Altun is our enemy. Lady Blaine said, it's inappropriate to intentionally make and eat food from that place. That's rather questionable. That's strange. You say this is Altun food. Aileen retorted fearlessly. Then how do you know? Have you been to that country? The one who's been to Altun should be the Countess, right? Lady Blaine asked. As far as I know, she personally commissioned you to recreate the desserts she used to eat there. I heard the Countess was born into a noble family in the south. Are you referring to Altun? The Countess was speechless. At this point, the crowd began to murmur. Although it wasn't forbidden for imperial citizens to marry foreign nobles, being discovered to be from an enemy nation was certainly not a good thing. She's definitely asking knowingly. Aileen saw through Lady Blaine's intentions. I can't just watch the party be ruined. So Aileen spoke up. You seem to have misunderstood. Misunderstood? Lady Blaine asked, hands on her hips. Yes, Aileen said. The Countess did indeed order desserts made with this cream for me. But coconut isn't a fruit from the Alton Kingdom. What? Lady Blaine exclaimed. This fruit can only be imported from an exotic country located across the sea south of Altun. The desserts I made are also from that region. You seem to have mistaken the culture that spread from that exotic country for Altun's native culture. I hope you'll do your research before speaking. Moreover, this is a celebration for the Countess's birthday. And yet you're here, giving her a hard time with baseless accusations. I don't think you're qualified to be here. As Aileen finished speaking, silence fell over the room. That's right, someone murmured. If she wanted to say those things, why come to the party at all? The atmosphere was so nice. Honestly, she's just being disruptive. Lady Blaine, hearing these comments, clench her fists and turn around, saying loudly, humph, I didn't want to attend this ridiculous party anyway. Aileen watched the door slam shut and sighed. That woman is so arrogant to the very end. Miss Aileen, thank you, the Countess said. You're welcome. I was just stating the facts, Aileen replied. I know she's not happy with me, the Countess said awkwardly, but I didn't expect her to be so rude. I think she was probably targeting me more than the Countess. I feel inexplicably guilty, Aileen thought. Don't worry about it, dear. She's always been like this. She often criticizes me for being from a rural noble family. An elderly man approached and said, Mother, Countess Florence cried. What are you doing here? How is this possible? Aileen thought, her hand going to her chest. There's that shadow I saw before. Miss Aileen, this is my mother-in-law, the Countess Dowager, Countess Florence introduced. The elderly woman smiled warmly. Miss Aileen, it's a pleasure to meet you. I am Lachlan Florence. The pleasure is all mine, Countess Dowager. Aileen curtsied. It seems I wasn't mistaken. That deep purple shadow, that is exactly the same as the one I saw on Miss Fiona's mother. Mother, are you sure you should be out here? Countess Florence asked with concern. This short distance is fine, Lachlan said. I wanted to try this rare and delicious dessert. If you don't mind my asking, Countess Dowager, are you unwell? Ah, yes. I have been for quite some time. You've heard of powder poisoning haven't you? Lachlan asked. The doctors say it's because I used scented powders for so long. So the lead has accumulated in my body. Even the symptoms match lead poisoning. Aileen pressed her lips together. That shadow, it really is because of the toxins. Let's put a stop to this somber topic, Lachlan said. I hear you made a special dessert for my daughter-in-law. Yes, Aileen replied. It's a pudding and cake made with a fruit called coconut. It's almost too beautiful to eat, Lachlan said, picking up a piece of pudding. Goodness, Lachlan exclaimed after a bite. I've never tasted anything like this. It's delicious. At the same time, the shadow on her chest began to dissipate. After eating the dessert, the shadow faded. Aileen was stunned by this phenomenon. I feel so much healthier, Lachlan commented. Could I really have the ability to purify toxins? Aileen stared at her hands. I definitely didn't have this ability from the beginning. On the way back, Aileen continued to ponder this. And I've only been able to see the toxins since that day. Could it be because of the black leaves? Or the monster's poison? My head hurts. I thought I heard something in the kitchen earlier. Was I mistaken? If there was something in the kitchen, Peter should have noticed. Aileen quietly made her way towards the kitchen. There really is someone there. Aileen quickly spotted a figure. Wait, that build. Is it a child? Aren't those the scones I left by the window? So this child has been sneaking in and eating the desserts all along. Lost in thought, Aileen accidentally made a noise. The child startled at the sound. Wait, Aileen called out, trying to stop the child. I don't want to hurt you. Don't run. Focused on chasing the child, Aileen didn't notice the way the space around her distorted. After chasing the child for a while, Aileen stopped. She seemed to be deep in the forest. Where did that child go? Why is their house here? Does the child live here? But this doesn't look like a place a child would live. Confused, Aileen entered the house. She found a child collapsed on the floor. Little one, are you all right? Aileen picked up the child and asked, child, what are you saying? Hungry, the child mumbled. Looking around, Aileen saw the room was bare. The child looked very thin. Is this why the child kept coming to my house? Because there's no food. Aileen felt a pang of sympathy. Wait here. I'll get you something to eat. Aileen placed the child on the bed and gently covered them with a blanket. Aileen quickly returned with an armful of food. Here, try this. It's nothing strange, just some soup, Aileen explained. Reassured, the child began to eat. So cute. Eileen's heart melted. But what's your name? Why are you living here all alone? She asked gently. The child remained silent. Well, my name is Aileen, Aileen offered. Aileen, the child repeated in a small voice. Aileen nodded. That's right. Can you tell me your name? Aileen asked. The child threw back the covers and jumped down. My name is Brownie. I'm a forest sprite. A sprite. Aileen gasped. When I was little, I heard a legend about brownies. If you leave cookies or milk by the window before bed, the forest sprites will take them. In return, they'll clean the kitchen before leaving. I always thought Mother made that story up. So, can you use magic? Aileen asked. Brownie nodded and showed Aileen a small display of magic. This is a gift for you, Brownie said. That's amazing. Aileen marveled at the flower in her hand. Although the Empire has magically imbued items, the magic is more like magic stone processing technology. I heard there's no one left who can use magic directly. I can't believe I'm seeing a sprite's magic with my own eyes. But no one leaves cookies for me anymore, Brownie said sadly. Humans don't like me cleaning for them. That's not true, Aileen said. It's not that they don't like you. It's just that the way people live now is different from the past. Different? Brownie asked. Yes. Before, people used to leave desserts by the window to cool because there wasn't a good place to store them. But now, we have preservation boxes that use magic stones to keep food cold. And in this country, there aren't any people who can use magic anymore, Aileen explained. So, no one knows you exist. So I won't be able to eat cookies anymore. Brownie asked. Don't worry, Aileen said. I'll leave desserts by the window at night. You can come to my house to eat. Really? Brownie asked excitedly. Of course, Aileen replied. Brownie, I like you very much. Brownie hugged Aileen. Your food is special. It makes me feel strong. Oh my, is that so? Thank you, Aileen said. I didn't put anything special in it. Yes, you did, Brownie said, holding Eileen's hand. Your cookies have a lot of magic. That's why I like them so much. Miss Aileen, where have you been? Peter asked. I saw you enter the forest and followed you immediately. But no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find you. I was really worried. Are you all right? I'm sorry I worried you, Aileen said. I thought I saw an injured cat, so I followed it into the forest. It's so big, I must have gotten lost. I'm fine, though. It wasn't a cat I saw, but a sprite. But even if I told the truth, it would be hard for him to believe, Aileen thought. So she asked, by the way, have you seen a child around here? Aileen asked Peter. No, Peter replied. Just in case, I patrolled the entire area. There's no sign of anyone coming or going. I see. Aileen nodded. Only those with magic can see me. Other humans can't. Aileen remembered what Brownie had said earlier. I thought the magical ability I gained was because of the black leaf or the monster's poison. Could it be that I've always had some special power? Aileen felt even more confused. Miss Aileen, Peter said, it's getting late. You should head back. Oh, all right. Aileen nodded. Could my parents be like this too? I'll have to ask around when I have time, Aileen thought. The desserts to be sold tomorrow morning are all ready. I should wash the dishes now. Just as she thought this, a knock came at the door. Aileen opened the door and saw Brownie standing there holding a flower. What brings you here at this hour? Aileen asked. I missed you, so I came to play, Brownie replied. This is a present for you. I'm afraid I can't play with you right now, Aileen said apologetically, accepting the flower. Thank you for the flower. Huh, why? Brownie asked. Because I have to work at the shop during the day, Aileen explained. I have to make desserts and wash all the dishes. I can help you with that, Brownie said, running inside. What? Aileen was taken aback. Brownie twirled a finger, and the dishes in the sink began to float, the grime disappearing. Aileen stared at the airborne dishes. Oh, right, I almost forgot. Brownie said they were a cleaning sprite. Did I help? Brownie asked excitedly. Of course, Aileen smiled. Thank you so much for your help. I could do even more amazing things than this, Brownie said proudly. Just then, Jasmine burst through the door. Miss Aileen, something terrible has happened. Jasmine, what is it? Aileen asked, instinctively shielding Brownie behind her. Excuse me, she whispered. Brownie, could you come back when no one's around? Well, Aileen said, the shop hasn't even been open for an hour, and we've already sold out of all the desserts. Hearing this, Aileen quickly started making more. Jasmine, all right, take these out. Okay, excuse me, how much longer will I have to wait? A customer asked impatiently. Coming. The midnight cake is ready. I'll bring it right out to you, Jasmine quickly replied. I'll take 2 muffins, a slice of pie, and that cake you just brought out. Pack them all up, please. All right, I'll pack them up for you right away. That's strange. Today, there are a lot more customers asking for takeout and ordering multiple cakes at once, Jasmine thought as she packed. Is there some kind of event going on outside? I've been so busy making cakes. The kitchen is a complete mess. Aileen sighed. I'll wash the dishes before the next rush starts. Miss Aileen, Jasmine called again. We're sold out of desserts again. What? Aileen was astonished. So fast. How is business so good today? Aileen was puzzled. Jasmine, all right, finally a moment to breathe. Aileen had just taken a breath when Jasmine poked her head in again. Miss Aileen, we're not sold out again already, are we? Aileen asked. Then, after a moment of thought, Jasmine, let's apologize to the remaining customers. We'll have to close up shop for the day. Huh, are you sure about that? We've used up all our ingredients. Even if I want to make more, I couldn't, Aileen said. I'm sorry, everyone, but we've run out of ingredients. We'll have to close for the day, Aileen announced. Long time no see, owner. Eileen's heart skipped a beat. This was the inspector who had visited the shop before. We've received a complaint about unsanitary conditions in your shop, the inspector said. So we're here for surprise inspection. A complaint about unsanitary conditions. Aileen asked. Yes, and it's not the only one, another inspector said. According to the report, there were also issues during the last inspection, coupled with the multiple complaints we've received. That will decide whether to suspend your business license based on the results of today's inspection. What? I don't even get a chance to explain myself. Aileen was frustrated with her methods. The inspector interrupted her. If your shop is in order, there's nothing to worry about. What? Are you afraid to let us see the kitchen? The inspector smirked. No wonder there were so many customers today. It all clicked for Aileen. It was all this man's scheme. If they saw the messy state of the kitchen, the shop would definitely be shut down. Is the kitchen separate from the shop? What an unusual layout, the other inspector remarked. Yes, because the shop itself is quite small, Aileen explained. If you could just give me a little time, I could tidy up the kitchen. Suddenly, there was a rustling in the bushes. Brownie, he's still around. If I could just get him to help clean up, Aileen thought. But the next second, Dottie was gone. Was it because other people were here? Just in case. Even though I prepared in advance. That if they see the messy kitchen, there will be no room for negotiation. It's this way, Aileen said. No, it's... The other inspector was stunned by what he saw. What a clean kitchen, he exclaimed. This is impossible. The inspector looked around wildly. What's going on here? Aileen was just as confused. Then, Brownie's voice rang out. Aileen, did I do a good job? Brownie asked. Yes, thank you so much, Aileen whispered. So Brownie cleaned it for me. I've never seen such a spotless kitchen. The other inspector marveled. The food looks fine too. I retract my statement about suspending your license. Wait a minute, the inspector shouted. Maybe it's just clean today. If we inspect on a different day. There's no need for that, Aileen said, because our shop passed a health inspection just last week. Please take a look, Aileen said, handing a report to another inspector. Isn't this an inspection report from the Central Authority? Yes, Aileen nodded. If I've already been inspected by a higher authority, they can't find fault with me. So I specifically asked Countess Dowager Florence to pull some strings. Indeed, this establishment has no issues. Please assure me that if something like this happens again, you will give me a chance to explain before issuing any unreasonable penalties, Aileen said. Understood. Madam, we apologize. We inadvertently caused you trouble. There seems to be a problem with the reporting system. I will launch a detailed investigation, and the responsible parties will be penalized. After the inspectors left, Aileen prepared a table of sweets for Brownie. Can I really eat all of this? Brownie asked. Yes, these are all for you. Thank you so much for today, Aileen said. Just then, another knock came at the door. Who could be here at this hour? Aileen wondered. Brownie, she said. I'll be right back. Aileen opened the door to find Grand Duke Callus. Your Highness, Grand Duke Callus. What brings you here? Aileen was surprised. I was just passing by and thought I'd stop in, Callus explained. Nothing unpleasant happened today, did it? He asked. Just a normal day, Aileen replied. I don't need to tell him about what happened, right? It's all over now. Please come in. I'll make you some tea. Don't bother. I just came to check on you. But now that you're here, Aileen said. At that moment, Brownie tugged on Aileen's skirt and whispered, Aileen. Brownie. Aileen looked down at the small figure. What do I do? I can't respond to him. This person is strange, Brownie said. Does he not like Grand Duke Callus? Aileen was puzzled. For some reason, he gives me a very uncomfortable feeling, Brownie said. What do you mean? Aileen was even more confused. Can sprites sense things that ordinary people can't? Just then, a frantic knocking came from the door. Hello, is anyone there? Please help me. My sister is in danger, Sharon cried. Aileen opened the door. Oh my, it's you. What's wrong? What happened? Am I? Sharon stammered tearfully. My sister suddenly collapsed. She's been complaining about a stomachache, but the clinic is closed. The shop owner and his wife are out too. You were the only ones I could think of. Poor thing. It seems they have no adults to rely on. Aileen felt a pang of sympathy. All right, I'll help you. Your Highness, Grand Duke Callus. It looks like I need to take her sister to the doctor. Could I borrow your carriage? Aileen asked. Why not bring them directly to my estate? Callus suggested. My doctor can examine her sister. That will be faster. Aileen hesitated. But I'm not sure if your Highness's personal physician can just treat anyone. One moment, I'll call for my attendants. Thank you so much. Don't worry, Sharon, Aileen reassured her. We'll be at your house soon once we're in the carriage. As she spoke, Aileen suddenly froze. I didn't notice it before, but this child has a toxic aura. Once they were in the carriage, Aileen asked, when did your sister start feeling unwell? Sharon carefully counted on her fingers. About 5 months ago. That long. Do you feel unwell yourself? Aileen continued to ask. No, I'm fine, Sharon replied. She's clearly poisoned, but she doesn't feel any discomfort. Could it be a slow-acting poison? Or perhaps there's something harmful in the food they eat or the water they drink. Over here, Sharon said. They live in a place like this. Aileen looked at their surroundings and felt even more sympathy for them. Sister, are you okay? Sharon called out. Did the lady from the cake shop come to help? Sharon said. Cake shop. Jana's voice was very weak. Hello, Yana. Jana forced herself to sit up. Hello, Yana. Are you feeling any better? Aileen asked. Sharon told me everything before I came. I want to take you to the doctor. Can you get up? Yes. Jana pulled back the covers. Just as I thought, Aileen realized. She has the same red shadow as Sharon. Ouch! Jana cried out in pain as she shifted, clutching her stomach. Are you all right? Aileen rushed forward. Why, yes, I'm fine, Jana said, her voice trembling. She looked to be in considerable pain. Just in case, I brought some homemade sweets, but in her current state, she probably can't eat anything. Aileen frowned. She seems to be having trouble even standing up, Callus said. Then I'll have to try this. Callus lifted Jana into his arms. I'll carry her to the carriage. Oh, all right. I'll gather their belongings and be right there, Aileen said. He usually calls for his attendants in situations like this, but this time he's carrying the child himself. Aileen watched Callus's back, thinking he's so kind and gentle. Why would Brownie say those things? Sharon hesitated before speaking. Thank you for helping my sister, Sharon said. I haven't done anything. Save your thanks for Grand Duke Callus, Aileen patted Sharen's head. However, could you take me to your kitchen? I want to check if there's anything dangerous in the food you've been eating. Oh, okay. At first glance, everything looked like ordinary ingredients. Aileen looked around the kitchen at the food. Sharen, is there anything you started eating about 6 months ago? Aileen asked. Sharen shook her head. No. What about the shop owner and his wife? Have they been sick? Aileen continued to ask. No, only my sister is sick. If everyone ate the same food, logically the shop owners should also be poisoned. Aileen frowned in thought, but there's no way to confirm it immediately. Could they have eaten something bad outside? Just then, Aileen noticed a jar. Sugar. Are these your sweets? Aileen picked up the sugar jar and asked. Yes, they're fruit candies. They're not from the shop. The shop owner makes them especially for my sister and me, Sharen explained. We've been eating this for a long time, so there shouldn't be any problem. And this candy is delicious. Aileen opened the lid of the jar. It's candy that only the two sisters eat. Something feels off. Aileen reached in to take a piece and examine it. The moment her fingers touched the candy, Aileen felt a sharp sting. Her tiara fell to the floor. Are you all right? Sharen asked urgently. What was that just now? Aileen stared blankly at her palm. Although the pain wasn't as severe as when Ains was poisoned, it felt the same as when I touched monster venom before. Could this candy be the reason the sisters were poisoned? Aileen looked at the candy on the floor, speculating. At the royal palace. The family doctor carefully examined Jana. How is Jana's condition? Aileen asked. Well, the patient is certainly weak, but there are no obvious abnormalities, the family doctor said. To determine the exact cause, further examination is needed. Could it be poisoning? Aileen asked. The family doctor thought for a moment. Poisoning? He said, she doesn't seem to have any symptoms of poisoning. Did she eat anything dangerous? I'm not entirely sure, but Aileen rummaged in her pocket. I think there might be something harmful in the candy they often eat. Could you please examine it? Certainly. The family doctor took the candy. After carefully examining it, he said, is there something wrong with this candy? Aileen asked. Yes, the family doctor replied. It seems to contain fruit pit toxin. You can see it, can't you? The color inside is different from the outside. Apricot, cherry, and peach pits naturally contain small amounts of toxins. Consuming a small amount won't cause much harm. But for a child like the patient, long-term intake of concentrated fruit pit toxins can gradually damage the internal organs. Continued ingestion over a long period is dangerous. Sharen said this candy was made by the shopkeeper. Could it be? A bad thought crossed Eileen's mind. Upon examination, the patient has indeed accumulated a large amount of toxic substances. The cause is the candy you mentioned, the family doctor confirmed. Fortunately, it was discovered in time. With continued treatment, she should recover quickly. Her sister also ate the same candy. Please treat her sister as well, Aileen requested. Certainly, I understand. The family doctor nodded. Thankfully, both sisters will recover soon. I'll keep them here at the mansion and take good care of them during this time. You don't have to worry too much, Callus said. All right, Aileen replied. By the way, how did you know they were poisoned? Even the doctor didn't notice it at first, Callus inquired. Because. Aileen hesitated. If I say I have a special ability, he'll definitely find it strange. What excuse should I make? Seeing that Aileen remained silent, Callus said, Aileen, it's all right if you don't want to talk about it. Callus continued, but I want you to remember that when you need help, don't forget that I'm here for you. I'll always be your strong support. Strong support. Aileen clenched her hands. Ever since we reunited, Your Highness Callus has always been like this. He seems so carefree when he's close. But whenever I hesitate, he waits for me. He's always been considerate of my feelings. He probably won't cross the line on his own in the future, right? But what about me? Am I truly content with keeping this distance between us? Your Highness Callus, Aileen began, I have something I want to tell you. I know it might be hard to believe, but would you be willing to listen? Aileen asked, wanting to be closer to him. Actually, the toxins inside people's bodies appear as shadows before my eyes. Because I saw shadows of toxins on the children, I suspected they might be poisoned, Aileen explained. Have you always had this ability? Callus asked. No, it appeared recently, Aileen replied. Besides seeing toxins, I also seem to have the ability to detoxify. If someone who's poisoned eats the sweets I make, the poison gradually disappears. So, Commander Raeflin's poison was also cured by your ability. How did you know? He came to me, wanting to clear up the rumors about you. That's when I heard he was poisoned by monster venom, Callus explained. He said he didn't know how his injury was healed. It seems he was worried that revealing your ability would cause you trouble. I see. That's why. Aileen trailed off. Do you believe what Ain't and I said? It's such an absurd story, Aileen asked. Yes, Callus replied firmly. Because you have no reason to lie to me. That's true, but, Aileen said, back at the Imperial Palace, no one believed me at all. Aileen recalled those unpleasant memories. Having someone believe and support me. Having Your Highness Callus by my side. It makes me feel so much more secure. Speaking of which, do you know who made the candy the children ate? Callus asked. Why are you suddenly asking about that? Aileen was puzzled. Callus explained, I didn't say it clearly earlier because the children were present, but it's rare for someone to grind fruit pits and make them into candy. Whoever made the candy must have known it was dangerous. I hope this is just my conjecture, but I have a feeling. You mean to say that the person who made the candy, Aileen interjected, might have intentionally poisoned it to harm the children? Although I'm suspicious, there's no concrete evidence, Callus said. For now, we just need to make sure the children don't eat that candy anymore. So, we just need to prove that the person intentionally gave the candy to the children, right? I have a good idea, Aileen declared. 1 week later, at the royal palace. Aileen, I'm a little worried. Are you sure you can do this alone? Callus asked. I'll be nearby. If you feel like you're in danger, just call me. What's wrong? Seeing Aileen staring at him, Callus asked, didn't you say before that my worrying about you makes you happy? Aileen said, I think I understand that feeling now. Thank you for worrying about me. I'll be back soon. May I ask why you wanted to see us? Are you Jana and Sharen's guardians? Aileen explained, the children came to me for help because they were sick. They're currently receiving treatment here. Why would they do something so useless? No. I mean, how could they possibly know someone who lives in a place like this? The shopkeeper became agitated. Aileen continued to explain, I'm the owner of a sweet shop in the city. I met the sisters through business related to my shop. The Grand Duke just happened to be helping out. After hearing Aileen's explanation, the shopkeeper suddenly asked angrily, What? You're sweet shop owner. I thought they had committed some grave offense in front of Noble. The shopkeeper's complaining mutter made things clear to Aileen. After realizing I'm not the owner of this place, his attitude immediately changed. I understand now. You're trying to extort a large sum of money from us for their treatment, aren't you? Those 2 children were perfectly healthy just a while ago. How could they suddenly get sick? I don't have any money to give you. Not a penny. Aileen said. After all, you've already spent all the inheritance left for the 2 children. So of course you don't have any money. What are you talking about? Having been caught red-handed, the shopkeeper's attitude immediately weakened. I've already investigated everything, Aileen stated. I went to the government office and checked Jana's property records. I found out that her parents left an inheritance before they passed away. That money was supposed to be managed by you two, their guardians. This document clearly records the evidence of you squandering the children's inheritance. How do I know if this document is real or fake? Only the legal guardian should have the right to view the property records, right? The shopkeeper said, pointing at Aileen. Exactly, Aileen explained. That's why I took the candy you made to the security force. I told them that this could be a property-related case, and they allowed me to access the records. After all, the Empire is particularly strict about these kinds of intentional crimes. Eileen's words made the shopkeeper uneasy. You must have started to panic as the children grew older. Aileen continued, because even if they aren't adults, they can exercise their property rights once they turn 15. And Jana is about to turn 15. Checkmate. You didn't want to be punished for embezzlement, so you try to get rid of them secretly. The shopkeeper continued to be stubborn. Do you have any proof? No matter what, everything you've said is just speculation. I did use the inheritance, but it was with Jana's consent, and it was all spent on the 2 children. And you seem to suspect that I poisoned the candy, but I didn't know anything about that. If I knew the candy was poisonous, I wouldn't have given it to them. It seems you finally revealed your true nature, Aileen said. I only said I took the candy to the security force. I never said it was poisonous. How did you know? B, because you said I gave them dangerous candy. So, I guessed it might be poisonous, the shopkeeper stammered. Aileen ignored him and continued. And if you want to claim that you used the money with Jana's consent, then let's hear from the person involved. That will be more fair. Why are you here? The The shopkeeper panicked when he saw Jana. When I heard Miss Aileen say that, I thought there must be some misunderstanding, Janice said. You never mentioned anything to us about the inheritance my parents left. You always made us work to repay the money you spent on us. That's why Sharon, at such a young age, had to go out and help with deliveries. How would you do this to us? Yana demanded. Child, I'm sorry, the shopkeeper's wife said, clutching Jana's hand tightly. I was against it from the beginning, but he insisted on doing it. I had no choice. What are you talking about? The shopkeeper didn't expect his wife to say such things. I've always treated you like my own daughters. Not only did I provide you with food, but I also gave you a place to sleep. The shopkeeper's wife continued. Please forgive me just this once. Please let go of me. Jana pulled her hand away. Aileen was furious at their feigned remorse. They had the nerve to say such things after providing only meager meals and a shabby room. Not only did they embezzle the sisters' inheritance, but they also made them work in the shop. Jana, Aileen called out. The security force is waiting outside. What do you want to do? Aileen gave the decision to Jana. As he was being taken away by the security force, the shopkeeper was still shifting the blame. It's that woman. She put the children up to this. Jana, Aileen called out. Miss Aileen, Jana replied. Thank you so much, Jana said, for doing so much for us. You're welcome, Aileen replied. I'm glad you're both all right, but what are you going to do now? Aileen asked. Due to the complicated procedures, it will probably take a long time for them to return your inheritance. I want to find a job that provides food and lodging, Janice said. I just don't know if anyone will be willing to take me and my sister in. If you have nowhere else to go, would you like to stay at my house? Aileen asked after a moment of thought. What? Jana was surprised. Aileen explained, I happen to have extra rooms. As long as you don't mind, you can stay until you find a new place. But Jana hesitated. But we don't have any money to give you. What are you talking about? Don't worry about the money. Aileen said, if you want to repay me, you can do so after you become an adult. When that time comes, if you meet children in difficulty like you are now, just lend a helping hand like I did. Thank you, Miss Aileen, Janice said, hugging Aileen. Actually, I was very worried and scared. Yes, it must have been very difficult for you, Aileen said, patting Jana's head. It's all right now. Late at night, Selena, in disguise, arrived at a residence. The person who greeted her said excitedly, I've been waiting for you. Where's the thing I asked for? I just finished it. Come and have a look. This is a deadly poison that can kill with a small dose. I made it according to your request. This poison is not only colorless and odorless, but it can't be detected by silver needles or holy power. Plus, it looks exactly like water. It will never be discovered. Are you sure there won't be any problems this time? The sleeping draft last time didn't have any effect. Selena asked, still somewhat uneasy. This time, I've already tested on animals. There won't be any problems. The person quickly replied. You better be responsible for those words, Selena said. Here, this is your payment as promised. Take this money and leave the empire immediately. Don't worry, I'll do as you say. Thank you, milady. Please go slowly. Have you finished your business? The Eiran who had been waiting for Selena asked. Yes, Selena nodded. Eliminate that person, then burn this place to the ground. Don't leave any trace behind, Selena ordered coldly. The next day, Your Highness, Selena said, walking towards Raymond. So you were here. I've been looking for you everywhere. I heard that His Majesty the Emperor still hasn't approved your request for an audience. Selena's words irritated Raymond. Shut up. It's none of your business. But I want to help you, Selena said. Actually, I have a way to make His Majesty look at you differently. Raymond looked at Selena without speaking. I initially kept her by my side because she was obedient and beautiful. But recently, she's been so annoying. However, if I lose her, I won't be able to continue receiving financial support from the Brainer family. I need to keep her around until I ascend to the throne. What's your idea? Raymond asked. Isn't the Holy Spirit Festival coming up soon? Selena said. You can tell His Majesty that you want to be in charge of hosting the event. You mean you want me to prepare the temple activities? Raymond asked. No, Selena shook her head. I'll take care of all the preparations. If things go well, His Majesty will surely calm down. And since this is a large-scale event held at the Grand Temple, it will also highlight your achievements. By then, if you mention to His Majesty that I played the role of a virtuous consort, my image should also improve. Selena's proposal made Raymond ponder for a moment. All the royals have to attend the Holy Spirit Festival, so Callus will definitely be there too. If I can take this opportunity to solidify my position, maybe that old man will really choose me as the crown prince. That's indeed a good idea, Raymond said. I'll talk to His Majesty tomorrow. Thank you, Selena said. Your Highness, I will definitely prepare wholeheartedly. Selena curled her lips. I promise I won't let you down. Miss Aileen, Jana called out. The shop is all tidied up. Thank you for your hard work, Jana. Let's go back and have dinner. After Jana and Sharin decided to stay at my house, Jana expressed her desire to learn how to make cakes from me. I didn't actually intend to have her help in the shop, but due to her own wishes, I still arranged some simple tasks for her. She also gained Jasmine's affection because of this, and perhaps because my detoxification ability isn't limited to sweets. It might also be effective with everyday food. Now, the poison in the two children's bodies has completely disappeared. By the way, Miss Aileen, Janice said, could you thank His Grace the Duke for us? Did he send us another gift? Lately, His Grace Callis brings a lot of gifts for the children every time he visits. Aileen nodded. Okay, I understand. I even received a teddy bear, Sharin said excitedly. And Jasmine and I got one too. He's such a thoughtful person. Thinking of this, Eileen's face involuntarily flushed. But are His Grace the Duke and Miss Aileen lovers? Sharin asked. Faced with this question, Aileen was stunned. Why would you think that? Aileen asked. Because His Grace the Duke comes to your house often, Sharin replied. And he always brings gifts. I heard that if you love someone, you want to see them every day. Sharin, where did you hear that? Jana asked. I heard the customers in the shop talking about it. Sharin replied innocently. His Grace Callis and I aren't like that, Aileen said. Aileen tried to explain, but didn't know how to. How should I explain my relationship with him? Friends, acquaintances, but he feels different from Arthur. What kind of existence am I in His Grace Callis's heart? Miss Aileen, Jasmine pushed the door open and shouted. Jasmine, didn't you say you'd be back later? I didn't expect you to be so quick, Aileen said. Because I wanted to show you this as soon as possible, Jasmine said somewhat anxiously. The cooking competition held every year during the summer festival has added a dessert category this time. And the prize money is a whopping 3 million tones. 3 million. That's a lot, Aileen exclaimed. Right? Jasmine said excitedly. This is definitely a great opportunity. So, do you want to enter the competition? Jasmine asked. A cooking competition. This is so sudden. Can I really do it? Aileen hesitated. With your skills, you'll definitely win. Jasmine was very confident in Eileen's abilities. Participants only need to make a dessert using a newly developed recipe and bring it to the competition on the day. How about using the coconut pudding you made last time? Jasmine suggested. That's too exotic. It would probably be difficult to win. Aileen still hesitated. Then we can take this opportunity to develop a new dessert, Jasmine continued to suggest. If we advertise it as a special dessert only available in our shop, it might attract more customers to try it. That's a really good idea. Aileen affirmed the suggestion. Right? Jasmine said. It would be even better if we could win and get the prize money. Since Jana came, your work has become a lot easier. You should be able to concentrate on researching new products for the competition. Jana and Sharin quickly added. That's right, we're here. You don't have to worry. I want to help too. I want to help too. Sharin wants to help too. Thank you, Aileen smiled. Okay, then I'll give it a try. Soon, Aileen developed many new products and had Brownie taste them. Brownie looked at the desserts and asked happily, Aileen, can I really eat all of these? Yes, Aileen nodded. To prepare for the cooking competition, I'm trying to make all sorts of desserts. What's a cooking competition? Brownie asked. Well, Aileen explained, it's similar to the cake festival. They choose the most delicious cake from all the cakes everyone makes. I want to enter the cooking competition too. Brownie said. That might be a little difficult. Aileen chuckled. Brownie, which of these desserts do you think is the most delicious? Aileen asked. Brownie pondered for a moment and then said, they're all delicious. Thank you for your affirmation. Aileen smiled. But I can only submit one dessert for the competition. Although I've tried making all kinds of desserts, there isn't one that I'm completely satisfied with yet. Considering they'll have to put it on the shop's menu later, it's best if it's a dessert that can be made in batches. Cakes and pies can't be made several at a time. Cookies and the like would be too ordinary for a competition. Is there any good idea? Aileen was troubled. Aileen, Brownie called out. I made a cake too. Brownie handed Aileen a dessert. Aileen looked at it carefully. Isn't this just a muffin with cream on it? No, wait. Aileen had a sudden thought. This might be a good idea. Try it. Brownie tugged on Eileen's skirt. Let me clean your hands first. Aileen looked at her skirt, which Brownie had dirted, and said helplessly. After cleaning Brownie's hands, Aileen said, by the way, Brownie, I want to ask you something. Last time you saw His Grace Callis, you said he seemed to be in a bad mood. Why did you say that? Aileen asked. I don't know. It just felt strange. He's different from other people, Brownie said. Different how? Does His Grace Callis have some kind of magical aura or something? Not that. I felt a dangerous aura around him. Brownie said, Adonjhuha. Aileen was a little worried. Could something have happened to his Grace Callus? The palace. I need to get father to put me in charge of the temple event quickly, Raymond thought. His Majesty and the High Priest are in the courtyard, the attendant said. He's been meeting with the High Priest frequently lately. Is it because of the Holy Spirit Festival? Raymond was about to call out when he heard the Emperor ask, how is Raymond's condition? Has there been any change? What does that mean? Raymond quickly hid. Well, there's still no signs at present, the High Priest said. Not yet, the Emperor asked. His magic is awakening awfully late. I apologize for saying this, but the royal family's magic is weakening. It's highly likely that it will disappear completely within this generation. I advise you to consider abdicating, the High Priest said. But there's still Callus, the Emperor asked. Perhaps he has the aptitude, but he was adopted by the royal family. If you choose Callus over Prince Raymond as the heir, there will certainly be a lot of opposition. There's nothing that can be done. Since it's so far away, I can only hear bits and pieces. I think I heard Callus's name just now. Raymond glanced towards the Emperor. This is a tradition that has continued since long ago, the Emperor said. Between the two of them, I will pass the throne to the one with more potential. That damned old man, Raymond thought, deeply dissatisfied. No wonder he has delayed the crown prince investiture ceremony. He's been weighing whether to choose me or Callus. Does he think I'll let them have their way? Raymond muttered as he walked. Seeing who it was, the Emperor was taken aback. Raymond, when did you arrive? The Emperor asked. Just now, Raymond replied. I went to the reception room first, but was told you were here. All right. What is it you need? The Emperor asked. I heard you'll be attending the Holy Spirit Festival, Raymond said. Although I don't know what they mean by aptitude, choices only exist when there's something to compare. Since this is such an important event, with all the royals attending, I want to assist you with the preparations. I know you're angry with me because of what happened with Aileen and me, but I still hope you'll approve of me managing this event. If there's no one to compare me to, he'll have no choice but to pass the throne to me, Raymond thought. All right, I understand. I approve. The Emperor said. Thank you, Your Majesty, Raymond said with a smile. On the day of the cooking competition, hello, I've registered for the dessert competition. May I have the contestant's name? Aileen de Brestia. All right, confirmed. Please submit your dessert over there. Okay. Oh, right, the dessert's name is. Have you decided on a name? Yes, it's called fairy cakes, Aileen said. Sister, there's so many delicious-looking desserts here, Shirin said excitedly. Shirin, the competition is about to start. Come quickly, Jana called out. All right, everyone. Next up is the dessert judging for the cooking competition. For today's competition, we've invited renowned pastry chefs from the capital. The contestant with the highest score, as judged by these 3 pastry chefs, will win the 3-million-ton prize. Miss Aileen, Jasmine called out nervously. Good luck. The judges will now sample the desserts. Please remain in your designated areas and wait. Most of the entries are just pies or cakes with different ingredients. The desserts that attempted something unique mostly tasted awful. At this rate, it will be difficult to choose a winner. Suddenly, a judge exclaimed, "Goodness, what is this? Is it a muffin?" It's a cake made using a muffin tin. It's called a fairy cake, Aileen explained. The judge praised. It truly lives up to its name. Small and delicate. Taste is more important than appearance, another judge said. Seems like they only put effort into the appearance. It's just a muffin with some cream. How could it possibly be delicious? However, after tasting it, the judge was pleasantly surprised. The cake is softer than a muffin, so it goes well with the cream. The sweet fruit compote inside adds a refreshing touch. The ingredients are simple, but the flavor combination is excellent. Why did you choose to make this kind of cake? The judge asked. Aileen explained, because I want desserts to be more accessible. This size isn't overwhelming and it's easy to hold. The dessert tasting is now complete. The results will be announced shortly. Miss Aileen, over here, Jasmine shouted. Shirin chimed in. Miss Eileen's cake was the prettiest. Jana agreed. Yes, you'll definitely win. Thank you, Aileen said. Aileen, a voice called. Prince Callus, when did you arrive? Aileen asked. I arrived just as the competition began. Callus said, glad I didn't miss it. Seeing this, Jasmine said to Aileen, I'll take the children to look around the festival. You two chat. Thank you, Aileen replied. Thank you for taking the time to cheer me on despite your busy schedule. I want to come. Your cake is truly beautiful. You must let me try it sometime. Callus said. Actually, I made one just for you, Aileen said. What? Callus sounded surprised. I was planning to give it to you when we next met, Aileen said. I almost want to take it home and put it in a glass display case. I can't bear to eat it, Callus said, blushing. Even if you're joking, Aileen laughed. I appreciate you saying that. By the way, has anything been happening to you lately? Aileen asked, like feeling unwell or experiencing anything unpleasant. I've been the same as usual. Why do you ask? Callus seemed puzzled. It's nothing, Aileen explained. I'm just a little worried about you. Brownie's strange words have been bothering me, but since you say you're fine, I suppose I should be relieved. Miss Aileen, Jasmine called. They're about to announce the winner. What? So soon? Thank you for your patience. All the contestants presented excellent desserts. However, astonishingly, one contestant achieved a near-perfect score. Wow, it's her. The winner of this cooking competition is Miss Aileen de Brestia. You won, Jasmine said. Will the winner please come forward to claim the prize? The host continued. Congratulations, Callus said, leaning closer. I knew you would win. Thank you, Prince Callus. Aileen then collected the prize money and gifts and listened to a brief explanation of the following procedures. The winning dessert would be featured in the summer festival pamphlet. The pamphlet would be distributed throughout the capital, guaranteeing publicity for the shop. Jasmine was thrilled. However, at that time, Aileen had no idea just how many customers would come to the shop after seeing the pamphlet. And so a day as hectic as a passing storm began. Miss Aileen, the cream is ready, Janice said. The decorations are also prepared, Sharon added. Thank you both for your hard work, Aileen replied, piping cream onto the cakes. I'll handle the rest, she said. Miss Aileen, the fairy cakes have calmed down, Jasmine called, pushing open the door. Perfect timing. They're almost ready. Just wait a moment, Aileen replied quickly. Okay, Jasmine said. Jasmine nodded. Although we've all been busy with our respective tasks all morning, I'm very sorry, but we've run out of ingredients and have to close early today. Aileen apologized to the customers. What? So soon? I came all the way from so far. I'm truly sorry. I'll prepare more tomorrow. Aileen apologized again. I didn't expect the pamphlets to be so effective. It seems I need to start preparing for tomorrow now to avoid any problems. Excuse me, is Miss Aileen de Brycetia here? Yes, that's me. How can I help you? Aileen asked. It is you. The person said, please accept this. This is an invitation to the Holy Spirit Festival. Why are you giving this to me? Aileen inquired. Starting this year, the winning entries of the cooking competition will be showcased at the temple event. You just need to be present to prepare the desserts for the guests. Wait a minute, this is the first time I've heard of this. Isn't this just a unilateral notification? Aileen asked. The person explained, well, we're only acting on the temple's request. Aileen felt something was amiss. The Holy Spirit Festival usually only accepts food from vetted chefs. Why would they suddenly invite the winners of the cooking competition? This feels strange. Can I refuse? Aileen asked. If you truly don't wish to participate, we won't force you, the person replied. But in that case, we'll have to revoke your winning title and ask you to return the prize money. What? Aileen could hardly believe her ears. That's unreasonable. Please let me meet with the person in charge of the event, Aileen pleaded. I'm sorry, but that's beyond my authority, the person replied. So, I'm afraid I can't grant your request. Please decide whether you'll participate in the event or forfeit your award. Please give me some time to think about it, Aileen said. Jasmine also found the matter strange, suddenly revoking the award. That's very odd. Could someone be behind this? Like Miss Selena, the temple event is usually handled by the mistress of the palace. So Selena could very well be trying to take my place and usurp that position, Aileen said. This must be a trap. Didn't she tamper with the cake at the last ball, too? So it's best to refuse the invitation. But 3 million Darton is such a waste. Don't worry, Aileen reassured her. I'll write a petition to His Majesty to protest. The temple event is an important event concerning the palace's reputation. If His Majesty knows about any impropriety during the event, whoever is behind it will be punished accordingly. I hope this can be resolved smoothly. I hope so, but what's more pressing is preparing for tomorrow's opening. Yes. I've been thinking we can't overwork ourselves every day, Aileen said. So, it's best to set a daily limit for fairy cakes. If the number of customers exceeds the limit, we'll announce we're sold out. That's a good idea. It'll also reduce the customer's waiting time, Jasmine said. Aileen nodded. Yes, let's do that from tomorrow. The next day, Aileen hung a sign early. This shop sells a limited quantity of fairy cakes daily. How many fairy cakes are left? Can I still buy some? How many can one person buy? Faced with the customer's barrage of questions, Jasmine was a little overwhelmed. The next day, Aileen implemented a new rule, a maximum of 3 cakes per customer. Jasmine looked at the crowd outside, puzzled. Why are there even more customers today than yesterday? 2 fairy cakes, please. Okay, Jasmine replied. This is the last of the fairy cakes, Aileen said, walking over. She suddenly spotted a familiar face. Miss Fiona. Long time no see. Yes, hello, Fiona smiled. I wanted to try the famous limited edition cakes. Jasmine, please pack these up, Aileen said, handing her the cakes. You've been busy lately, haven't you? Yes, we've had a lot of customers recently. I'm so grateful. I always knew you'd be successful one day, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly, Fiona remarked. It's probably thanks to the pamphlets, Aileen replied. Are you interested in a news feature? A news feature? Yes, I have a friend who's a reporter. He said he wanted to do an interview here, Fiona explained. I heard it would be published in the culture section of the newspaper. What do you think? Thank you for the offer, Aileen declined. But I'm already overwhelmed with the shop. That's true, Fiona said, glancing at the customers behind her. There will definitely be even more customers after the article is published. Then I'll tell my friend that you declined. Thank you for understanding. What? He refused. The reporter exclaimed, slamming his hand on the table. Yes, Fiona said. He's probably too busy with the recent influx of customers. Business is so good. He probably doesn't need any more publicity. Isn't that? Then he could hire more staff. I am doomed. I thought he'd definitely agree, so I didn't prepare any other stories. Can you ask him again? Aren't you a regular there? Stop bothering me and my business. Just leave. Do you want a beating? Come on, help me think of something. I won't give up so easily, the reporter thought as he ran off. Even if I can't interview the owner, I can go to the shop as a customer, look around, and taste the cake. I can still write an article. Thinking this, the reporter did just that. Welcome. If you'd like to purchase pastries, please queue over there. Oh, okay. Why does she look so familiar? The reporter stared at Aileen for a long time. This person, isn't she the divorced former Duchess Chien? It's her. After observing in the shop for a while, the reporter was certain. I saw her when I was covering the royal wedding. I heard she got divorced, but I had no idea what happened to her afterward. To think she'd open a pastry shop in a place like this. This is better than the fairy cakes for an exclusive story. Exclusive. Divorced Duchess makes and sells cakes to make ends meet. Since His Majesty forbade reporting on the royal family, I haven't been able to officially publish this story. I can only put it in the gossip columns. But a divorced duchess isn't considered royalty anymore, right? I have to hurry and write this article. With this scoop, the reporter's mood brightened considerably. Humming a tune, they left the shop. Excuse me. Two figures blocked the reporter's path. Our master wishes to speak with you. You need to come with us. What's going on? Why am I being brought to the Duke's estate? Panic seized the reporter. I hear you made an unofficial visit to Eileen's palace, Callis inquired. The reporter couldn't believe it. The person who summoned them was actually the Duke. What exactly was your purpose in going there? There have been some suspicious individuals lurking around that area recently. I'm simply asking out of concern, Callis added. I am not suspicious. I'm a reporter. I went to that shop to gather information on the prize-winning cake from the cooking competition. The reporter hastily explained, offering an excuse. Is that so? Callis questioned. But you only ordered a cup of coffee. Callis smiled. How'd he know? Had he been watching? The reporter's panic intensified. Had he discovered their intention to write a different story? What did he want? There's no need to be afraid, Callis said. If you truly are a reporter, I have a very interesting proposition. Confused, the reporter waited. Callis continued, compared to the popular cakes in the capital, there are far more intriguing stories to report. Callis handed the reporter a thick stack of documents. Are you interested? He asked. The next day, this is a petition regarding the Holy Spirit Festival activities. It's urgent. I hope you can process it quickly. All right, I understand. We'll follow procedure. It might take some time, but once His Majesty confirms it, it should be handled appropriately. Jasmine, I'm back. Aileen opened the door and entered. Miss Aileen, look at this. Jasmine rushed over, holding a newspaper. What happened? Aileen asked. This article is in the newspaper. Jasmine presented the paper to Aileen. Although the Duke and Duchess's divorce proceedings were kept secret, the problem actually lies with the Duke. He has a long-term mistress and has even taken her to official events, openly mocking his wife. The Duke's mistress, a blonde woman, in order to secure her position, not only framed the innocent Duchess, but also fabricated scandals about her. The Duke used this as an excuse to divorce his wife and didn't even provide her with any assets or compensation. This article is quite favorable to me, Aileen commented. My scandal with Angus has been framed as Selena's scheme. But it's all true, Jasmine exclaimed. Although it's been a while. It's wonderful that your name has been cleared, but why would this article suddenly appear? Weren't reports about the royal family forbidden? Jasmine was puzzled. Indeed, Aileen agreed. Normally, articles need to be reviewed before publication, and this person knows the details of my divorce intimately. Could the author of this article As the rumors spread, a certain duke and his mistress became the hottest topic in the empire. Did you see that article? The blonde woman they're talking about is actually. This is preposterous. Selena ripped the newspaper in her hands in fury. Where is Raymond? I need to see him immediately, Selena demanded. Well, His Grace said that until the rumors die down. He doesn't want to see you. What? Selena couldn't believe her ears. He knows that if I stay here alone, I'll be ridiculed by everyone. How could he do this to me? I'm the one who's been by his side the longest. The Duchess's position is mine. We have to suppress this before His Majesty finds out. No matter the cost, Selena exclaimed. As you wish. However, Selena's plan failed. The Emperor already knew. Now the entire empire knew. Is this true? The Emperor asked. Yes. The Brenna family seems to have tried to cover it up, but no newspaper was willing to cooperate with them. What is Raymond doing now? His Grace has gone on vacation alone to the Western Villa. Even before becoming emperor, Raymond disregarded his wife and brought his mistress into the palace. If this gets out, not only will the royal family's dignity be swept away, but his own image will be ruined. So, although I feel terrible for Eileen, I've been trying to cover up Raymond's actions. Who wrote this article? The Emperor inquired. Reporting on royal matters is strictly forbidden. I investigated, but the reporter's identity and the source of the information are both very vague. It seems someone is deliberately concealing it. The Emperor sighed. Even if Raymond, that boy, is hopeless, I can't just stand by and watch him be subjected to such gossip. Prepare yourself. I'm going to see Eileen. The Emperor commanded. Miss Eileen, Jasmine said, the shop is clean. Thank you. I'll handle the rest. You can go home now. Oh, I'm sorry, Eileen quickly said, hearing the door open. We're closed for the day. Seeing who it was, Eileen was surprised. Your Majesty, she curtsied quickly. Yes, the Emperor nodded. It's been a while. Could we speak privately? The Emperor asked. It seems some unfairness has arisen regarding the Holy Spirit Festival activities. I saw your petition. I've already instructed someone to handle it appropriately. Your eligibility to win will not be revoked. Thank you, Your Majesty, Eileen said, but she knew that wasn't his only reason for coming. I'm sure you've heard the rumors circulating in the capital recently, the Emperor continued. Ah, yes, Eileen replied, slightly tense. There's no need to be nervous. The Emperor sighed. All of this is a result of Raymond's actions. However, as you know, that boy is the future emperor. Although I'm sorry, I'd still like to request that you attend the Holy Spirit Festival activities as my guest. The Emperor asked. I can't allow negative public opinion to fester before his ascension. The Emperor's words made Eileen's purpose clear. He wanted to completely bury this matter. The Holy Spirit Festival was a large-scale event attended by all members of the royal family. If she were invited and appeared friendly with the royal family, everyone would assume the reports were false. As long as you're willing to attend, the Emperor continued, I won't bother you again. I won't urge you to return to the palace. I'll also protect you from Raymond and Selena's bullying. Your Majesty, please don't say that. This is my last request. Can you grant it just this once? The next day, I heard grandfather came to see you. Are you all right? Did anything happen? Callus asked. Eileen nodded. His Majesty just came to ask me to attend the temple event. He's probably troubled by the rumors about Raymond. So what did you decide? Callus continued. To be honest, I don't really want to go. But His Majesty said that if I do, he'll make sure Raymond and Selena never bother me again. So I'm struggling with whether or not to go. Considering what those two have done, I think they'll definitely find other ways to trouble me in the future. So having His Majesty's protection should be safer. But I still don't really want to attend the event. Since grandfather said that, it feels like things have gotten more complicated. I'm sorry, Eileen, Callus said. Huh? What do you mean? Eileen was puzzled. It's not your fault. It's all because of the news report. Looking at Callus's smile, Eileen seemed to understand. Did you orchestrate all of this? Eileen asked. I apologize, Callus said. I didn't tell you beforehand, but I've already figured out how to deal with my brother and that woman. So you don't have to worry too much. That's not the important thing right now. Eileen was a little agitated. What if His Majesty or Raymond find out? You'll be in a difficult position. But a reporter recognized you, Callus explained, and wanted to write a story about you. If I hadn't done anything, there would definitely be unfavorable rumors spreading about you. But you could have just stopped the report. Stopping the report would only be a temporary solution. As your shop becomes more famous, your identity will eventually be revealed. Eileen wanted to say more, but Callus interrupted her. It's fine. My brother has never liked me anyway, and that's not going to change now. I'm happy you're worried about me, but I still don't want you to be subjected to gossip. Didn't I say I'm always on your side? I know grandfather dotes on my brother, but it was too much of him to ask this of you. I'll handle this. If you don't want to attend the event, you can refuse. I hope you don't dwell on such troublesome matters. Make the choice that makes you happy, Callus said. What do you want to do? Callus asked. Initially, I agreed to marry Raymond to make things easier for my parents, Eileen thought. Enduring and persevering, even when my marriage wasn't going well, was my own choice. Even though I've signed the divorce papers now, I don't regret my decision. And I'm able to think this way thanks to the precious people who have been by my side. Eileen said, intend to attend the event. Are you sure you're okay with that? Callus was a little worried. Eileen nodded. I appreciate your kindness, but I think this is something I need to resolve myself. I want to take this opportunity to put an end to the past and cherish the people who are with me now. Haha, Callus chuckled. That sounds just like you. In that case, would you grant me the honor of being your escort, my lady? Callus asked. Of course. Eileen nodded. Miss Selena, something terrible has happened. What is it? Why are you so panicked? His Majesty has invited that woman to the temple event, and as a VIP, no less. Isn't that a good thing? Selena said. Wasn't that what we wanted in the first place? But the situation is different now. Mrs. Briner was worried. Are you sure this is all right? You and His Grace are still separated. Won't this just make our position more difficult? Don't worry, I have a plan, Selena said. After this temple event, my ill-fated connection with that woman will finally be over. The day of the Holy Spirit Festival arrived. Miss Eileen, all done. Thank you, Eileen said. Your styling skills are as excellent as ever. You'll definitely be the most beautiful lady at the event today. Please be safe, Jasmine said. All right, I'll be back soon. Eileen waved. Eileen, Callus exclaimed upon seeing her. You look dazzling today, though I thought the same last time as well. You stole my line, Eileen said. There are so many people waiting at the side entrance, but I suppose it makes sense. Only royalty can use the main path to the temple. Thanks to you, Your Highness, I can get in quickly. It does feel quite nice. We're here. The carriage stopped in front of the palace. Take my hand. Eileen, thank you. Eileen took his hand. Another carriage stopped. Eileen looked up. Has someone else arrived? Eileen soon found out who it was. Your Grace, only royalty could pass through the main gate of the temple. What are you doing here? Raymond asked upon seeing Eileen. I came with His Highness Callus. There shouldn't be a problem using the main gate if I'm accompanying royalty, right? Eileen retorted. There's such a rule. Raymond was irritated by Eileen's question. In that case, wait here until His Majesty arrives. Then you can go in. Eileen didn't expect Raymond to say such a thing. What? Raymond deliberately made things difficult. You're just a marquis. You're not qualified to pass through here first. So you need to wait here until all the royalty have passed. Do you even understand such simple instructions? Then please ask my brother to wait here as well, Callus interjected, until I've entered. What did you say? Raymond was taken aback. According to what you just said, the order of entry is determined by rank. Although you're the next emperor, you haven't been officially crowned as crown prince. You're currently just a duke. In this case, if you enter the main gate before me, wouldn't that be a breach of etiquette? Raymond fumed. After all, as a grand duke, my rank is higher than yours. Callus's words enraged Raymond, who drew his sword and swung at him. Fortunately, Callus reacted quickly and drew his own sword to block the attack. You dare humiliate me. Do you have a death wish? Raymond roared. I should be asking you what you're doing. If you wish to challenge me to a duel, we can step outside. I'll accept, Callus said coldly. Both of you, please stop. Eileen shouted. Your Grace, you drew your sword against your own brother. Aren't you ashamed to be seen like this? Eileen demanded. What? Eileen's words enraged Raymond further. Do you think you're in any position to speak to me like that? You can say whatever you want to me, but I won't tolerate you messing with Eileen. Callus's sword pointed at Raymond's neck. You insolent. Raymond was furious. What are you doing? A roar echoed. Your Majesty. Seeing the newcomer, Eileen quickly called out. Raymond, why did you draw your sword here? Fighting with your brother. The Emperor questioned. It's nothing. Raymond sheathed his sword. Callus, you explain. Yes, grandfather. My brother wouldn't let Eileen enter the temple. We argued while I was trying to persuade him. I apologize for causing a disturbance here. Callus said, it was you who insulted me first. Raymond roared. Enough. The Emperor snapped. It sounds like you were the one who offended first. Eileen is my guest, so you apologized to her immediately. The Emperor said, Guest, you invited her here just to put on a show, didn't you? Raymond asked, and she has the audacity to attend dressed as Callus. Why aren't you on my side? Why are you supporting that woman? Raymond's outburst earned him a hard slap from the Emperor. I've never been so disappointed in you. Raymond, the Emperor said, as a member of the royal family, you must be careful with every word you speak. With your impulsive nature and lack of consideration, how can I entrust the throne to you? The Emperor's words stunned Raymond. I've never seen His Majesty so angry. Aileen watched the scene with some worry. He would at least give Prince Raymond some face in front of others before. I apologize for this display in front of you. The Emperor turned to Aileen. I didn't invite you here to witness this. It's all right, Your Majesty, Aileen quickly said. Thank you for inviting me to today's event. Aileen curtsied. Thank you for coming. Please go inside. Aileen, let's go. Callus walked to Aileen's side and offered his hand. Thank you. Aileen accepted. Before entering, Aileen glanced at Prince Raymond. He seemed to have taken a hard blow. Is he really all right? I hope nothing else goes wrong. Welcome, Your Majesty, His Grace Duke Roy, and Lady Marquis Brisha. As soon as Aileen appeared, murmurs erupted throughout the banquet hall. Oh my, it's the Duchess. She actually entered with His Majesty. It seems the recent rumors aren't true after all. But look, His Grace the Duke didn't enter with them. What's going on? It's been a while. Lady Aileen, how have you been? Selena approached Aileen and asked. The recent rumors must have been troubling. I hope you can forget everything and enjoy yourself today. Thank you for your concern, Aileen replied. But I'm fine, Lady Selena. What the report said is true. I have nothing to be sad about. Rather, it's you. I thought you would be upset about being the subject of gossip. Aileen countered. But you're here, unfazed by the stares, attending this event. I've always admired your courage. What does she mean? Is she mocking me? You. Selena started to speak, but was interrupted. Selena, dinner will be served soon. Come and sit down. Raymond called out. Oh, all right. Seeing it was Raymond, Selena suppressed her anger. However, just as Selena was about to sit beside Raymond, the Emperor spoke. Wait, Lady Blainer, sit somewhere else. The Emperor said coldly. Oh, Selena froze. Your Majesty, what do you mean? Raymond slammed the table and asked loudly. Selena is my companion. Shouldn't she be sitting next to me? This isn't some ordinary ball or banquet. This is the temple, the Emperor said coldly. She's neither married to you nor a member of the royal family. What right does she have to sit here? Then you should have Lady Brisha removed as well. She's not royalty either. Raymond shouted. Lady Marquis Brisha is a guest I personally invited. The Emperor stated. And according to imperial law, anyone who has been married to a member of the royal family enjoys the same treatment even after divorce. What right do you have to say these things? The Emperor asked. Raymond gritted his teeth, unable to speak. The once boisterous banquet hall fell silent because of this exchange. Aileen swallowed nervously. His Majesty isn't indulging him like he used to. It seems he really cares about the rumors. But if this continues, no one will be able to eat. Your Majesty, Aileen spoke up. It seems there's been a misunderstanding about the seating arrangements. Lady Selena was simply sitting where she was assigned. Please forgive her. The Lady Marquis is right. Callus quickly added. Today is a joyous occasion. Please calm down. The Emperor sighed. Very well. Since you both insist, I won't reprimand him. Lady Blainer, go back and sit with your family. Yes, Your Majesty. Despite her displeasure, Selena could only force out, thank you for your forgiveness. It seems everyone has found their seats. Let dinner begin. The Emperor raised his glass. Ignoring my companion is the same as humiliating me. His Majesty actually embarrassed me like this in front of everyone. Raymond couldn't swallow his anger. Coupled with the incident at the temple entrance, is His Majesty planning to abandon me? Halfway through the banquet, Selena slipped outside. How are the preparations coming along? Selena whispered. Lady Selena, everything is proceeding according to plan. Lady Blainer replied. But are you sure about this? If anyone finds out we're involved in poisoning. Shoo, keep your voice down. What if someone hears you? As long as the plan succeeds, there won't be any problems. Make sure you clean up afterward. Don't leave any traces. All right, the conversation ended. Selena had only taken a few steps back when a voice called out. Who are you trying to get rid of? Are you trying to kill Aileen again? Raymond asked. Your Highness, I didn't. Selena frantically tried to explain. Enough, Raymond interrupted her. I'm not here to blame you, so you don't need to explain. But you need to change your plan to help me. Raymond said, I want to kill the Emperor.